Tuang Yi had just completed her quick travel mission, thinking she could peacefully enjoy her old age. But little did she know that, during her absence, her body had been taken over by someone else. Now, she's become an unknown minor actress and even been ostracized by the entertainment industry for sleeping with the film emperor. The girl just woke up, finding herself in an unfamiliar room, with a man sitting in the corner. "Miss Tuang Yi, did you sleep well in my room?" Tuang Yi calmly sat up, looked around, realizing this wasn't a hospital. The man continued questioning, dissatisfied. "Are you planning to dodge the debt, eating clean and then leaving? This isn't a good habit." Although she couldn't see his face clearly, but given what's been said, Tuang Yi calmly replied, "Marriage or hush money, you choose. Hush money. Then I'll sleep with you a few more times. Wouldn't that make me rich?" Just then, urgent knocking sounded at the door. Those coming to catch them in the act had arrived. "Looks like you can't escape now." Tuang Yi thought to herself, "Just woke up and already facing this situation. Can't go through the door. So only option is the window. Bank account number, tell me. I'll give you hush money." "How do you know I'll definitely choose hush money? If you want marriage, contact my housekeeper, phone number 138XXXXXX. After saying this, Tuang Yi pulled the curtain. Without hesitation, jumped down. The curtain flew up, covering the man's face. She really jumped. "Damn it, this is the 16th floor." The man broke out in cold sweat. A dramatic scene had unfolded. The female lead didn't die, but sat calmly by the roadside, walking while recalling what she had been through. A year ago, she had a traffic accident and fell into a coma. Her consciousness accidentally entered a quick travel system. As long as she completed all tasks, she could return to her original world. Now her consciousness had returned, but the place she woke up was wrong. From afar, a man came running, calling out, "Kwai Kwai, are you calling me?" The man with dyed hair anxiously said, "Kwai Kwai, I finally found you. Did you really humiliate that little idol? Maybe successful, maybe not, but who are you?" The man was startled. "I'm your manager, Anam." "Kwai Kwai, don't scare me." Tuang Yi was surprised. "Manager, so I'm a star now." Anam was puzzled. "I heard Kwai Kwai had a car accident before that led to memory loss. Why are you losing your memory again?" Tuang Yi thought to herself, "So during the year I time traveled, someone else entered this body. During that year, that person used the excuse of memory loss to act recklessly, offending everyone. Then, they insisted on entering the entertainment industry. Currently a Tier 18 actress specializing in entertainment shows. You must have forgotten where you live. Let me take you home. Tomorrow we'll take you to the hospital for a checkup." "No need. It's been a while since I've seen my family. I plan to visit them." Anam hesitated. "Kwai Kwai, you've cut ties with your family. You're currently living in an apartment rented by the company." Tuang Yi thought to herself, how many terrible things had that person done with her body in the past year? Next day, Tuang Yi went to the Star Brilliant Entertainment headquarters, intending to find the young master to apologize. Unexpectedly, the young master was complaining about her to someone else. Tuang Yi is probably beyond saving. She's caused so many unreasonable incidents before, and this time she dared to sneak into your room. If I pay attention to her again, I'm a dog. Just then she reminded him, "Your phone is ringing." Speak of the devil. The caller was Tuang Yi. The young master was flustered. "I don't do things to slap my own face, but what if Tuang Yi is in danger?" At this moment, Tuang Yi pushed the door open. "Young master, do you have a guest? Come in. Aren't you familiar with him too?" The man turned his head. The young master said, "You even humiliated him last night?" Tuang Yi's mood suddenly became complicated. Last night, the light was too dim to see clearly. Turns out the person she ruined was her own son. The 28-year-old man had become the top film emperor in the entertainment industry, but behind that glamour was a bitter story. Due to family misfortune, despite being the city's top scholar, he couldn't attend university. Burdened with debt, with no way out, he was discovered by his current manager and brought into the entertainment industry. Since then, his career has soared. At 19, he took on the role of an unlucky young master. In the following years, he participated in many blockbuster films. Finally, at 23, he became known to the public. His name is Shi Yu, holding the bad card of a fallen young master with no experience. Relying entirely on his own efforts, he swam against the current to become a famous film emperor. That night was her 16th birthday, and also the night they met again. Perhaps it was Tuang Yi's bright-eyed gaze at Shi Yu, or perhaps because she learned of his tragic experiences over the past years. Tuang Yi developed an indescribable feeling towards him. If it must be described, it's that Tuang Yi had become Shi Yu's mother fan. Tuang Yi thought to herself, "My good son, how could I have done such inhumane things to you?" At this moment, someone called out to Tuang Yi, "After doing such improper things, shouldn't you quickly apologize to Shi Yu?" Tuang Yi feigned innocence. Brother Shi, I'm really sorry. But when I truly recovered my memory, I also forgot everything from the past year. I really don't remember what happened last night anymore. As soon as she finished speaking, the young master became angrier than the person involved. You always use memory loss as an excuse. In the past year, you've used memory loss to provoke your grandparents to the point of hospitalization, and you've tormented your brothers in various ways. Then, you insisted on developing in the entertainment industry. Do you know how many troubles I've had to solve for you? Tuang Yi sincerely said, Young master, I know it's not easy for you to believe me, but I can prove to you that I've really changed. The young master doubted. You think I still believe you? What did you come here for today anyway? Tuang Yi tried to win him over, opening a homemade lunchbox. I've made some dishes you like, sweet and sour ribs, stir-fried bok choy, braised pork rice, and pumpkin porridge. The young master swallowed. You didn't order delivery, did you? For the past year, you said you lost your memory, forgot how to cook, and never cooked for me. I really have recovered my memory, young master. These are all dishes I made myself. I don't believe you. I'll taste it to see if you really made it. Unexpectedly, the young master ate one bite after another. It was truly a rare delicacy in the world. He even licked the lunchbox clean. Ah, it's so delicious. Shiyu stood silently beside them. The domineering CEO completely lost his image. Tuangyi's master, do you believe me now? I really have recovered my memory. The young master held Tuangyi's hand. I believe you. I believe you. You're my own niece. If I don't believe you, who else would I believe? The young master lifted the girl's chubby face. Don't let me take you to the hospital for another checkup. Young master, there's no need. Don't worry. I've already had a checkup. Young master and brother Shi have something to discuss, so I'll go first. Watching the girl's back as she left, Shiyu pondered deeply. The young master worriedly asked Shiyu, what do you think we should do about my niece in the future? The incident between you and Tuangyi at the hotel last night will surely be exposed. Given your status, it will certainly cause a stir. Shiyu reassured him. Don't worry, I came here today precisely for this matter. I want to invest in a program and invite Tuangyi to participate. Manager Anam called frantically. Kwai Kwai, didn't you enter the young idol's room that day? How did it become Film Emperor Shiyu's room? Now you're topping all the hot searches. He's the ace of Star Brilliant Company. We're just a small company. How dare we provoke such a big company? This will surely all fall on our heads. Tuangyi comforted the manager over the phone. It's okay. The boss of Star Brilliant is my young master. He won't harm me. The problem is that my Weibo homepage has already been attacked by Film Emperor Shiyu's fans. The resources we worked so hard to negotiate are now all ruined. We're about to starve. Tuangyi calmly said, It's fine. My family has land. We can go home and farm. Those tiny hands and feet of yours probably can't even lift a hoe. Kwai Kwai, don't think about it. Where are you now? I'll come find you. I'm just about to slaughter a pig. I'll make you some delicious dishes later. Slaughter a pig? Are you joking with me? Anam really stood in front of this luxurious gate. He doubted if he had come to the wrong place. Tuangyi came out to greet him. Anam whispered, Kwai Kwai, are you being held captive here? Like in those novels where the domineering CEO keeps a beautiful girl as a caged bird. What kind of novels have you been reading? Relax. No one is restricting my freedom. This is the house my mother left for me. Why are there so many vegetable fields? The soil here doesn't look like farming soil. Oh, that's a golf course, but it's been renovated. The life of the rich is really simple, close to ordinary life. Come in. I've made sweet and sour ribs for you. Didn't you say you'd make spare ribs for lunch? Is it the nanny who's cooking? No, I know how to cook. Kwai Kwai, you're so talented, you can even cook. It's been a while since you've shown your face. Why don't we do a cooking live stream? You decide. Today, Kwai Kwai will live stream cooking for everyone to watch. Kwai Kwai, say hello to everyone first. Good afternoon. I'm going to make fried rice with eggs. At first, the live stream room was very harmonious. Then suddenly, a group of Film Emperor Shiyu's fans flooded in. Anam was about to use a secondary account to argue with them for 300 rounds, but Tuangyi waved him off. Let's just wash our hands and eat. It looks delicious, the color is appealing, the taste shouldn't be too bad. We have to respect anything Kwai Kwai cooks. Oh my god, it's so delicious, I can't stop eating. Tuangyi brought out a plate of sweet and sour ribs. Turn off the live stream, let's go to the dining table. After eating their fill, Anam was full of confidence. He wanted to take Tuangyi to the peak of her career. Tuangyi felt it unnecessary, just wanting to retire. Before she could finish her sentence, the phone rang. Anam boasted, see, the live stream just now was effective. We've got work already. It's a variety show about life. Oh, not going. My darling says she doesn't want to go, she wants to withdraw from the entertainment industry. Wait, what did you just say? Director Lee on the other end of the line was confused. What's the situation here? Later, he called Shiyu. The girl you recommended to me doesn't want to participate in the show. Why is that? Before she even cut ties with her family to enter the entertainment industry. At this moment, the phone rang again. Hello, this is Shiyu. Please put Miss Twangyi on the phone. Hello, this is Twangyi. Are you calling to ask for compensation for that night? Or to invite me to participate in a reality show with you? The thick-skinned film emperor refused to leave someone's house because his future wife would be bringing him lunch later. The future uncle-in-law waved his hand, telling him to get out quickly. This is the young master's lunch. This is brother Shi's lunch. Clearly, both are bringing lunch. Why is there such a big difference? In this vast world, eating is the most important thing. Miss Twangyi, I didn't mean to pressure you into anything with what I said on the phone earlier. Twangyi smiled. I know. This show requires two people to cook together to entertain guests. You're not very good at cooking, so you wanted to invite me to help. Moreover, compared to others, I especially hope to participate in this show with you. So, do you agree? Twangyi had never seen Shiyu humble himself like this. The young master also chimed in to help. This show is very worth watching. It will be broadcast on our platform. Although it's an online variety show, the quality is guaranteed. Moreover, it's the first time using a live stream format, which can also turn around your current reputation. Although I don't care what others think of me, if I can help Shi, I'm very willing. Then welcome aboard. Looking forward to a pleasant cooperation. Why do I feel like I shouldn't be here? Well, everything's settled then. I'll head back first. Wait, don't rush. To ensure smooth cooperation in the future, let's post on Weibo to make an official announcement. Who would have thought that just a small act of following each other would put Twangyi on the hot search for being cursed at? The young master showed an expression like an old man sitting on the subway. Why is it on the hot search again? A few days before filming, the shooting location was leaked, and many fans gathered there. Manager Anam saw the news and became anxious. Kwai, the show might have to be postponed. But why is this happening? Another similar rural variety show has been announced. One storm hasn't passed, and another arises. The show's director was very angry. Copying is one thing, but airing one day earlier than us, isn't this intentional provocation? At this moment, Anam called. Good heavens, I'm here worrying myself sick, and that guy is live streaming eating. The rib soup Twangyi made is delicious. Do you two want to try some? At this point, Twangyi poked her head out. What a coincidence. Brother Shi is here too. Shiyu immediately grabbed the phone from the director. Are you facing any difficulties? I wanted to ask if you'd like to come film at my house. It's spacious enough, with fields, ponds, and even a farm. We can grow flowers, vegetables, raise fish, and cook. Director Lee felt his life had reached its peak. What a twisting journey, only to survive by coming here, completely turning the situation around. At 50 years old, I never expected to encounter such good fortune from misfortune. Quick, wake up Director Lee, who's standing there frozen. If he doesn't agree, there won't be another chance. I'm very willing. No need to choose a day. Let's start the live broadcast tomorrow morning. There's a similar rural variety show scheduled to air one day earlier, and they're even quite arrogant. Are we not allowed to eat just because others are eating? Live stream variety shows are the future trend. I call this following the trend. If he's capable, let him broadcast earlier. Looks like your news isn't very up to date. They've actually already started broadcasting early. The leak of the filming location was also your doing, right? Now they've found a better filming location. Shiyu arrived early in the morning at Twangyi's house with his suitcase. Greeted by the sight of a magnificent villa, fans took turns thanking the production team. The location is very satisfying. But as soon as they entered, the fans started to cause a commotion. It turns out that the film Emperor's fans didn't like Twangyi. They felt this Miss Twang wasn't worthy of their brother. Our brother is so pitiful, having to endure a walking flower vase. At this moment, the so-called walking flower vase, Miss Twang went to greet everyone. I guess you haven't had breakfast yet. Go wash your hands. The rice is ready. Shiyu approached Twangyi, asking what she was cooking that smelled so good. Twangyi opened the lid for Shiyu to see. It was a steaming pot of seafood porridge, looking incredibly appetizing. However, the fans online didn't believe Twangyi had cooked it. They thought she was just acting. Moreover, they advised her not to flatter their brother too much. Twangyi ignored the negative comments and started serving porridge to everyone. She served Anam first, then the director. This made Shiyu's fans even angrier. They thought Twangyi was deliberately ignoring their idol. Ignoring the criticism, everyone enjoyed the delicious porridge. Twangyi smiled brightly and said to the camera, I've made 3 pots of porridge. Should be enough for everyone. Bowls and spoons are ready. Whoever wants to eat, come and get a bowl. At this moment, Tuang Yi remembered there was still one person who hadn't eaten. Senior, what would you like to drink? No need to be so formal. Just call me Shiyu. At this moment, someone walked in and announced that the test broadcast had ended. Tuang Feng entered, carrying a small white cat. He said it was a cat he had just picked up on the street. The cat stared at Tuang Yi with a pitiful expression. As Tuang Yi was about to prepare milk for it, Shiyu was quicker. He stood very close to Tuang Yi, so close that she could hear his heartbeat. Shiyu asked Tuang Yi if this was milk. Tuang Yi felt her face flush, her heart also beating erratically. It turned out that the little white cat Tuang Feng picked up was actually the system that had helped him return to reality. Although it couldn't speak, this cat was very intelligent. Tuang Yi finished preparing the milk, but the cat wouldn't drink it. It went to Tuang Yi and meowed. Tuang Yi guessed that this cat seemed to like her very much. The young master questioned her. I heard from the company lawyer that you asked him for advice about withdrawing from the entertainment industry. Yes, that was a few days ago. Recently, I no longer have that intention. Let's talk again after finishing this show. Initially wanting to enter the entertainment industry, overcoming family opposition, enduring countless hardships, even signing an agreement with Tuang Tham to get approval, and now wanting to withdraw. Tuang Yi asked the young master in surprise. I signed an agreement with eldest brother. What kind of agreement? The young master wasn't clear on the details. Roughly, it was about not letting others know you're related to the Tuang family and not using the Tuang family's money, something like that. Tuang Yi thought to herself, eldest brother is a high-level lawyer. How could he sign such a childish agreement with that girl, unless he knew that girl wasn't me? Shiyu knocked and entered. The guests have arrived. The director is calling us out to prepare for filming episode 1. Okay, I'll be right there. Tuang Yi turned to Tuang Feng. Young master, are you free later? Could you take it for a general checkup? I'll leave it to you then. Shiyu approached her and asked, are you planning to keep it? Of course. Senior, that's fine, but on one condition. Call me brother once. I remember you used to always call me brother. Just a few years without meeting. You've gone from calling me she to senior. It sounds so distant. She thought to herself, a few years. Counting the time she time-traveled, it's been a few decades already. The young master spoke up. You and I are of the same rank. Calling you brother wouldn't be appropriate. Should be uncle. Besides, our ages aren't that different. Yet you shamelessly ask my niece to call you brother. Shiyu forced a smile. Please take the cat to the vet quickly. The guests for the first episode are director Ngon Chanhua and his son Ngon Nai. You rest a bit. When Tuang Yi comes out, we'll officially start filming the first episode. At this moment, Tuang Yi and Shiyu came out. Hello, director Ngon. You must be tired from the journey. Hello, this is my son Ngon Nai. Anai, greet the sister. Hello, sister. What would everyone like to eat this evening? We're in Nam Than now. I heard the crayfish here is very famous. Shall we eat crayfish? I just bought 15 kilos of crayfish. I'll prepare them now. What, you're cooking? I thought we'd order takeout. That's right, Senior Shiyu can't eat too spicy. Director Ngon, can you eat spicy food? I'll make 2 different flavors, 1 spicy and 1 garlic stir-fry, okay? All right. Then it's settled. We'll start filming the dinner. Everyone get in position to prepare for filming. Let me show you all a pan-tossing demonstration. Lunch is ready. Everyone please come to the table. The choreographer ate the spicy crayfish and said, the little girl's cooking skills are quite good. Tuang Yi also started peeling crayfish. I'm glad Director Ngon likes it. Shiyu ate the garlic sauce crayfish. She's so good to me. Director Ngon's son, however, didn't eat anything. I won't eat anything. Tuang Yi makes. Peeled crayfish was pushed in front of him. Did you notice I wasn't eating and peeled them for me? Director Ngon, these are peeled for you. After saying that, she continued peeling. Comments started to mock, all guessing who the second bowl of peeled crayfish would go to. Unexpectedly, Tuang Yi picked up the bowl of peeled crayfish. This is for my manager. Anam, please come in. Your crayfish has been delivered. It's been checked already. That fast. Where's your young master? He left after putting the cat down. He said the cat is very healthy and has been vaccinated. Hurry and eat the crayfish. Let me hold the cat. I need to ask the young master when the next vaccination is due. Could the writing in the note possibly be from the little cat? The cat's paw typed on the screen. I am your system. This is the system that has been with me for decades. Didn't it say that after bringing me, this final soul, for a hearty meal, it could reincarnate as a white tiger? I don't know where I went wrong. The cat life is truly too difficult. Don't cry. Turning into a a little cat is very cute too. I'm not a cat. I want to be a big tiger. Our Thong Thong is not a little cat. It's a little tiger. Anam knocked on the door. Did you forget we're live streaming right now? Forgot the main thing. Be good and wait for me here. I'm so sorry, having to trouble you to come find me, Senior. It's all right. Let's go over there quickly. Senior, are you still hungry? Or should I cook something more? Senior, go chat with Director Ngon first. I'll go make some noodles. Watching Tuong Yi run off, Shiyu fell into deep thought. Could she be avoiding me? One bowl for Senior, one bowl for Director Ngon, one bowl for the arrogant Ngon Nai. I'd rather starve than eat what you cook. What's with this arrogant boy? If I'm not mistaken, this is our first meeting. Could he be my anti-fan? The show is live streaming. The director didn't give him much time. Sorry. If you can't finish it, our show is ready to collect leftovers. Anyway, the food Tuong Yi cooks is very delicious. Wait, we can't calculate it like that. If you want to eat, you have to pay a collection fee. That's right. The food our Tuong Yi cooks is so delicious. Why don't you help us clean up instead? For food, we'll do anything. The live broadcast continued. We need to light a fire to cook dinner in the evening. Now we need to prepare firewood first. Let me go chop wood. You've been busy inside and out already. Let me do it now. Unexpectedly, Director Ngon patted both of them on the back. Neither of you move. We've eaten so much of your food. It's time for some exercise. Director Ngon, you have an old injury on your hand. Let me do it. So Tuong Yi does it for Director Ngon. Tuong Yi doesn't want to curry favor with the director, but because she knows about his hand injury. Thinking this way, Tuong Yi doesn't seem so bad. Then let's all not move. Let my son do it. Dad, do you know I'm hungry? Can you say something more helpful? Listen to Dad. Dad will teach you. Stand the log up, step firmly on the ground, then swing the axe down from this angle. Tuong Yi frowned. How can one work without eating anything? Shiyu gently said beside her, don't frown. Tuong Yi blushed with embarrassment, her maternal fan nature almost breaking through. Then Shiyu surrounded Non Nai. Tuong Yi, can you teach us? Isn't chopping wood something anyone with hands can do? Seeing the log easily split in two, those around started cheering. Tuong Yi casually guided Ngon Nai. It's not that you lack strength, but your force technique is problematic. First do this, then do this. Got it. The little boy was distracted again. Big sister has become so gentle, very different from before. If you've learned it, try chopping one. Split in half, you've learned well. Tuong Yi took the opportunity to say to Director Ngon, I think children should be praised more. He likes it when adults praise him. Each time he's praised, he becomes more motivated. Does Director Ngon want to praise Ngon Nai? Director Ngon waved his hand embarrassedly. At my age, I don't know how to say such things. Looking up, he saw his son's expectant eyes. Not bad. Keep trying. Aren't we stewing chicken tonight? Where's the chicken? I'll go catch it. Go ahead. We'll finish preparing the firewood. At this moment, the cameraman received a notification. Signal problem. Pause the live broadcast. Someone's causing trouble again. Due to signal interruption, filming stopped. Guests are free to move around. Director Ngon mysteriously pulled Shiyu aside. Since we're not filming anymore, let's have a private chat. What do you think of Tuong Yi? Then, without waiting for Shiyu's answer, he began praising. This little girl is beautiful, has a good personality, very suitable for our Anai. Director Non, Anai is still a child. The little girl is only 3 years older than our Anai. There's a saying that a girl 3 years older is like holding golden bricks. We have to thank you for this. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to join the show and happen to meet her. If they can become a couple in the future, the little girl will follow Anai in calling you uncle. We'll become one family. Shiyu only felt a rush of air shooting straight to the top of his head. Tuong Yi and Ngon Nai finished chopping wood and were also notified of the signal interruption. Then rest, move around freely for a bit. Ngon Nai made an excuse. Then I'll take a walk in the yard. Tuong Yi keenly noticed that Ngon Nai had been avoiding her. He inadvertently walked to the fruit orchard. Ngon Nai wasn't full. Tempted by the hawthorn fruits on the tree, Ngon Nai tried to use the effect of Earth's gravity. Unexpectedly, the hawthorn fruits didn't respect him. He couldn't pick them at all. Forget it then. At this moment, Tuong Yi appeared, handing the basket in her hand to Ngon Nai. Then she was seen lightly stepping on the tree trunk like a swallow, using the trunk's elasticity to gently sway, and she was standing on a branch. The smooth operation like flowing water and drifting clouds left Ngon Nai stunned, not even reacting when a hawthorn fruit fell on his head. Tuong Yi shouted from the tree, "Catch it quickly." The little boy, after reacting, hurriedly ran to catch the hawthorn fruits. but unexpectedly, they all fell to the ground. He couldn't catch any. Tuong Yi jumped down from the tree, landing right next to Ngon Nai. Tuong Yi wanted to scare him a little, reaching out her hand. I only like well-behaved children. Ngon Nai thought he was going to be hit, quickly closed his eyes. Unexpectedly, that hand only gently caressed his face. Looking up, Tuong Yi was magnified right in front of him. The little boy's heart suddenly raced. His face flushed, hurriedly apologizing. I didn't mean to. Tuong Yi still didn't understand why the little boy suddenly blushed. After catching the chicken, Shiyu and Director Ngon passed by the fruit orchard, just in time to see Tuong Yi and Ngon Nai picking hawthorn fruits. Director Ngon's face was joyful. I said they were a good match. Look how beautiful this scene is. Shiyu expressed no joy at all. The first live broadcast variety show on the entire network just started broadcasting, and the signal was interrupted. Initially thought to be a simple transmission problem, who knew it was a competitor bribing hackers? They didn't dare offend film emperor Shiyu and his group, so they bought Water Army to prepare to smear Tuong Yi, a small 18th-tier actress. At this moment, the assistant hurriedly came to report. 2 people in one family are trending on Hot Search. Looks like the Water Army wasn't wasted. But upon seeing the content, Director Chen angrily scolded. Isn't it just cooking? This can also trend on Hot Search. They're live streaming cooking, so tomorrow we'll also live stream cooking. There's one more thing. Their official account said they've resumed broadcasting. How did they recover so quickly? But it's fine. With the signal interruption, the viewership will surely decrease. So our goal has been achieved. It didn't decrease. The number of viewers is still increasing. How is this possible? The 2 people in one family show was peacefully progressing when everyone noticed a small cat appearing in the yard. It walked around and stopped at Shiyu's feet. Man and cat locked eyes. Tong Tong looked at Shiyu with disgust. Before Shiyu could react, it hugged his pant leg and bit it. Shiyu gently picked up the cat. Are you hungry? This isn't edible. Tong Tong kept meowing at Shiyu. With no other choice, he had to hold it in his palm, gently stroking it. Viewers kept praising Shiyu's gentleness. At this moment, Tong Tong heard footsteps and started struggling in Shiyu's arms. Tuong Yi curiously put down her fruit juice, taking the mischievous little animal. Unexpectedly, as soon as it was in Tuong Yi's arms, Tong Tong pointed at Shiyu accusingly. Senior, don't bully it. With a pitiful expression, Tong Tong was inwardly delighted. I acted so well. Shiyu didn't back down either, lowering his head pitifully. I was just worried about it. That's why I held it. This pitiful expression was even more convincing than Tong Tong's. Tuong Yi immediately softened. I've wronged my son again. Sorry, I misunderstood you, Senior. Then she handed over a candy. Be good. Don't cry. Everyone was bewildered watching this scene. This was a live broadcast, yet Tuong Yi was comforting a 30-year-old man like a child. At this moment, Tuong Yi remembered Ainam's instruction to keep her distance from Shiyu. Shiyu calmly took the candy, took a small bite, the sweet and sour taste spread on his tongue. It's quite good. Tuong Yi looked at those slightly moving lips, exclaiming, too seductive. Seeing the story taking an unusual turn, the director quickly intervened. Let's eat quickly. The food will get cold later. Looking at the sumptuous dinner in the live broadcast lens, netizens all showed envious expressions. There were also some extreme comments. Where's the oppression? Where's the argument? Where's the romance? There's nothing. Just eating. Fine. I'm going to cook instant noodles too. After a few glasses of wine, Director Ngon, slightly drunk, started praising Tuong Yi again. This little girl is rare. Cooking, brewing wine, chopping wood, she knows everything. I wonder if she has any other talents. Show us a bit. How about musical instruments? I know a little. At this point, the comments were all mocking. Know a little, too confident, huh? If you don't know, just honestly admit it. Why try to save face? This is clearly a variety show about rural life, yet it's turned into an eating show. Director Lee hurriedly pulled Director Ngon back. Is Director Ngon trying to sabotage us? Tuong Yi has worked hard to attract some food-loving fans through cooking. This performance will make the audience lose goodwill. I heard her skills are very poor. What if she performs badly later? Then we should support her. Just praise her. Praising is right. How to praise? Just praise perfunctorily. I'm starting to not want to acknowledge this foolish son anymore. Shiyu also coldly advised, you shut up. As soon as he finished speaking, Tuong Yi brought the musical instrument. Surprisingly, it was a 3-stringed moon lute. The comments started a new wave of mockery. No way. A 3-stringed lute. Can she play it? Probably just knows a few notes. Haha, I'm ready to laugh. Tuong Yi smiled and asked, does anyone want to hear any particular song? Some viewers had no requests, just play what you like, then I'll take the liberty. A folk music segment rang out with a unique timbre, immediately drawing everyone into an earthly fireworks atmosphere. Midway through the song, the young girl's skilled fingers changed from folk music to Iron Horse crossing the river. The sound suddenly changed, her fingers dazzling to the eye, the melody exuding a primitive, tragic, and intense feeling, yet able to evoke the deepest passion in people's hearts. As the last note ended, Shiyu's applause was the first to ring out. Director Ngon also clapped along. Excellent. It made my blood boil with excitement. Tuang was very modest. I haven't played in a long time. My hands are a bit stiff. Shiyu offered a handkerchief. Wipe your sweat. Thinking about having to stay away from Shiyu, Tuang lowered her eyes. No need. I'll go clean up. This scene was seen by Shiyu's fans, who then launched another attack on Tuang. But there were also couple CP fans who expressed, it's acceptable, they look good together. That night, the video of Tuang playing the three-stringed moon lute was pushed to hot search. Even some influential figures in the moon lute circle spoke up in support of Tuang. Tan Vanyen stared at the hot search. How did this happen? Even the entire moon lute circle is speaking up for her. I won't let you become famous. Just have Ngon Nai reveal what you've done and you'll be ruined. The call connected. Tan Vanyen changed her tone. Anai, I just watched your live stream. Have you been starving all day? Do you need me to order food for you? Unexpectedly, Ngon Nai refused. No need. Thank you, Sister Vanyen. Hearing this, Tan Vanyen felt her plan to drive a wedge was working. You're like this today, yet Tuang didn't even bother to advise you. The things she did to you have left psychological scars. Ngon Nai interrupted. That's all in the past. Hanging up now. I need to touch up my makeup. Before Tan Vanyen could reply, he had already hung up. Ngon Nai lowered his head to eat noodles. Overhearing the conversation, Tuang also fell into deep thought. Why does Tan Vanyen keep trying to separate me and Ngon Nai? What role did she play in my past? This woman is clearly a sea queen, but blushed when the young man Ngon Nai pressed her against the wall. She should have been overjoyed, but kept refusing. Just because the one who originally liked Ngon Nai wasn't her. Why don't you pay attention to Sister Vanyen? Who? You can pretend not to know me, but are you also pretending not to know Sister Vanyen? The young man pointed at Tuang. Tuang, you have no heart. Could they be friends of the person occupying my body? If so, Ngon Nai's hostility towards me would make sense. Seeing Tuang silent, Ngon Nai moves closer. Why aren't you saying anything? I'm sorry, I've lost my memory for the past year, so I don't know who you two are. You're lying again. Before, you also said you lost your memory. You always use memory loss as an excuse. Why are you pretending not to know me? Clearly, the person talking to me is you. The person who touched my hand is also you. Damn it, so the person occupying my body is also a player. How many people have they heard already? Ngon Nai, look at me carefully. Do you really think I'm the same Tuang you knew before? Ngon Nai looks at Tuang, already having an answer in his heart. I'm sorry for what happened, but I really don't have those memories. I hope you understand. You don't need to deceive me. Before he could finish, a rumbling stomach sound is heard. So that's why you stubbornly refused to eat what I cooked. Have you given up now? Ngon Nai happily eats the noodles Tuang made. The noodles are chewy and soft, the broth rich and delicious. You really cook well. Not eating during the day was a big loss. So will you let me order tomorrow to make up for today's missed meal? Ngon Nai's mood brightens further. Thank you. All right, you keep eating. I'll go take a shower and sleep. But eating too much at night is hard to digest. It's okay if you can't finish it all. Leftovers. No way. While eating, footsteps are heard approaching. Ngon Nai quickly looks up. It's Thoi Tui. Uncle Thoi Tui, are you getting water? Yeah, you're eating. Yes, Sister Tuang made it for me. Hearing the word sister, Thoi Tui pauses. You call her sister, but call me uncle. Am I that old? Then he starts acting sigh. At 27, I'm already someone's uncle. Next year, I might be called grandpa. No, uncle. You're not old at all. Thoi Tui doesn't reply, just silently looks at him. No, brother Thoi Tui. Thoi Tui likes this. After eating, go to bed early. Yes, brother. Shiyu returned to his room, taking out a candy wrapper from his pocket. This was the candy that Tuang had given him. Thinking about Tuang making lobster for Director Ngon, cooking separately for Ngon Nai, I also have something. On the new day, Director Tran's variety show aired as scheduled. Guest Tan Vanyen started making breakfast as soon as filming began. Stylish sandwiches and coffee. The four guests greeted each other and sat down. Tan Vanyen's fans kept praising her, complimenting her stylish food while criticizing Tuang ordinary cooking. The on-site guests laughed awkwardly. This only looks good. The taste is actually hard to describe. Some honestly sighed. I don't understand why a rural variety show has turned into an eating show. Several people sharing such a small piece. Is this a celebrity's portion? At this moment, an untimely comment appeared. The two-person household has started live streaming, and so a group of people rushed away. Director Tran was fuming. Isn't our Western food luxurious enough? Why do they have to go watch fried milk? The milk has been pre-processed, dipped in fermented crispy batter, forming a perfect parabola, falling into the oil pan. Tuang Yi moved quickly, soon frying up a large pot. Nonai appeared with messy hair. Yesterday you said I could order. Can I have some juice? Tuang Yi casually covered the lens for him. With such messy hair, what if you get caught on camera? Little one won't get to drink if not neat and tidy. I don't know how to do hair. Yesterday's hairstyle was done by the barbershop downstairs. Then I'll go find a nam. Let him help me do it. Wait a moment. Obedient little ones get rewards. Ngon Nai turned his head back and was stuffed with a piece of fried milk. The redness spread from his ears to his neck. She fed me. Does that mean she likes me? The young man blushed at his own thoughts, his heart pounding, and ran out of the kitchen. With a thud, he bumped into a tall figure. Looking up, it was Shiyu. Shiyu wore a comfortable hoodie, looking like a young man just over 20. He reminded, "Be careful. You should watch where you're going." Nonai looked around, saw no cameras, and was carefully but overjoyed. "Senior," she fed me. Shiyu's expression unchanged, just raised an eyebrow. "Was it good?" I ate too fast, swallowed before I could taste it. She's so gentle, saw my messy hair and helped cover the lens for me, told me to go find her manager to do my hair. Shiyu smiled, patted his head. Then go quickly. Make yourself handsome to look good on camera. After sending the kid away, Shiyu entered the kitchen. The man with an excellent sense for cameras looked into the lens. "Good morning." Tuangi turned around. "Good morning. Do you need any help?" "No need. It's already done. I was about to juice for the kid. Would you like a glass, Senior?" Shiyu helped carry the food plate. "Can I order something else?" "Of course. Senior has privileges. What would you like to drink?" Shiyu was secretly delighted. "Then coffee." "All right. I'll juice for the kid first." Shiyu lowered his eyes, juicing for No Nai first. "I have privileges, but give priority to others." The film emperor Shiyu vying for favor, yet not as good as a little kid. The live stream lens switched to the villa. In the room, coffee-making equipment was complete. Kettle, coffee maker, coffee grinder. Sharp-eyed viewers noticed that all this equipment was professional grade. Tuong Yi operated calmly, finally casually drawing a cute little cat appearing in the cup. The guests of Two in a House gathered around the dining table. Although director Ngon kept reminding himself not to eat too much, he still ended up stuffed. Must match Tuong Yi and Ngon Nai as a couple. Only then can we eat such delicious food every day. Ngon Nai, full from eating and drinking, noticed Shiyu not moving. "Brother Shiyu, why aren't you eating?" "I'm waiting for coffee." As soon as he finished speaking, coffee was brought. An espresso, an iced Americano, and a caramel macchiato. Shiyu chose the espresso, tasted it, and said, "It's good." Director Ngon casually tasted the iced Americano, only praising Tuong Yi for choosing good coffee beans. The last cup was placed in front of Ngon Nai. "This one's for you. I added caramel. Don't worry, it's not bitter." Ngon Nai lowered his head, eyes brightening. "Brother, look at this. There's a kitten inside." Shiyu's coffee drinking motion paused. Not angry, Tuong Yi just treats the kid like a child and takes care of him. At this moment, a kitten suddenly jumped onto the dining table, saw the coffee, approached, and sniffed. Ngon Nai hurriedly grabbed it. "This is my coffee, little one. You're not allowed to drink it secretly. This cat is so cute. What's its name?" Tuong Yi hugged the cat. "It's Xiao Nao Fu. Why doesn't this cat eat cat food? I see its bowl is still full. It might be a bit picky. I'll make some tuna and pumpkin for it later." After saying that, she couldn't help but give Xiao Nao Fu a quick kiss. Xiao Nao Fu widened its eyes. Lao Hu is no longer clean. Shiyu's eyes suddenly became a bit strange. "That's right. Director Lai, I made a few extra cups of coffee. If anyone wants to drink, feel free. Staff can go get some." "All right, thank you, Tuong Yi. But do you have a barista certificate? It's so professional." Tuong Yi was a bit embarrassed by the praise. "No, I just learned from others casually. My skill is ordinary. In the future, if you staff want coffee, you can make it yourselves." Director Lee kept waving his hands. "I don't dare touch this expensive equipment. It's fine. These machines have been at my home for a long time without use. There might be some minor issues." As soon as the Two in a House netizens heard Tuong Yi say "at my home," they immediately exploded again, saying directly that the mobile vase was too deep in character. The show, it was welcome to my home. Does she think the whole world is her home? The guests, unaware of the noisy comments, were still letting Tuang Yi assign tasks, trying to finish what could be done before going to work. Director Ngon and An Nai both like spicy food, so make some satay for them to take. Then let's go to my garden to pick some chili peppers. A staff member handed the phone to Director Lee. Director, the comments aren't very good right now. Suddenly, a loud male voice came from afar. Miss Tuang Yi, I'm here to deliver ingredients for you. Xiao Nao Fu, your fish is here. Let's go get it. Cameraman, follow closely with the lens. The man in the lens wore old work clothes, but the words Xiao Tu Farm printed on his chest were very eye-catching. Netizens started to explode again. This man is clearly the owner of Xiao Tu Farm, not only running Xiao Tu Farm, but also a famous farmer entrepreneur. He even received an Outstanding Citizen Medal from the mayor of Nancheng. Such a big figure. Why is he so respectful to Tuang Yi? An 18th-tier actress, a mobile vase, often scolded in variety shows just because she treats the luxurious villa as her own home. Even the vegetable delivery guy has to speak up for her. Tuang Yi didn't seem to notice. Although Miss Tuang Yi doesn't care, I still have to support her. I heard you're live streaming. Live streams should give gifts to fans. We can't let you lose face. So we prepared these things. All specialties from the farm. There's strawberries, spicy rabbit head, runny egg cake, beef balls. Each time the owner mentioned an item, the netizens' hearts trembled once. These things have to be fought for every second when buying online. Basically, every time they're restocked. They're sold out as soon as you refresh. Even offline, they're out of stock. If you're late, you can't even queue up. What's more frustrating is that everything is limited in quantity each week. Now they're just given away to fans. Tuang Yi sweated slightly. Thank you, Uncle Wang. What thanks? We should thank you. Without you, we couldn't have such a good life. Yi turned to director. How should we give these away? So the world of the rich is this simple and glamorous, giving away such precious things casually. Shiyu made a suggestion. Put it on the official Weibo. Share it for a lucky draw. Yes, that's a good idea. Miss Tuang Yi, I heard you don't earn much in the entertainment industry. Netizens even say you fish for 3 days and dry nets for 4. When you're done playing around, come back to manage Xiao Tu Farm. Okay, what do the netizens say? They say, you're occupying someone else's nest, staying at someone else's house, and calling yourself the owner. But this is clearly your house. Not only the netizens in the livestream room, but even Director Ngon and his son were left open-mouthed. The direction of netizens' discussion immediately changed. Director Ngon suddenly felt insecure. How could his little son be worthy of this young rich lady? Shiyu was secretly pleased. It seemed like there was one less competitor. Director Lee also took the opportunity to step into the frame, explaining briefly. Our show's filming location was maliciously leaked. It was Tuang Yi who unconditionally lent her own villa for 2 in a house to film, doing a good deed while choosing to stay silent about it. So Tuang Yi, why did you initially choose to hide that this was your home? Tuang Yi glanced at the camera. There's nothing worth mentioning. Tuang Yi's fans instantly transformed from purely beauty fans to personality fans. Uncle Wang finished delivering and said goodbye to Tuang Yi. When you're free, come back to Xiao Tu Farm to visit everyone. We're waiting for you to come slaughter pigs. Tuang Yi with her small frame. She'd fly away in a gust of wind. How could she slaughter pigs? After seeing Uncle Wang off, Tuang Yi called Ngonai. I'm going to cook for Xiao Nao Fu. Anai, you go pick peppers first. Pick a basket of green and red peppers. If you accidentally break the peppers, your hands will sting, so wear gloves carefully. Finally, Tuang Yi didn't forget to add, Anai is so good. Ngonai knew she was coaxing him, but still couldn't help blushing. She praised me again. I'm so happy. He picked up the basket and scurried off to the vegetable garden. Shiyu was so angry he kept tapping the wooden fish. Not angry, used to it. Director Ngon also proactively asked for work. Just sitting idle with Shiyu is too boring. Am I being disliked? There's fruit wine I brewed myself in the cellar. Director Ngon, would you like to choose some to take back? Director Ngon was a bit tempted, but still waved his hand. That's too much. We've already eaten, and now we're taking things. Tuang Yi used the 4-word magic spell of Chinese people. Since you're already here, all right then, I'll take some. Director Ngon happily went into the wine cellar. Tuang Yi stood up to prepare food for Xiao Nao Fu. Then, Senior, please sit and rest for a while. Shiyu wanted to watch Tuang Yi cook, so he followed. As he walked, Xiao Nao Fu heard Shiyu's footsteps following. its cat eyes like glass beads rolled around. It turned its body, and with a thud, lay on its back with all four paws up in front of Shiyu. This collision was unexpected. I fell. It's because you bumped into me. Tuangyi turned back, saw Xiao Naofu lying on its back with paws up, and quickly picked it up. No pain, no pain, there. Xiao Naofu acted pitiful. Meow! Seems like I somewhat understand the mood of girls who hate green tea bitches now. After putting Xiao Naofu in a safe place, Tuangyi negotiated with it. Be good here. I'll go cook for you. No, one slip and I'll be hooked by that man. Kittens aren't allowed in the kitchen. This old tiger isn't a cat. Tuangyi immediately corrected herself. Xiao Naofu isn't allowed in the kitchen either. Fine. For the sake of good food, I'll listen to this bad woman. Shiyu stroked his chin thoughtfully. The kitten wants to go to the kitchen, so he curved his lips into a smile while petting the cat and calling Tuangyi. I'll come to the kitchen to help you, okay? Senior, you're working hard. Then I'll trouble you. Why? Why is he allowed in the kitchen? But I, old tiger, am not. You're even touching me. How annoying. It angrily waved its small claws, scratching Shiyu's hand. Good. Fell for it. The young and handsome film emperor slightly lowered his eyes, his pale lips letting out a soft hiss, drawing everyone's attention to the back of his hand. 3 scratch marks clearly appeared on the back of his hand. Tuangyi noticed something was wrong and hurried over. Senior, are you okay? Are you hurt? Shiyu held out his hand in front of Tuang. It's fine. Look, wait a moment. I'll go get the first aid kit. Xiao Naofu instantly turned to stone. How did it turn out like this? Shiyu calmly lowered his head to look at Xiao Naofu, a hint of cunning flashing in his eyes. Xiao Naofu's fur stood on end. He set me up. Xiao Naofu angrily meowed chaotically, suddenly picked up by the scruff by Tuangyi, its small legs dangling in the air, only able to run helplessly in place. Xiao Naofu, you're not allowed to scratch people. If you're not good, I'll starve you. The beautiful cat eyes were full of shock and heartbreak. You'd starve me for a stupid man. Toi Tui adds fuel to the fire. Little Brain Tiger is still young. It's normal not to understand. I'm fine. A few scratches are no big deal. Don't scare it. Why is this man's smooth talk even more skilled than mine? Tuangyi full of guilt. Sorry, Senior, I'll discipline it. I'll put it in another room to calm down. Locked in the room, Little Brain Tiger gradually loses its reason, making woof 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 sounds like a dog barking through the door. Netizens in the livestream room laugh hysterically. The green tea cat has gone stupid, right? Thought someone else's top star was easy to bully. After locking up Little Brain Tiger, Tuangyi treats Toi Tui's wound. Your hand is injured. Senior, don't go into the kitchen later. Toi Tui calls Tuangyi back, turns his head. Suddenly, a pair of gold-rimmed glasses appears before her eyes. He gently adjusts Tuangyi's bangs. They're non-prescription. Be careful not to get chili in your eyes later when making satay. Tuangyi is startled by the sudden closeness. Takes a moment before slowly saying thank you. Thanks. That's so nice. So kind. It's just wearing glasses. How can he look so handsome? However, it's enough to make the few CP fans feel like it's New Year's. In the group of 10-year-old sister fans, everyone types ellipses. Tuang Feng is also intently watching the livestream. The insults towards Tuangyi in the livestream room have decreased significantly. Not bad. At this moment, the phone rings. Hello. No competitions recently. Why did you remember to call me? The other end doesn't greet, going straight to the point. I want to participate in the 2 People 1 Home program. Tuangyi finishes making pumpkin tuna rice, brings it to the kitten. Little Brain Tiger, let's eat. The tiger ignores her. There's tuna, the fish that old tiger likes to eat most. Ah, if you don't eat it, then I can only throw it away. Throw it away. How can this stupid woman be so wasteful? Want to eat so badly. But if I eat, I eat. Doesn't old tiger have any face? Seeing this, Tuangyi can only use her final move. I wonder if Senior likes to eat tuna. If I don't eat it, can I bring it for him to try? The kitten jumps up, its chubby paws pressing firmly on the small rice bowl. This is old tiger's rice. Just taste a bit, okay? Then give this stupid woman a little face. Xiao Naofu lowered its head to taste a bit of rice, then ate heartily. Finally coaxed this little ancestor. Passing through the living room, she met someone's gloomy gaze. Tuangyi nervously picked up the stuffed rabbit and gave it to Shiyu. This is for you. Shiyu didn't understand. What's this for? You're sitting here alone, too lonely. Let the bunny keep you company. Tutu. Is that your childhood nickname? The young girl's ears visibly turned red. Senior, you still remember calling me Tutu because I loved eating spicy rabbit head, right? Very cute. Don't call me that anymore. It's too embarrassing. At this moment, Nuon Nai returned with picked peppers, breaking the awkwardness. Tuong Yi hurriedly took the peppers, not even hearing what Nuon Nai said, and turned to run away at light speed. Is big sister in such a hurry to make chili sauce? Shi Yu smiled behind her. The best way to calm one's mood is to make delicious food. First, finely chop green and red peppers separately. Put a wok on the stove, add oil, add the prepared seasonings, and stir fry until fragrant. Divide the hot oil into 2 parts. Pour over the peppers. When the hot oil is poured over the peppers, even through the screen you can sense the spicy and fragrant aroma. Director Chen looked at the live stream on the tablet, looking very confused. All that busy morning just to make chili sauce. Why are their viewer numbers still increasing while ours continue to decrease? We invited all traffic stars and have all kinds of tasks. How can we be inferior to Two in a House? The reason is nothing else but the interaction between the guests is too forced. Du Liao Liao only likes to hog the spotlight. Fu Jiayan only knows how to flatter. Qin Wanyan and Zhang Shen try to find topics, but Zhang Shen talks little, resulting in awkward conversations. Director Chen couldn't figure it out. They're all traffic stars. Why aren't the viewers supporting them? Director Chen, we found out the guest list for Two in a House this afternoon. What's there to be happy about? Did your brain get tricked? They invited Smog, that hot-tempered esports player. The Spirit app has a rule that swearing will result in a livestream ban as punishment. Speaking of Smog, truly no one doesn't know him, but people know him not for how good he is at gaming, but because in a league match, he had a one-on-one argument with an opponent player, and one Lam Song Than, go first, nearly made the owners of both teams die of anger on the spot. Great. If Smog swears a few times, the live stream of 2 people, 1 home will be locked. And when the live stream is locked, won't viewers all flock to get excited? After lunch, the 2 Ngon father and son pack up their things to leave. Tuong Yi even prepares a small gift for Ngon Nai. These are strawberry seeds. Didn't you say you wanted to grow something? This is relatively simple. I didn't expect that my casual mention would be remembered by her. It feels good to be valued. How could a child's small thoughts escape the notice of a father who's a director? They came with light luggage, but leave with a pile of stuff. Thank you, dear. Tuong Yi fattens up the chickens a bit. Next time uncle will come again. The 2 wave goodbye to the Ngon father and son. After seeing off the Ngon family, the next guest still hasn't arrived. This means Toi Tui has to stay alone with Tuong Yi for a while. Senior, I'm planning to slaughter a pig. Do you want to stay home and play with Little Brain Tiger or come along? What's fun about Little Brain Tiger? Of course, I'll go with Tuong Yi. Then later, please help me catch the pig. Netizens collectively put question marks. What the hell? Where's the love story I wanted to see? Netizens feeling deceived think to themselves, better to be deceived than to miss out. So all kinds of confusing posts appear on social media. Countless idle netizens browsing the web eagerly click to watch. Tuong Yi and Toi Tui just arrived at the Little Rabbit Farm. If you want to eat animals on the farm, you have to catch them yourself. Senior, wait a moment. I'll go from this side, you go from that side, okay? The netizens who were tricked into watching immediately became confused. Where's the meat? Why am I watching pig catching? Tuong Yi gently approached a small pig she had chosen. The little pig looked at her warily, then ran away. Senior, watch out, it's running towards you. Shi Yu circled around from the side to block the little pig's path. Cornered against the wall, it suddenly slipped through a gap on the side. Seeing it was about to escape successfully, Tuong Yi propped one hand on the railing and jumped over, catching the little pig with the other hand, lifting it up to show Shi Yu. Senior, I caught it. Shi Yu looked at her with a gentle smile. The bullet screen exploded. Little sister is so cool. This live stream is great. Some sharp-eyed netizens also noticed that Shi Yu's gaze at Tuong Yi was too gentle, because the next scene was too bloody. The live stream ended here. Give the pig to me. It's hard for you to go out holding it like that. It's okay. It will dirty your clothes, Senior. On the way back, Shi Yu finally asked the question that had been on his mind. Why are you so distant and formal with me? Is it because of what happened at the hotel last time? What if I say nothing happened between us? Tuong Yi was stunned by this truth. We didn't. We didn't at all. Tuong Yi, I roughly know what you're worried about. Can you not mind those things and get closer to me? Unexpectedly, Tuong Yi took half a step back. But I still have to call you Senior. Shi Yu smiled helplessly. All right, I'll wait for you to truly relax and face me. The bloody scene ended, and Two in a House started broadcasting again. The pig had been caught and needed to be taken to the kitchen for processing. Shi Yu waved his hand, telling Tuong Yi to go do it herself. No need to mind him. Turning back, he heard scratching sounds from Tuong Yi's room. Perhaps Xiao Naofu was locked up to the point of mental breakdown. Shi Yu had a mischievous idea, opening the door slightly. Xiao Naofu cautiously poked its head out, seeing it was Shi Yu. the kitten's eyes immediately widened. I'm here to rescue you. Happy. Shiyu took out a fluffy wool ball. Want to play with this? Humph. You think this little tiger hasn't seen anything good before? Such a stupid toy. How could I like it? Shiyu threw the ball far away. Xiao Naofu's body was much more honest than its thoughts. Cat instinct made Xiao Naofu rush towards the wool ball, catching it firmly. Fun, isn't it? Damn it. I've fallen for his trick. This man is so scheming. Be good from now on. No, this old tiger won't submit to a rotten man like you. Shiyu casually massaged its nape. Xiao Naofu was immediately conquered, making small purring sounds like a child. At this moment, the director came. Come on, the new guests are about to arrive. Go out to welcome them. I know, let me call Tuang Yi. As soon as he stopped, Xiao Naofu protested. Don't stop. The cat's dignity was completely lost. Just as they reached the door, the new guests had arrived. The girls stepped out of the first car, with delicate features and an aura of fragile vulnerability. Then from the second car, a young man around 20 years old got out, who was the hot-tempered esports player, Smog. When Tuang Yi saw him, she was first stunned, then overjoyed. He actually came. Tuang Yi stepped forward, wanting to help him with his luggage, but was avoided by him. A cold, distant voice rang out. Don't touch my things. Tuang Yi was stunned for a few seconds. I'm sorry. Still acting. I trusted you so much before, but you. Tuang Yi, are you okay? Smog surely didn't mean to be like that to you. Maybe it's because the weather is too hot. You are. Sister Tuang Yi, don't you remember me? We've met before. Brother Teo Duong also wanted to send his regards to you. Tuang Yi was confused. Who? This woman's status is not ordinary. I need to be more serious. Tuang Yi quickly changed the subject. Anyway, please come in, everyone. From the main gate to the villa, it was just a short distance, but Tuang Yi was absent-minded the whole way. Although she had mentally prepared early to bear the consequences caused by the person who occupied her body for the past year, when actually facing it, she still felt very uncomfortable. She knew how to comfort others, but how to comfort herself was a problem. Fourth brother missed his flight due to her prank, unable to participate in a very important match. In that competition, his team suffered a crushing defeat, and fourth brother was also scolded on hot search because of it. So to save fourth brother's heart, Tuang Yi could only put in all her effort preparing his favorite dishes. Compared to Tuang Yi busy in the kitchen, the other female guest appeared idle. Although participating in the variety show was just to boost her fame, with film Emperor Thoi on the left and star Smog on the right, Ba Chuok still felt she had really scored a big deal. Anam had just finished work and returned home, already hearing laughter coming from the living room, and his poor obedient girl was sitting on a small chair in the kitchen, face smeared picking vegetables. Without comparison, there is no harm. Anam suddenly felt heartache for Tuang Yi, pulling her out of the kitchen, saying he wanted to do her makeup. Tuang Yi, pulled up, was still confused. Isn't it just tidying up? Darling, are you silly? Look at that white lotus over there, always talking about Smog, Senior Thoi Tui. Look at yourself. Our darling is a little fairy. How can we let you be the cook? Tuang Yi felt warmth in her heart. She had traversed many worlds and met all kinds of people, but those truly kind to her were very few. In the living room, Nuok played a few rounds. The audience on the screen had already guessed 7 or 8 parts of the 3 people's expressions. Fourth brother looked irritated. I felt a few times he wanted to shoot Bak Nuok. The film emperor, indeed someone who could praise Sosa's food as earthly delicacy, had skillfully told her to hide away. Don't be a drag. Bash Nuok felt like she was dreaming, actually able to play games with 2 such excellent men. At this moment, the sound of high heels clicking on the floor successfully attracted someone's attention. Fourth brother just slightly tilted his head, and his whole person froze. Noticing his teammate's loss of focus, Toi Tui looked up to remind him. Fourth brother saw Tuang Yi wearing a classic black velvet dress, slowly walking down the stairs. The comment section was silent for a few seconds, then flooded the screen. Noticing her brother's gaze, Tuang Yi instinctively smiled obediently and gently at him. Fourth brother coldly turned his head back, saw his character killed and respawned. His face immediately darkened. The person with an even worse expression than him was Bash Nuok. Tuang Yi, with just light makeup, had instantly defeated her completely. So annoying. Couldn't she go barefaced? Having to put on makeup to show off such a schemer. Shiyu pushed up his glasses. Very beautiful. Stunningly beautiful, right? That's how you say it, right? The screen was immediately filled with comments. You're not allowed to compliment her. Tuang Yi calmly accepted his compliment, slightly pursing her lips. The braised pork is almost done. Do you want anything else? Fourth brother coldly said, I'm not hungry. Bash Nuok also whined. I'm on a diet lately. I can't eat carbs. Just as the atmosphere was stagnating, Shiyu spoke up. How about making another plate of boiled shrimp? By the way, We can also take care of Xiao Naofu's lunch. The dialogue between the two was like old friends, so close it made people jealous. So when Tuang Yi walked past him, fourth brother arrogantly said, "Dressed like that looks awful." Tuang Yi stopped, looked at fourth brother, her eyes clear and gentle, as if no matter how excessive his words were, she wouldn't get angry. Xiao Naofu was passing by. He's in a bad mood. Can you comfort him? The violent, cold esports god Smog was stuffed into the body of a soft, cute kitten, embarrassed to the point of blushing. One person and one cat, 4 eyes looking at each other. Fourth brother choked, holding his breath. Damn, how can there be such an adorable cat in this world? Who could have guessed that the arrogant, lonely esports god Smog was actually a genuine fluff enthusiast? Knowing she couldn't deal with her brother, Tuang Yi could only rely on the best actor. Xiao Naofu tilted its head to assess fourth brother, having to sell its charm for the sake of its food portion. Its soft, adorable figure immediately captured all of fourth brother's attention. Even the woman talking to him was left behind. Bashnoknuk's expression immediately changed. Hateful Tuang Yi, even her cat is hateful. But she didn't expect that her expression was fully captured by the HD camera and sent to a wide audience online. Lunch was still chosen at the Cool Pavilion. As soon as the dishes were served, netizens spontaneously started ordering takeout. Bachnuk Nuok had just sat down when she smelled a delicious aroma, making her swallow hard. Just as she picked up her chopsticks to hypnotize herself that eating one meal wouldn't make her fat, Shi Yu brought a plate to her. "Aren't you on a diet? This is a special dish Tuang Yi made for you." Bachnuk Nuok could only lament inwardly, forcing a smile of gratitude. But netizens immediately laughed hysterically. "How stupid, who told you to say you wanted to diet?" Tuang Yi pushed the plate towards fourth brother. "Try the braised pork." Fourth brother coldly uttered a few words. "I don't like it." But netizens immediately flooded with mocking comments. "You really think your cooking is unrivaled, that everyone likes what you cook?" Tuang Yi disappointedly pushed the braised pork plate back, accidentally revealing the burn on the back of her hand. Fourth brother frowned, his cold expression gradually melting away. Xiao Naofu looked at the two, thinking something. To help, I still need to step in. It suddenly jumped onto the table, raised its chubby little paw, pointed at the braised pork, and meowed at fourth brother. "Oh my God, has this cat become a spirit? Who can resist this?" At this moment, Shiyu also spoke up. "Xiao Naofu is also persuading you. Try a bite." With Xiao Naofu acting cute first and then big brother Shiyu speaking up, fourth brother finally picked up his chopsticks and took a piece of braised pork. The red, glossy piece of meat touched his tongue, its exquisite flavor filling his mouth. This was a dish so delicious it made his hair stand on end. Fourth brother looked at Tuang Yi in amazement. Little sister has returned. Throughout the past year, Tuang Yi's behavior was too unusual. Fourth brother had boldly guessed that her body had been occupied by someone else. He wasn't sure when she would return, so he could only use coldness to hide himself, observe, and wait. Until now, tasting the food she cooked, fourth brother finally confirmed that his little sister had truly returned. In fourth brother's mind, images of his bad attitude towards Tuang Yi from the moment he entered until now kept appearing. Suddenly, he didn't know what to do. He strode away to the bathroom, his back looking somewhat hurried, but his action unintentionally hurt Tuang Yi even more. He can't even stand eating at the same table with her. Tuang Yi also lost her appetite. She put down her chopsticks, stood up saying she wasn't feeling well and was about to leave. Shiyu carefully observed her expression, calmly picked up Xiao Naofu, who was about to eat shrimp. "Wait, could you make some milk for Xiao Naofu while you're at it?" Xiao Naofu looked bewildered. "Meow. Bad man. The tiger hasn't even eaten shrimp yet." Seeing everyone fall into silence, Director Lee was a bit worried. 3 out of these 4 people were clearly not in a good state. The morning broadcast time was considered sufficient. Maybe it's time to take a break. So he waved his hand, announcing the end of the morning broadcast to resume at 3 p.m. For them, this was considered a rare private time. Shiyu had been craving a cigarette for a long time. He found a secluded corner alone. Just as he lit up, he heard a weak female voice next to him. "Senior, the weather is so hot. I feel like I'm about to get heat stroke. My chest feels uncomfortable. Can you help me?" This was perhaps Bashnuknuok's moment to shine. On the left was a film emperor. On the right was a smog god. Both of their attitudes towards her were polite and gentle, making her delude herself into thinking she could easily conquer both. So when Director Lee announced the broadcast pause, Bashnuok immediately approached Shiyu, striking a seductive pose, her big eyes blinking at Shiyu. "Senior, I feel like I'm about to get heat stroke. My chest feels uncomfortable." Shiyu lazily said, "There's some Hutuinia medicine in the living room medicine box." He didn't even glance at the figure she was so proud of. Bashnuknuok continued to try, putting on an innocent, pure look and asking Shiyu, "Senior, can I call you Brother Shiyu? You remind me so much of my brother." Through the swirling cigarette smoke, Shiyu's gaze turned towards her, his deep eyes without a trace of a smile. Bosh Nuok Nuok trembled, not daring to look at him directly. She didn't expect Shiyu to be so unapproachable, but she didn't want to miss this precious opportunity. If she couldn't get close to Film Emperor Shi this time, she might never have the chance to meet him again. So she thought of another plan, picking a gardenia flower nearby, quietly approaching Shiyu. "Senior, this flower smells so good. Would you like to smell it?" Shiyu chuckled softly, reaching to take off his glasses. Without the glasses shielding, his eyes were cold, sharp, dangerous, his words devoid of any warmth. "Do you know whose flower you just picked?" Bosh Nok Nok was stunned. She didn't expect Shiyu to change his expression over a flower. "It's Tuang Yi's, but she probably won't mind, right? But I care. Xiaotu has always been very careful with her things since childhood. She doesn't even let people who aren't close touch them. Senior, do you really dislike me that much? I don't know how I've offended you, or if Tuang Yi has said something to you. I just see you as a brother. I only wanted to get closer to you." Shiyu extinguished his cigarette, his words no longer courteous. "Who exactly gave you the delusion that I would touch just anything?" Director Lee came looking for Shiyu, just in time to see Bachtok Nuok running away in tears. "What happened? Shiyu, why did you make the girl cry?" Shiyu put his glasses back on, feigning innocence. "I don't know." Then he took out another cigarette from the pack, lit it. "What did you want to see me about?" Director Lee hesitated a bit. "Well, don't you think Tuang Yi's treatment of Smog is a bit special?" Shiyu glanced at him. "You have too much free time. I'm serious. It's been very difficult for Tuang Yi to get to this point. I see that netizens are now somewhat opposed to her behavior, feeling that she's too eager to please Smog. You invited guests without investigating their background first. Smog was a last-minute arrangement by Star Live to fill a gap. I really didn't pay attention to his real name." Shiyu directly gave the answer. "His name is Tuango." "Huh, Tuango. Tuang Yi. Are they relatives?" "That's right. He's Tuang Yi's fourth older brother. But why is Smog's attitude towards Tuang Yi so bad?" Shiyu didn't need to explain this to him. Figure it out yourself. At this moment, fourth brother was like sitting on hot coals, sitting in front of Tuang Yi's room sighing, wondering what to do. He had just treated her like that. Would she ignore him for the rest of her life? Thinking too much was useless. He decided he had to explain clearly to his sister. Fourth brother finally gathered all his courage to knock on Tuang Yi's door, but the door was suddenly pulled open from the inside. Tuang Yi appeared at the door holding Xiao Nao Fu, looking at him with a puzzled expression. Fourth brother quickly withdrew his hand. His face appeared calm, as if nothing had happened, but his mouth tried to sound fierce. "Are you a pig, taking such a long nap? Damn it, what am I saying?" Fourth brother immediately regretted scolding his sister, just because he had treated her like a transmigrated female lead, possessing someone else's body. It wasn't until he tasted the food made by his sister's own hands that he realized his sister had truly returned. And before that, he had always been cold and sarcastic towards his sister, only now realizing how excessive his attitude had been. But Tuang Yi shoved Xiaofu into his arms and turned to leave, leaving him standing there, helplessly watching his sister's back disappear. He felt stuck because he had angered his sister. Xiao Naofu was so angry his eyes rolled back. Humans are really stupid. Only now you realize how excessive your behavior was. Fourth brother started thinking of ways to coax his sister. "Oh, so this silly girl's brother still has some intelligence left. Then let me teach you." It waved its small paws, patting fourth brother's left chest. "As family, you should treat each other with sincerity." Fourth brother had an epiphany, deciding to gift his sister a max-level god-tier equipment set in the game, the ultimate epic sword. But he felt it wasn't enough, so he decided to gift her a whole set of equipment. Xiao Naofu despised this action, feeling that fourth brother's intelligence was not even equal to a tiger's. In the glass room, Shiyu was focusing on reading the script. Tuang Yi brewed a pot of flower tea and brought it to him. Hearing footsteps, he looked up, saw it was Tuang Yi, and sat up straight. Tuang Yi set down the tray, her eyes glancing over the ashtray on the table. Shiyu guiltily put out his cigarette, explaining that he doesn't smoke often. Tuang Yi knew that Shiyu had once played a heavy smoker role, and since then had kept the smoking habit. But outside of family, she didn't want to interfere too much in others' lives. This was a basic courtesy in social interactions. Seeing Tuang Yi didn't ask further, Shiyu guessed her thoughts, understanding in his heart that she didn't care about him that much. Tuang Yi had originally planned to leave after delivering the tea, but suddenly had a rebellious thought. She asked Shiyu for a cigarette. Shiyu frowned. "You're just a kid. What smoking? I'm an adult now. I can take responsibility for my actions. Just one, please. Hearing Tuangyi's soft, sweet voice, Shiyu coughed lightly, turning his back. There's nothing good about smoking this stuff. The girl's eyes immediately became puzzled, as if saying, Senior, it seems you're not in a position to lecture others. Right after that, Shiyu threw the cigarette in the trash. Under the girl's surprised gaze, Shiyu promised her, I'll quit smoking. Kids shouldn't learn from me. Tuangyi looked at the man in front of her, her heart racing. At this moment, she keenly noticed the script on the table. Is this the script you're considering? Still hesitating whether to accept it or not. Is there a problem with the script? The script is very good. It's my own problem. I feel I can't perform this role well. How is that possible? He's won the Best Actor award. How could there be a role he can't perform well? Shiyu thought for a moment, then answered honestly. Too many romantic scenes. Indeed, since his debut, almost all of Shiyu's roles have had no romantic scenes, let alone a first on-screen kiss. He hasn't even hugged or held hands with anyone on screen. Tuangyi was about to ask further, but then thought this was Shiyu's private matter, so she decided not to continue this topic. So she tentatively asked, I'm planning to install a swing. When it's done later, would you like to try it, Senior? The Great Smog was a bit two-faced. He told Bok Nuok Nuok to climb a tree to tie the swing, then turned around and told Tuangyi to sit on a small stool, swinging her legs. As soon as the livestream started, a family of two had already stolen more than half of Heartthrobbing's viewers. Director Tran was so angry, he grabbed the tablet, wanting to see what a family of two was doing. In the livestream frame, he saw Tuangyi making a swing, while fourth brother stood fiercely behind her. Then he saw fourth brother snatch the wooden board from Tuangyi's hands, roaring, Do you know what you're doing? Tuangyi was stunned by his roar, weakly answering, Installing a swing, brother. At this point, netizens were divided into two camps. One side felt Tuangyi's acting coy with fourth brother was fake. The other side felt Tuangyi was pitiful being treated like that by fourth brother. Director Tran's eyes lit up, waiting for fourth brother to utter profanities so that a family of two live stream would be locked. However, he saw the hot-tempered Smog, with a fierce expression, say the gentlest words. Put it down. Let me do it. Are a girl's hands meant for such heavy work? Director Tran, expecting his profanity, felt confused. Then he saw fourth brother very naturally pick up the wooden board. This is men's work. Leave it to me. Fourth brother's sudden change made everyone understand. Tuangyi could only watch as fourth brother took over her task. He suggested, How about we install it together? I'll give you a task. See that small stool over there? Sit there. Fourth brother patted Tuangyi's shoulder. Just sit beside me and watch. It's just a small swing. No big deal. Tuangyi finally realized her brother's attitude towards her seemed to have changed. He looked at the gloves placed nearby, wondering whether to try them or not. Thinking this, she handed the gloves to fourth brother, gesturing for him to wear them. If not, your hands might get scratched and hurt. Although fourth brother complained verbally, he obediently took the gloves and put them on. His face showed no expression, but inside he was blooming. Little sister cares about me now. Tuangyi saw that fourth brother no longer rejected her closeness, and could finally be sure he really has started to care about me. Bosh Nuok Nuok, having just finished her makeup, returned to see this scene. Fourth brother was enthusiastically doing carpentry, while Tuangyi leisurely stood beside him. Tuangyi is so useless. Fourth brother must hate lazy women like her. Thinking this, she swayed over. Fourth brother, you look tired working alone. Let me help you. All right, then climb the tree and tie the rope. Bosh Nuok Nuok's face was incredulous. She's a girl. Isn't helping supposed to be bringing water or a towel? Why make her climb a tree? Seeing Bosh Nuok Nuok not moving, fourth brother was a bit annoyed. What, you can't even climb a tree? Then don't stand here getting in the way. Be reasonable. What girl knows how to climb trees? Unexpectedly, Tuangyi cheerfully raised her hand. I know how to climb trees. Let me do it. Fourth brother interrupted her. You don't know. I really do. I'm super good at climbing. Fourth brother pushed Tuangyi away, once again asserting, No, you really don't know. Bosh Nuok Nuok, standing nearby, heard their conversation, could no longer keep the smile on her face. The little green tea never felt so embarrassed. It's just installing a swing. Yet, it made two people who used to care for her now hate to even be associated with her. So how could she perform her act of pretending to fall now? Fourth brother saw Tuangyi insisting on climbing the tree, so he pushed her towards Shiyu, instructing Shiyu to watch over her. Then he swiftly climbed up the tree in a few moves. Shiyu witnessed witnessed this scene and felt confused, a strange, familiar feeling rising in his heart. He had seen Tuong Feng climb trees, had also seen Tuong Yi climb trees, and now he saw Tuong Ngo climb so easily. Could tree climbing be an innate skill of the Tuong family? As soon as fourth brother finished installing the swing, Tuong Yi actively wanted to try it, but was stopped by fourth brother. "Why are you so mischievous? It's dangerous." Seeing her brother's attitude towards her was no longer cold, Tuong Yi finally felt at ease. Shi Yu stood beside, witnessing Tuong Yi's sweet smile towards fourth brother, couldn't help but feel a bit jealous. If only she could smile at me that sweetly. Bach Nuok Nuok. Seeing their interaction, her face gradually darkened. This Tuong Yi is really cunning, yet she can attract Smog's attention. No, I absolutely can't lose. So she proactively suggested she would try the swing. Later, she would intentionally fall, so Smog would catch her. This way, she could nestle in Smog's arms. She's also a woman. She didn't believe Smog wouldn't be moved. However, Smog turned and left, leaving Shi Yu to take care of Bach Nuok Nuok. Shi Yu immediately refused. "Let Xiaongo do it. I just climbed a tree. My hands have no strength. I'm old." Seeing Bach Nuok looking awkward as both men refused, Tuong Yi proactively offered to help her. But fourth brother suddenly called Tuong Yi back, then turned to warn Bach Nuok Nuok. "If you fall to the ground. Don't crush her, understand?" After instructing, he waved to Tuong Yi. "Now come here." Bach Nuok Nuok turned to Shi Yu, who was sighing, "How about brother Shi?" But Shi Yu only needed one glance to make her give up the idea. That look reminded her of Shi Yu's failed attempt to harm someone in the forest. How annoying. Her White Lotus skills had no effect at all. So she decided to abandon the act of pretending to fall, since no one would catch her anyway. Unexpectedly, as soon as Tuong Yi sat on the swing, fourth brother proactively protected her from behind. Tuong Yi also excitedly acted coy with fourth brother, asking him to push her a little higher. Shi Yu also reminded from the side, "Little Tuong, don't fall." Bach Nuok Nuok looked at the harmonious scene before her, feeling extremely angry. When she was on the swing earlier, they didn't say anything, but now it's Tuong Yi's turn, and they care so much. Surely Tuong Yi must have said something to fourth brother and Shi Yu while she wasn't around. She took back her phone from the staff. "Tuong Yi couldn't capture Teo Duong's heart, and now she's trying to cause trouble behind my back. How vicious. I must tell Teo Duong about this." Originally intending to show politeness in front of netizens, Bach Nuok Nuok was informed that the next journey was spraying pesticides on the farm, and to maintain enough popularity, she could only reluctantly agree to participate. But she wasn't satisfied. Tuong Yi alone had captured the attention of two excellent men, so she secretly squeezed in next to Tuong Yi. Netizens watching the live stream saw the interaction between Tuong Yi and fourth brother, teasing that the more they looked, the more they seemed like a married couple. As for fourth brother, known as the most hot-tempered, now smiled like the foolish son of a landlord. Seeing Bach Nuok Nuok return, the staff continued filming and asked everyone about the afternoon plans. Bach Nuok Nuok suddenly brightened up. She had been outside earlier. She saw a beautiful glass greenhouse, and to win Teo Duong's heart before, she had specially taken etiquette classes. If they had afternoon tea in that greenhouse, her elegant gestures would surely defeat Tuong Yi. So she suggested, "How about we?" Unexpectedly, Shi Yu and fourth brother gathered around Tuong Yi, asking for her opinion. Tuong Yi said, "I plan to go to the rabbit farm to help Uncle Wong spray pesticides." Fourth brother immediately responded, "I'll go with you." Shi Yu also smiled. "Sounds interesting. Let's go together then." Bach Nuok Nuok, standing behind, was full of questions. Really? Spraying pesticides? Who knows how netizens will criticize this? But because of the camera, she couldn't stay here alone, so she tried her best to show a surprised expression. "We're really spraying pesticides. I'll go too. I'll go too. Since everyone's looking forward to it, let's set off right now." Everyone walked to the farm, chatting and laughing happily. Bach Nuok Nuok, however, was thinking about the information she had just extracted from Teo Duong. She must expose Tuong Yi's lack of education to let everyone see what they were praising. So she deliberately squeezed in next to Tuong Yi. "Sister Tuong Yi, what did you major in at university?" Tuong Yi, unaware of her intentions, answered honestly, "Agricultural school." Bach Nuok Nuok feigned surprise. "Oh, really? No wonder you're coming to the farm to spray pesticides. It's your field. You're only 20, haven't finished university yet. Have you taken a leave of absence?" Tuong Yi remained calm. "I've already graduated." A hand suddenly pulled Bach Nuok Nuok's sleeve. "You're so concerned about others. Which university did you graduate from?" Before Bach Nuok Nuok could answer, fourth brother pushed her aside. "What, is there something you can't say?" Under fourth brother's cold gaze, Bach Nuok Nuok reluctantly answered, "I finished high school and was discovered by a talent agency, becoming a trainee. That's it. Now all viewers know she hasn't finished high school. It's over for Bok Nuok Nuok. Realizing she needed to change the subject to turn netizens' attention back to Twang Yi. Thinking this, she eagerly chased after Twang Yi. You debuted last year, right? Graduating university at 19? That's impressive. Bok Nuok Nuok implied Twang Yi was lying. She dared to loudly claim she had graduated. This time she'd surely be scolded by netizens. However, Twang Yi paid no attention to Bok Nuok Nuok's trap. It's okay. I'm the latest university graduate in my family. No need to mention my genius brothers. Even fourth brother finished university abroad at 17 and just came back to play games. Bok Nuok Nuok smiled smugly. This was Twang Yi's own words. It seems today she'll definitely be scolded by netizens and trend on hot search. The little green tea continued to dig a hole for Twang Yi, trying to lure her into admitting she was actually a poor student. However, Twang Yi was completely unaware of Bok Nuok Nuok's true intentions, admitting that her academic performance in the family was considered the worst. But Shiyu, who had been in the entertainment industry for many years, saw through the little green tea's intentions. Bok Nuok Nuok pretended to casually mention, I remember senior Shi was the top scorer in the college entrance exam that year, with a total score of over 700 points, right? I wonder how many points Sister Twang Yi scored. As the rare poor student in the Twang family, Twang Yi was a bit embarrassed, so she gave a vague answer, not up to 700 points. Twang Yi's answer made netizens laugh. According to her logic, any score below 700 points could be described as not up to 700 points. Shiyu, as a veteran in the entertainment industry, heard the trap in Bok Nuok Nuok's words, so he immediately defended Twang Yi. If I remember correctly, it was 699 points. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire set immediately fell into silence. Director Lee couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Even if Brother Shi wanted to help Twang Yi lie, he didn't need to say it like that. Isn't this making things worse? Bok Nuok Nuok felt that Shiyu was joking. After all, who would deliberately remember someone else's college entrance exam score? However, Shiyu just smiled faintly. Our two families are considered close. Isn't it normal to know these things? Moreover, college entrance exam scores can't be faked. Do you think I'm lying? Being protected like this by Shiyu, Twang Yi was so touched her eyes sparkled. Indeed, he was the idol she admired. Not only smart and hardworking, but also very thoughtful. At this moment, fourth brother was so angry he wanted to flip the table. So frustrating. I also remember my sister's score. Such a face-slapping moment. Shouldn't it be left for a brother like me to handle? Brother Shi, you should leave some opportunities for me to show off too. No, I must do something to make up for it. Suddenly, he had an idea. That's right. I have this interview video of my sister. Bok Nuok Nuok doubtfully took the phone. What the hell is an interview video? This is a street interview by Namthan TV on the day of college entrance exam results. 15-year-old genius scores 699 points. Outstanding achievement. This even became the headline news that day. The young Twang Yi, facing the camera, said heartbreaking words. My second brother says I'm too stupid. He was about to finish his medical PhD thesis at 15. The reporter broke out in a cold sweat. It seems your brother is very talented. Do you have any study tips to share with everyone? Read books twice, do exercises, that's it. What if you don't understand after reading twice? Then read one more time. My brothers only read once. Every time I read twice, they mock me. Sharp-eyed netizens noticed that fourth brother just said my sister, and quick-reacting netizens looked up fourth brother's real name, finding out he's also surnamed Twang. Seeing this, Bok Nuok Nuok's face turned pale. How is this completely different from the rumors she heard? They said she had no education. But it's okay, she must be able to find Twang Yi's flaws. Doesn't Twang Yi want to create a hard-working image? Actually, she basically doesn't know how to work. I must expose her. The little green tea, thinking herself clever, asked Twang Yi for the pesticide sprayer. Twang Yi awkwardly took out a remote control. Now we use drones to work. Bok Nuok Nuok, under the blazing sun, couldn't help but start to feel some resentment. She came to participate in an entertainment show, not to farm. Twang Yi is really idle and causing trouble. Doesn't she want to create a hard-working image? Then let me give you a hand. Sister Twang Yi, where's the water sprayer? Twang Yi didn't know how to explain. We don't use that. Bok Nuok Nuok laughed inwardly. Exposed now. Even she knows that spraying pesticides needs that water sprayer. How can it not be used? It's the tank that sprays water when you press it. How can you spray pesticides without it? Sister Twang Yi, didn't you study agriculture? How can you not know this? Tuang Yi was momentarily speechless, silently picking up the remote control beside her and pressing the start button. Immediately after, a buzzing sound was heard and a drone slowly rose above her head. Bashnok Nuok was instantly dumbfounded, her face full of confusion. Tuang Yi turned to explain to her, "We use this now." Tuang Yi casually operated the remote control, checking the drone's functions. She noticed fourth brother silently observing for a while and proactively asked if he wanted to try controlling the drone. Tuang Yi began to give fourth brother an on-the-spot lesson. Bach Nuok Nuok saw the two unconsciously getting closer, so she squeezed between them. "Sister Tuang Yi, I lack knowledge. Please teach me too. All right, let me get you a remote control." They all played with the drone together, but behind them, Shiyu was squatting to one side. Shiyu's fans immediately became unhappy, thinking Tuang Yi was deliberately cold to Shiyu. Meanwhile, Shiyu was happily teasing a cat. Little Brain Fu, being teased, was a bit annoyed and bit Shiyu's pant leg. Shiyu wasn't angry, gently picking up Little Brain Fu. "Be good, you eternal beauty." This immediately made netizens in front of the screen swoon. The drone, after being adjusted, started to operate normally. Seeing fourth brother control it so skillfully, Tuang Yi praised him generously. "This isn't difficult. It's much easier than playing games." Bach Nuok Nuok started calculating again. If fourth brother had learned it, then let him teach her. Wouldn't that naturally allow for physical contact with him? "Fourth brother, I might be too stupid. Sister Tuang Yi just taught me, but I couldn't learn. Can you teach me again?" Unexpectedly, fourth brother just nodded. "You actually know you're stupid. Not bad. Very self-aware. Is this how straight guys communicate? Are you praising me or criticizing me?" Initially, fourth brother's attitude towards her wasn't like this. Shiyu also cared about her a lot. This made Bosch Nowak suspect once again, Tuang Yi must have done something. If that's the case, don't blame her for retaliating. "Sister Tuang Yi, there's something I don't know if I should say." Tuang Yi, focused on controlling the drone, didn't turn back. If it shouldn't be said, then don't say it. Bosch Nowak immediately felt a lump in her throat. "Sister Tuang Yi, it's very cool that you use high tech for farming, but you should know that ordinary farmers don't have this equipment." The little green tea slapped Tuang Yi's face during the live stream, arguing that using drones to spray pesticides is completely wasteful. Ordinary farmers don't have this equipment. Doing so is impractical, can't be popularized. It's better to directly donate money to farmers. Her words immediately received agreement from some netizens. After all, they only care about the truth they see. However, rational netizens realized that this little green tea was engaging in moral kidnapping. Fourth brother stared at Bak Nuok Nuok with cold eyes. Shiyu also looked up, the smile gone from his face. Director Lee's mind was tense. Bosch Nuok Nuok, isn't this inciting netizens in the live stream room? Tuang Yi has always been cursed by the entire internet. It's easy for people to push this to an irredeemable level. Shiyu needs to quickly save the situation. Director Lee's gesture, Shiyu had seen, he just nodded slightly, seeming to have no intention of saving anything. Director Lee anxiously raised his phone to signal. Shiyu shook his head slightly, mouthing, "Trust her." Shiyu actually said trust her. Trust her how? Tuang Yi has always been a naive girl. How can she deal with a girl like Bosch Nuok Nuok? Only to hear Tuang Yi calmly reply, "You have a point." See. She was indeed led by Bosch Nuok Nuok. He shouldn't have agreed to let Bosch Nuok Nuok join the show in the first place. However, Tuang Yi continued, "You may have misunderstood something. The purpose of Rabbit Farm, besides harvesting agricultural products for trade, is to cooperate with Namthang Crop Research Institute, aiming to explore planting data of good varieties in different environments and production tools. Good crop varieties will be referenced and data compared in different lands and climates. I take agriculture as the foundation. Agriculture takes seeds as the priority. Cultivating good varieties can truly benefit farmers." The little green tea's smile faded. "It's like this again." It became Tuang Yi's stage again. Tuang Yi's explanation also gave netizens a different view of her. "So that's how it is. Sister Tuang Yi, you know so much. I'll have to learn more from you in the future." Until the end of the live stream, Bak Nuok Nuok only dared to use the excuse of going to the bathroom to vent her inner anger. However, as soon as she went out, she encountered the little cat that Tuang Yi raised. Anger flared up in her heart, and she kicked Little Brain Fu away. Animals are animals, don't even know to get out of the way. Little Brain Fu tumbled over, staggered to get up, and suddenly bit Bosch Nuok Nuok's calf. So infuriating. Even that stinky man Shiyu doesn't dare to bully it like this. Who does this little green tea think she is? being bitten by little brain foo. Bosh Nuak Nuak angrily wanted to continue kicking it. Just an ugly cat. How dare you bite me? You're just like your owner, both equally despicable. It's so infuriating. So infuriating. The handsome tiger like me, you dare call it stupid. Moreover, this stupid woman Tuang Yi, only I can be fierce to her. No one else is allowed. Little brain foo angrily pounced towards Bosh Nuak Nuak. Bosh Nuak Nuak had never seen such a scene, scared to the point of crying and running, shouting for help. Bosh Nuak Nuak kicked Little Brain Foo away, then ran to find Tuang Yi to complain. Little Brain Foo also put on a pitiful face, arousing fourth brother's sympathy. In terms of acting skills compared to a cat, you're still far behind. Bosh Nuak Nuak's leg was covered in scratches. She ran to tell Sister Tuang Yi. Sister Tuang Yi, your cat bullied me. I didn't provoke it at all, but it scratched me a lot. Shiyu was a bit suspicious. Are you sure Little Brain Foo scratched you for no reason? Tuang Yi suggested, first, let's treat her wounds. As for other matters, I need to confirm. After all, Little Brain Foo wouldn't harm others unprovoked. Bach Nuak Nuak's eyes were filled with tears, looking very wronged. Are you all doubting me? It's just a cat. I won't quibble with it. I'm saying this just to remind everyone. I heard it was originally a stray cat. It's fine if I get hurt, but I hope it doesn't harm other guests. Fourth brother picked up Little Brain Foo beside him. He also didn't believe Little Brain Foo would scratch Bosh Nuak Nuak for no reason. At this moment, Little Brain Foo entered acting mode, its big eyes blinking, as if saying, "This woman is so scary, she frightened me." Fourth brother comforted it heartbrokenly. "Little darling, don't be afraid. I'm here. Look, scaring the little one like this." Bach Nuak Nuak, who had seen Little Brain Foo's fierce appearance, was shocked. Has this cat become a spirit? It's pretending to be more pitiful than me. No, this act must continue. Why should I lie? Aren't my wounds proof enough? If you mention proof, do you have evidence that your wounds were caused by Little Brain Foo? That's right. Who knows? It could have been scratched by other stray cats. Even if it really was Little Brain Foo who scratched you, it could be because you bullied it and it was forced to defend itself. It's so weak, helpless, and pitiful. How could it bully you? You bullying it is more likely. Little Brain Foo showed an innocent face, provoking Bachwok. Sister, is something wrong? In brother's eyes, in brother's heart, there's only me. Little Brain Foo's actions successfully angered Bach. This scheming cat, it's pretending, it's pretending. Can't you all see? Where is it pitiful? It's clearly very fierce. Seeing this, Little Brain Tiger nestled into fourth brother's arms, immediately arousing fourth brother's protective instinct. Speak nicely. Why are you scolding it? Tuang Yi suddenly remembered the farm had surveillance cameras. Just check the footage and we'll know what happened. Bosh Nuok's face immediately changed. Such a shabby farm actually has surveillance cameras. If netizens found out she kicked Little Brain first, what would become of her image? She immediately changed her attitude. Actually, it's not necessary. The wounds and I are not that serious. How can that be? This is my farm. Guests are honored. How can we let guests get hurt and feel wronged? Shiyu smiled approvingly. This little rabbit is quite smart, hitting the key point in one go. Director Lee hurriedly stepped in to mediate. Does your leg need treatment? How about I take you back first? With no better solution at present, Bach Nuok Nuok could only reluctantly agree to leave. Tuang Yi just wanted to ask Movie Emperor Shi what he wanted to eat tonight. Who knew she'd witness such an eye-opening scene? Only now did she realize the live stream was still ongoing, wondering if it was too late to turn it off now. Director Lee couldn't help but praise. Movie god. Shi's physique is truly sinful. Wonder if the netizens watching the live stream enjoyed this unexpected bonus. However, he noticed Tuang Yi was blushing so much her ears turned red. If the live stream continued, netizens might start gossiping. So Director Lee decided to pause the live stream for a while, letting the teachers rest a bit. Tuang Yi anxiously rubbed her hands. Senior, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just came to ask what you wanted to eat tonight. Seeing the girl's worried and embarrassed look, Shiyu had the idea to tease her. Then let's eat Little Rabbit. Hearing the words Little Rabbit, Tuang Yi's ears perked up in surprise. Huh, Shiyu slowly said. Spicy rabbit head, rabbit salad, plain rabbit. Can you make those? Oh, it's really eating rabbit. I can make them, but senior, aren't you unable to eat spicy food? Nothing's impossible. It's all fine. Then let's do rabbit salad. Making too much, we won't be able to finish. Make one portion less spicy, one portion spicier. After saying this, she hurriedly wanted to go to the kitchen, but suddenly her collar was grabbed by a large hand. Tuang Yi almost instinctively threw him over her shoulder, only stopping when she realized it was Shiyu. Shiyu picked up the microphone and helped her reattach it. The two stood too close. Tuang Yi could even feel the moist vapor emanating from his body. She uncomfortably averted her gaze, even starting to avoid direct eye contact. Tuong Yi wanted to say thank you, but felt it was polite to look at the other person's face when greeting. So she lifted her head slightly, but unknowingly Shi Yu had also lowered his head. Following his movement, Tuong Yi's lips lightly brushed against his collarbone. Her body immediately stiffened, her mind went blank, so she didn't notice that at the same time as her action, Shi Yu's ears had silently turned red. It wasn't until more than 10 seconds later that Tuong Yi came to her senses, stepped back a few steps, and repeatedly apologized. How could she kiss him? How could she kiss her little tete? Shi Yu put on an innocent and aggrieved face. You kissed me. No girl has ever kissed me before. Tuong Yi immediately felt a strong sense of guilt. Shi Yu tried to squeeze out a smile again. But you don't need to mind. This was unintentional. I'm at fault, too. The more gently Shi Yu spoke, the more self-reproachful Tuong Yi felt. How could he not mind? Completely unaware that she had successfully fallen into the movie Emperor's trap. Senior, in the future if you want to eat anything, just say so. I'll definitely make it for you. Really, is this considered compensation? Tuong Yi smiled awkwardly. This is what I should do. She felt guilty towards her little tete. She could only use this method to make amends. Watching Tuong Yi turn and leave, the corner of Shi Yu's mouth curled up. Teasing kids was quite interesting. Bach Nuok Nuok, feeling wronged, was unwilling to leave in such a humiliating manner, so she brought her boyfriend to support her. At this time, Tuong Yi was having a headache over the little rabbit. Tet wanted to eat little rabbit, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. At this moment, loud arguing voices came from outside, shouting for Tuong Yi to come out. The person who arrived was Teo Duong, Tuong Yi's ex-boyfriend. Tuong Yi heard the commotion and wiped her hands before leaving the kitchen. As soon as Teo Duong saw Tuong Yi, he was immediately stunned. He discovered that Tuong Yi, after leaving him, had become more beautiful. Seeing this, Bash Nuok Nuok immediately clung to the man's arm, declaring her ownership. Only then did Tuong Yi realize that the man Bash Nuok mentioned earlier was him. She remembered, on the first night she returned from time traveling, Tuong Yi had met him. That night, Anam took Tuong Yi back to the dormitory arranged by the company, and they happened to run into a man. Anam winked at her, hinting that the man in front was her boyfriend. However, Teodong brought along the third party to break up with Tuong Yi, and this third party was Bach Nuok Nuok, who later participated in One House, Two People. Tuong Yi directly asked him, "So you're here to demand breakup fees. Is 1 million enough?" Tu Duong immediately became angry. He originally intended to humiliate Tuong Yi, but didn't expect her to use money to slap him in the face. So now chasing here, is it because the money wasn't enough last time? Who wants your dirty money? As soon as he finished speaking, a cold voice came from behind. Who are you being fierce with? Shi Yu also spoke coldly. A reminder, it's best not to shout loudly at a filming location. I'm talking to my girlfriend. What does it have to do with you? Bash Nuok Nuok weakly explained beside him. Ex-girlfriend. Shi Yu immediately narrowed his eyes. Tuong Yi felt a bit embarrassed. If you have something to say, just say it directly. Tu Duong demands Tuong Yi apologize to Bach Nyanya. Your cat bullied her. You also bullied her. I came to support Nuok Nuok. Don't think I don't know. You're just jealous because Nuok Nuok and I are together. That's why you're deliberately targeting her. Fine, then tell me, how did I bully her? You live-streamed in front of so many people, making her lose face, which is equivalent to slapping me in the face. You must sincerely apologize. What if I don't apologize? At this moment, Tuong Yi smiled brightly like a flower, which made Teo Duong's heart explode like fireworks, his words no longer under control. It's okay if you don't apologize. I guess you probably didn't mean it. Bach Nuok Nuok was full of question marks. She brought Teo Duong here to settle scores with Tuong Yi. Now why does it seem like they're the unreasonable ones? Then she saw Teo Duong suddenly push her hand away, moving towards Tuong Yi, looking down at her from above. If you want to come back, I can consider giving you a chance. Fourth brother went mad on the spot. Who the hell are you to have that attitude towards her? Tuong Yi gently raised her hand to signal fourth brother to calm down, then looked at Teo Duong. I think you're so handsome, tall, and have such a good personality. A few words made Teo Duong float up to the sky, thinking this girl must love him to death and back, through heaven and earth. However, next he heard the girl gently ask, so do you know how to kill a rabbit? Do you know how to skin it? Do you know how to clean the internal organs? Everyone immediately had question marks all over their heads. But Toi Tui seemed to understand something and continued, he doesn't know this either. Tsk, tsk. How could Teo Duong bear such provocation? Who says I don't know? It's just killing a rabbit, right? right? Fourth brother immediately pushed him into the kitchen. You said it yourself. Don't come out until you've killed it. Half an hour later, Teo Duong ran out of the kitchen with a pale face, completely forgetting his purpose for coming to find Tuong Yi. Meanwhile, Tuong Yi and Toi Tui looked at each other and smiled, clapping hands in perfect sync. After finishing the rabbit killing process, Tuong Yi started to process the rabbit, preparing to cook. At this time, the live stream also happened to start, with director Lee bringing people to film Tuong Yi cooking. Having accepted the setup of a cooking live stream by now, Tuong Yi first marinated the rabbit meat with spices, then began to stir-fry on high heat with sesame oil, adding other secondary ingredients and gradually thickening the sauce. Even before it left the pot, it made the cameramen salivate continuously. The meal was finally ready, and Tuong Yi called everyone to bring the dishes. Teo Duong, who had been in charge of killing the rabbit, rushed forward first. The observant netizens all noticed that this person was Bash Nuok Nuok's boyfriend. Teo Duong carried the rabbit meat, his mouth watering. I didn't know Tuong Yi had this skill. I'll have to eat 2 more bowls of rice later. Bash Nuok Nuok had already sat down at the table. She didn't get to taste it last time, so this time she had to eat a bit more. Unexpectedly, when Tuong Yi saw Teo Duong, she showed a puzzled expression. Mr. Teo, you haven't left yet. I didn't say I would keep you for dinner. Teo Duong's face immediately turned red. How disrespectful. Then Tuong Yi was seen pushing a diet meal in front of Bah Nanya. Tonight's dishes are high in calories, not suitable for you who are trying to lose weight. At this point, netizens also realized that Tuong Yi seemed to be intentionally targeting Teo Duong and Bash Nuok Nuok, and they rushed to defend him. Teo Duong began to think that Tuong Yi was targeting them like this because he had abandoned her, that he had hurt Tuong Yi's heart. So he took the initiative to apologize, admitting that he shouldn't have cheated, shouldn't have been with Bash Nyanya. Tuong Yi looked at him in disbelief. Is this something that can be said during a live stream? Bak Nuok Nuok now also spoke up to interrupt Teo Duong. Had he gone crazy? Wasn't this publicly revealing the truth that she was the third party? However, Teo Duong suddenly turned on Bash Nyanya, accusing Bash Nuok Nuok of seducing him, causing him to betray Tuong Yi, destroying their relationship. You should sincerely apologize to Tuong Yi. Bash Nuok Nuok's tears immediately fell. This is a live stream, Teo Duong. The words Teo Duong said would ruin her. The netizens watching the screen didn't expect that just by watching a live stream, they would get to see such big drama. Then Teo Duong was seen looking at Tuong Yi with a serious expression, calling Tuong Yi darling, hoping that Tuong Yi could give him another chance, a chance to start over. Tuong Yi felt speechless. It wasn't her who liked Teo Duong, but the time-traveling girl who once occupied her body. Fourth brother was the first who couldn't contain his emotions. Who are you? Are you worthy of calling her darling? I'm not worthy, are you? Who are you to interfere in our business? Who am I? I'm her brother, her real brother. Brother, you think you're the key. Are you worthy? Are you worthy of Tuong Yi? Tuong Yi immediately stepped forward to cover fourth brother's mouth, reminding him that swearing would get the live stream locked. Don't mind him. He's not worth getting angry over, and certainly not worth you taking action. Fourth brother was secretly delighted. His sister called him brother again, and twice at that. Then, Tuong Yi clapped twice, and 2 men wearing sunglasses immediately appeared, moving together to restrain Teo Duong. Teo Duong tried to struggle, but faced with these 2 big guys, he simply couldn't break free. But before being dragged away, Teo Duong didn't forget to make one last attempt. Let me eat a bite before you decide. I was the one who killed that rabbit after all. The scumbag man turned on the third party who seduced him for a bite to eat, while the third party pushed back on the scumbag man, crying and complaining about being deceived by him. Tuong Yi didn't want to pursue the matter of stealing someone's man, but she had checked the surveillance camera, discovering that Bach Nuok Nuok was the one who kicked Teo Nao Fu first. Teo Nao Fu, seeing that it was finally vindicated, happily cuddled up to Tuong Yi. Tuong Yi hugged Teo Nao Fu comfortingly. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt. We'll eat something delicious later. The netizens were shocked when they saw the truth, never expecting that Bach Nuok Nuok, who seemed gentle in front of everyone, would mistreat small animals. Bach Nuok Nuok was still arguing, saying that the cat had scratched her too. It was clearly the cat's fault. She only kicked the stray cat once. Why make such a big deal out of it? She looked at Shi Yu with pleading eyes. After all, Shi Yu was from the same company as her, and he often took care of juniors. Surely he wouldn't abandon her, right? However, Shi Yu's reaction was beyond her expectations. He also coldly demanded her to apologize. It's just a cat. Shi Yu's tone became icy. Did you really just kick the cat? The surveillance cameras at the rabbit farm are equipped with audio devices. As soon as Bosh Nuok Nuok heard this, cold sweat immediately broke out. If the truth was exposed, her image would be completely ruined. Reluctantly, Bosh Nuok Nuok bowed her head to apologize and promised to withdraw from the show, but still positioned herself as the victim. Since she had already apologized, the content of the surveillance camera probably wouldn't be made public. Now she just hoped the director could step in to smooth things over. After all, she was a guest on the show. Unexpectedly, Director Lee cheerfully waved at her. Then you go slowly. We won't see you off. This scene completely shattered Bosh Nuok Nuok's mental state, and she left the film crew crying. After sending off the two eyesores, everyone started to enjoy dinner. Little Brain poked its head out from Fourth Brother's arms. It also smelled the aroma of rabbit meat and reached its paw towards the plate. Tuongyi warned Fourth Brother, Little Brain can't eat spicy food. Don't let it eat. Fourth Brother immediately found himself in a dilemma. He had to listen to his sister, but couldn't resist Little Brain's coquettish behavior. In the end, he helplessly picked up Little Brain and brought it to Thoi Tui. Sorry, Brother Thoi. This difficult problem is for you to solve. Thoi Tui took the squirming Little Brain, holding it up in front of him. If you eat secretly, I will kiss you, understand? Little Brain understood and looked at the piece of rabbit meat swaying in front of its eyes, not daring to open its mouth. This stinky man is so evil. Fourth Brother watched Thoi Tui and Little Brain interact, sighing that he couldn't compare. The dinner ended in a pleasant and relaxed atmosphere. Tuongyi was about to clear the dishes when Fourth Brother stopped her. You sit here quietly for me? Our family doesn't have a rule that girls wash dishes. Tuongyi was very happy to hear this, repeatedly praising her brother for being thoughtful. Praised, Fourth Brother proudly carried the dishes to the kitchen. Unexpectedly, netizens in front of the screen argued loudly about who should wash the dishes until Fourth Brother entered the kitchen and put the dishes into the dishwasher. The debate about who should wash the dishes finally subsided. Everyone suddenly realized why the film crew didn't shoot the dishwashing scene. It turns out they use a dishwasher, and people's topics strangely shifted to dishwashers, because even Tuongyi's family was using one, so it must be a product worth recommending. Therefore, netizens with needs began to place orders in droves. Fourth Brother sneaked into Little Brain's room, picked up Little Tiger, and buried his face in its soft fur. And the camera on the wall recorded this entire scene. To refuse Little Brain's request for rabbit meat, Fourth Brother threw Little Brain to Thoi Tui. Now, to be forgiven by Little Brain, he could only sneak into Little Brain's room and take out dried fish to apologize. Tio Nao Fu was quickly tempted by the dried fish and forgave him. However, Fourth Brother suddenly looked around, muttering softly, "Surely no one saw me, right?" Then he picked up Tio Nao Fu and buried his face in its soft fur. This action shocked everyone watching the surveillance screen, their eyes and mouths wide open, never expecting that cold-faced big shot to show such an infatuated expression with a cat. Fourth Brother seemed to have forgotten that there were surveillance cameras in the house. Tio Nao Fu hadn't yet recovered from the sudden close contact when it saw Fourth Brother's face suddenly move closer. Then it received a loud kiss on its head. Tio Nao Fu had only one thought: I'm no longer pure. It had sacrificed too much for these two siblings to reconcile. Afterwards, Fourth Brother began to say goodbye, preparing to return for the competition. He promised that, when he earned prize money, he would come back to buy food for Tio Nao Fu. Tio Nao Fu, who was struggling, immediately changed its attitude upon hearing the word food, actively moving closer to rub against Fourth Brother. Then you must come back soon, okay? After packing up, Fourth Brother said goodbye to Tuongyi. This scene made him recall the last time Tuongyi saw him off, which was already last year. At that time, Tuongyi smiled brightly, waiting for Fourth Brother to return, promising to make delicious food for him. But when he came back again, he discovered that Tuongyi was no longer the same as before. This made Fourth Brother suddenly become tense, worried that after he left, his sister would have her soul changed again. Although he didn't know how the time travel worked, Tuongyi could now assure him that she wouldn't leave again. He seriously warned Tuongyi that if she deceived him again, he would really stop caring about her. Hearing this, Tuongyi took the initiative to hug Fourth Brother, assuring him that she wouldn't deceive him again. As the two continued to talk, Shiyu stood silently beside them. His eyes revealed a hint of sadness. At this moment, Fourth Brother instructed Brother Shi, "I'm leaving my sister to you. Please take care of her for me." Shiyu gave a faint smile. Of course. After seeing Fourth Brother off, Shiyu suddenly spoke. "The moon is beautiful tonight." Tuongyi looked at the man so close to her, still feeling that he was truly moving. She also turned to look at the moon. "Yes, the stars are very beautiful too." Shiyu suddenly changed the subject. So want to drink some wine? Sure, the rice wine brewed last year is just right to drink now. How about I make some snacks to go with it? The two went to prepare together, but the most excited were certainly director Lee and the others, because there would be delicious food again. However, Shiyu's fans sensitively noticed that Shiyu's attitude towards Tuangyi was excessively good. Could it be that he had feelings for Tuangyi? The barbecue sizzled. Tuangyi picked up all the cooked pork belly for Shiyu. Shiyu rested his chin on his hand, suddenly asking, I remember you hated pork belly the most. Tuangyi smiled awkwardly. Senior, your memory is really good. They had eaten together only a handful of times, yet he remembered her preferences so clearly. That's because you're still as picky as when you were little, Tuangyi explained. I've grown up now. I'm not picky anymore. However, Shiyu looked doubtful, because after growing up, I never bought the foods you disliked. This reason was indeed hard to argue against. At this moment, Shiyu poured another cup of wine and clinked glasses with Tuangyi. This image looked so much like a couple that many netizens who like to gossip teased. Looking like this, you two make quite a good match. After filming for quite a while, director Lee announced the end of the live stream. After eating and drinking their fill, everyone gradually dispersed. Tuangyi had drunk a bit too much. Her face was flushed. After draining the last cup, she, slightly tipsy, coquettishly held up the empty wine bottle towards Shiyu, signaling it was empty, meaning he should make some more. Shiyu looked at her with indulgence. He had long discovered that Tuangyi was a little wine lover. A few years ago, Shiyu and Tuangyi had a small gathering, and Tuangyi was there too. Tuangyi, slightly drunk, hugged a carrot-shaped stuffed animal, secretly checked in, and when no one was around, she said, Brother, you're so handsome. Then she shyly buried her face in the stuffed animal. But soon, she couldn't help but secretly lift her head again, saying, I like you a lot. I like you so much. Shiyu was curious. Do you really like me, little one? You're not of age yet. If you fall in love with me too early, your brothers and younger uncle will come to beat me up. Tuangyi asked back, Can't minors like someone? So when I grow up, can I like you? Shiyu wasn't sure if Tuangyi still remembered that conversation, but Tuangyi was grown up now. At this moment, Tuangyi was drunk with blurry eyes. What happened next? Shouldn't you compliment me more, saying I'm very sensible, something like that. Shiyu felt a bit helpless. You really still don't understand anything. Although he didn't quite understand Tuangyi's meaning, he just went along with whatever Tuangyi said. As they were going back to their rooms, Tuangyi suddenly called Shiyu back. Tomorrow night, she was planning to go out, attending the year-end party of Fienka Company. I'll prepare dinner in advance and put it in the fridge. You can just heat it up when you want to eat. Or I'll try to come back early to cook. As she spoke, she secretly complained, It's just going out once. Why does it feel like I'm guilty towards my son? After hearing this, Shiyu just smiled lightly and replied, Okay, I'll wait for you to come back. Just because of one barbecue party, the number of fans shipping Shiyu and Tuangyi suddenly increased dramatically. Some fans had edited clips of their interactions in the show, and these videos, as they spread online, gradually climbed up the hot search rankings. Director Lee, unaware of anything, was in high spirits early in the morning, seeing the beautiful weather, and prepared to go for a jog. Turning his head, he saw Tuangyi practicing sword in the small garden. Noticing her movements were skilled. Clearly, she was a sword master. Tuangyi at this time also noticed Director Lee and stopped to greet him. Tuangyi, are you practicing? Tuangyi casually performed a flowery sword move, humbly replied, Just exercising a bit, staying healthy. However, looking at Tuangyi's sword technique, Director Lee couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. If Tuangyi were to swing her sword, he feared his whole body would be gone. So he immediately changed his tone and called Tuangyi master. Tuangyi noticed Director Lee's expression wasn't right. Are you sick? Do you need me to check your pulse? Master, you know medicine too. Don't call me Director Lee. Just call me Xiao Li. Tuangyi was confused again. Director Lee, are you all right? Why are you calling me master? Shiyu, who was passing by, chimed in. Don't mind him. He's just a timid hamster, easily startled. Director Lee laughed awkwardly. At this moment, a staff member rushed over. Director Lee, something's wrong. Seeing Tuangyi and Shiyu were also present, he proceeded to explain what happened. Miss Tuangyi and Mr. Shi are trending on hot search. Not sure where the issue occurred, but the trending topic is Shi Film Emperor is not not good enough. Tuang Yi and director Lee looked at Shiyu in disbelief. How could Shi Film Emperor not be good enough? Before Shiyu could speak, his phone rang. It turned out to be Shiyu's agent, who saw the hot search and rushed over. Anam stared at Shiyu's agent, his eyes showing admiration. Is this the aura of a golden agent? He looks so high class, even more than a domineering CEO. Plus, his hair is so thick. As expected of Anam, his focus is always different. Right, isn't Fianca's year-end party at 6 p.m.? Anam, why are you here so early? Anam patted Tuang Yi regretfully. Can't you have some self-awareness as a female celebrity? That vixen, who's your mortal enemy, started fasting 3 days ago and has already begun putting on makeup. Sorry, I don't understand the entertainment industry. However, to not put Anam in a difficult position, Tuang Yi chose to cooperate with him. But she had to prepare lunchboxes for Shiyu and Xiao Naofu first. On the other side, Xuanbai held up his phone, letting Shiyu see the hot search himself. Look at how public opinion has fermented. Shiyu looked at the phone without saying anything, but unexpectedly liked the video the next second. Hey, what are you doing? Why did you like it? Shiyu returned the phone, commenting, well written, interesting, good style, and imaginative. So what do you really think? Is it just for fun, or are you serious? Let me arrange your next work. Shiyu showed an innocent face. That depends on her. So the netizens' speculation in the post is true. You're pursuing that young girl, Shiyu replied. Not yet. Tishuanbai sighed in relief, wiping his sweat. It's good you're not pursuing her. You scared me to death. Unexpectedly, Shiyu's next sentence was, it's not time yet. Tishuanbai was so angry he could spit blood. I beg you, don't speak in such a fragmented way. The topic of Thoyande always keeping himself clean didn't make it to the hot search list. Tishuanbach learned about this and rushed to the one house, two people film set to consult Thoitui's public relations team. But unexpectedly, Thoitui liked the video posted by netizens. It seems to be true. Tishuanbach reminded him, if you're determined, you must take proper measures. Unless you plan to participate in the Where Are We Going, Dad show 3 years from now. After their conversation, they happened to meet Tuang Yi, giving Anam bags of various sizes filled with items. As soon as Anam saw Tishuanbach, he became flustered. How coincidental to meet Tishuanbach like this. Today he was dressed like a street vendor. Truly, without comparison, there is no sorrow. However, when Tishuanbach looked at Anam, his face showed envy. Tuang Yi actually gave him so many delicious foods, he wanted some too. At this moment, Tuang Yi spoke up. Senior, I've finished making the lunchboxes. Take care of yourself and also take care of little brain. Okay. All right, you be careful too. Don't drink carelessly, Tuang Yi retorted. I'll be fine. Well, it seems he's not in a position to say this. After all, she had once gotten drunk and slept on Thoitui, so she could only use a smile to hide her embarrassment, then said goodbye and ran off. Thoitui and Little Brain waved goodbye to Tuang Yi together. But when Tuang Yi's figure disappeared from sight, Little Brain immediately changed its attitude, proudly taking small steps, jumping onto the sofa in front of Thoitui. It looked at Thoitui with disdain. Ha ha ha, from now on, this is my territory. Thoitui stepped forward and picked it up. No one's backing you up anymore. Who are you trying to intimidate? Little Brain struggled in his hands, finally realizing this stinky man was like a villain. You think this tiger is afraid of you? Look at my tiger claws. After a struggle, Thoitui remained unharmed. Thoitui threatened it. Now it's just you and me. If a kitten doesn't behave, no one will know if it gets cooked. Little Brain was scared by his words. Wasn't it the most pampered tiger in the house? So you have to be good, understand? Xiao Naofu guiltily buried its head in Shiyu's chest. I know. I'll be good. Don't stew me. I'll endure it for now. The green hills are still there. No worry about firewood. Wait till Tuang Yi comes back. See if I don't scratch you to death. Then Shiyu mumbled, I heard kittens can be neutered at 6 months. Wonder how old Xiao Naofu is. As soon as Xiao Naofu heard this, its fur stood on end immediately. Although it couldn't speak, its demeanor suggested it was cursing terribly. Shiyu quickly held Xiao Naofu back as it lunged to scratch him. Looks like I wasn't wrong. Xiao Naofu can understand human speech. But to be tested so easily, it doesn't seem very smart. At most, it has the intelligence of a child. Tuang Yi left for the year-end party, while director Lee felt confused about Shiyu's evening livestream plan. He suggested, Shiyu, why don't you go cook too? Nothing complicated, just make noodles. Shiyu, while petting the cat, declined, not interested. Then what do you plan to do? Pet the cat, watch the livestream, or I'll livestream and you watch. You were so cooperative before. Why are you rebelling as soon as Tuang Yi leaves? If you dare to watch the livestream, I dare to broadcast it. Shiyu ignored him, turned to take 2 photos of Xiao Naofu with his phone, and sent them to Tuang Yi, who had finished her makeup. Anam saw Tuang Yi intently looking at her phone and curiously approached. asking who she was contacting. Discovering it was Yu, Anam was extremely surprised. Isn't he famous for being unapproachable? How are you so close with Film Emperor? Not at all. I find the senior's personality very good and quite approachable. Anam immediately became confused. Are we talking about the same person? Have all the industry gossip I've been following for years been useless? But very quickly, Anam's attention was drawn to Tuangni's appearance. Darling, you look so beautiful today. This dress looks amazing on you. That's because I chose well. Anam couldn't help but take out his phone. I have to see if the media has posted photos of your look. He dared to assert that tonight, no one could be more beautiful than Tuangni. Unexpectedly, after scrolling for a while, Anam's expression became serious. It turns out someone said the dress he chose for Tuangni was ugly. It's obvious this is Tan Van Yen's behind-the-scenes trick. Darling, you consider her a close friend. Treat her so well. How can she treat you like this? Is Tan Van Yen the sister Van Yen that Non Nai mentioned? Were you and her really close before? Of course, because she told me that in the entertainment industry, those who build close friendships aren't real friends. So you two never showed you were friends in front of others. But behind the scenes, you followed everything she said. Anam seemed invigorated. Darling, don't be sad. I'll go scold them now. Without a social beating, I think those keyboard warriors don't know how to respect others. As a result, half an hour later, Anam, who wanted to beat others, was instead beaten badly by netizens, crying miserably. Seeing this, Tuangni quickly consoled him. Don't be sad. Come to my house for hot pot after tonight's event. Hearing this, Anam immediately cheered up. Okay, I want to eat lamb rolls. Then I'll tell Uncle Vuong to slaughter a young lamb in advance. Anam licked his lips. Being so polite is too cruel, really looking forward to the party ending soon. Anam saw it was almost time, so he told Tuangni to wait in the room while he went out to arrange the car. At this moment, she heard two people talking outside. A female voice was bluntly questioning Jiang Than. Don't you know you're prone to swelling? With a face that puffy, who would like you? Then, a clear but dejected male voice was heard apologizing. Is this Jiang Than and his agent? What she said could be considered verbal abuse. Outside, the agent scolded him and left, followed by the sound of sobbing. Suddenly, a loud noise rang out, like something heavy falling to the ground. Tuangni originally didn't want to interfere in others' affairs, but worried something unexpected might happen, so she decisively opened the door to check. She saw Jiang Than fallen on the ground, unconscious. There were rumors outside that Fienka Entertainment had a female demon who specialized in handling the young meat in the company. Anyone who stayed alone with her would have rumors flying everywhere the next day. Seeing Jiang Than had fainted, cold sweat breaking out, Tuangni immediately stepped forward to check his pulse. Fortunately, the situation wasn't too serious, just hypoglycemia. Eating a candy would help him recover. Jiang Than slowly opened his eyes, seeing the girl in front of him surrounded by a cluster of twinkling starlight, calmly and serenely looking at him. Jiang Than tried to prop himself up, thanking Tuangni. I just checked your pulse. You have hypoglycemia. Do you need to rest in my makeup room? With only you there, I won't go in. Jiang Than thanked Tuangni again but declined her offer. Seeing this, Tuangni didn't insist, only reminding Jiang Than to take care of himself. This wasn't strange. Jiang Than must know his bad reputation, so keeping distance was best. But unexpectedly, Jiang Than called her, asking for candy. Tuangni took a few more candies from her bag and gave them to him. Jiang Than looked at the candies in his hand, thinking, Tuangni doesn't seem to be like the rumors. Hotel entrance. The red carpet show of Fienka Entertainment hadn't started yet, but the live broadcast was already on. Anam watched the live stream screen while chatting with Tuangni. Hythat's group fans are arguing with Jiang Than's solo fans again. Jiang Than? Isn't he the boy who was just scolded by his manager at the door, then asked me for candy? Anam just remembered that Tuangni had lost her memory, hurriedly explaining to her. He's the visual of the boy group C7 debuted by the company. Because he participated in a popular idol drama, his popularity is even higher than all the other members combined. The company announced he would have solo activities without leaving the group. This has caused controversy between group fans and Jiang Than's solo fans. The fan dispute has even affected the relationship between members. Jiang Than is almost isolated by other members, so that's why no wonder he looked so sad then. Anam showed the live stream to Tuangni. These are C7. Jiang Than isn't among them. Then I guess he'll appear with Tan Van Yen. After all, they're both regular guests on the Trembling Show. On the screen, scene, the members of the boy group C7 were walking on the red carpet. Jang Than indeed wasn't present. Solo fans and group fans immediately engaged in fierce arguments, which could be described as a bloodbath. Then, Tan Vanyen stepped onto the red carpet, but Anam noticed Jang Than didn't appear with her. Tan Vanyen's appearance caused a frenzy among the media, camera flashes constantly flickering, fans' screams echoing everywhere. On the live stream screen, the number of comments increased significantly, most of them praising Tan Vanyen, showing her appeal and popularity. Meanwhile, in the two people, one home live stream room, Shiyu was teasing Xiao Naofu in front of the tablet. He held Xiao Naofu's favorite dried fish, waving it in front of its face, teasing, "If you want to eat, shake hands." Xiao Naofu didn't want to pay attention to him. Was he treating it like a dog to tease? Seeing the dried fish almost reach its mouth only to be taken away by Shiyu, Xiao Naofu felt sad and helpless, but still really wanted to eat. It reluctantly extended its small paw, lightly touching Shiyu's palm for show. Director Lee reminded from the side, "Brother Shi, did you forget your live streaming?" At this moment, netizens discovered that the tablet on the table was displaying the live broadcast of Fienka Entertainment's annual festival. The little cat, for the sake of its beloved dried fish, had to submit and act coy with Shiyu. However, Shiyu made an even more outrageous request. "Bark once? Let's hear it. I'll reward you with double the dried fish. Although I'm not human, you're truly a dog." At this point, Director Lee reminded Shiyu, "Miss Tuangyi is out. Stop teasing the cat. Investing in our beautiful sister won't be a loss." Fans mocked Director Lee for secretly advertising, saying Shiyu wouldn't fall for it. Unexpectedly, Shiyu immediately put Xiao Naofu aside and started watching the live stream silently. As soon as Anam got out of the car, he carefully shielded Tuangyi with a black umbrella. Fienka Entertainment had clearly anticipated this. Photographers rushed up to take close-ups of Tuangyi, wanting to see how embarrassed she would be. But the next second, the black umbrella was raised, revealing Tuangyi's small, clean, and bright face. This was completely opposite to her previous heavy makeup image. Everyone at the scene was momentarily stunned. With a few days of live streaming experience, Tuangyi was very comfortable in front of the camera, her red lips slightly curled, a smile blooming. Shiyu looked at the girl in the live stream, admiring. The little sister is indeed very pretty. Jang Tan had just gotten out of the car, striding straight towards Tuangyi, but when he reached her, he bent down to lift her dress, saying, "Sister, be careful." Tuangyi only then discovered that there was a selfie stick lying horizontally on the path ahead, unsure if it was dropped by a fan or intentionally placed. If she had carelessly tripped, she might have become the biggest joke of the night. Tuangyi tilted her head slightly, with a smile in her eyes. "Thank you, little brother." This scene caused the previously silent venue to suddenly be overwhelmed by screams. Jang Than only then realized the awkwardness. His previous action might cause Tuangyi to be scolded. His mind quickly worked, proactively extending his hand, offering to walk the red carpet with Tuangyi. If he took the initiative, perhaps people would only scold him alone. Tuangyi felt it was fine. Moreover, she didn't dislike Jang Than, so she naturally took his arm. The combination of a handsome man and a beautiful woman indeed had too much destructive power. The venue was immediately filled with the sound of clicking cameras. At this moment, Shiyu also made a cracking sound, crushing the dried fish he was using to feed Xiao Naofu. Entering the hall of Fienka's annual festival, Tuangyi, momentarily bored, flipped through the program. At this time, she heard Tan Vanyen's voice from behind. "Darling, I sent you so many messages. Why didn't you reply to any of them? I heard you lost your memory. I was really worried about you." Tuangyi smiled politely. "I've changed back to my old social media account." It turned out that the person who previously occupied her body had registered a new social media account, which Tuangyi discarded after returning. Moreover, she didn't believe Tan Vanyen would worry about her. After all, if they were real close friends, she would have come to find her when the incident happened, not pretend to care afterwards. Tan Vanyen suddenly grabbed Tuangyi's hand tightly. It turned out that the person who previously occupied her body had registered a new social media account, which Tuangyi discarded after returning. Moreover, she didn't believe Tan Vanyen would worry about her. After all, if they were real close friends, she would have come to find her when the incident happened, not pretend to care afterwards. Tan Vanyen suddenly grabbed Tuangyi's hand tightly. Then she used her phone to scan Tan Vanyen's QR code. Unexpectedly, at this moment, Anam sent a message, and it was a cry for help. Tuang Yi immediately put away her phone, apologizing to Tan Venyen. Sorry, I need to go for a moment. Without waiting for Tan Venyen to speak, she ran off to find A Nam. Tan Venyen angrily gritted her teeth, realizing that Tuang Yi had truly changed. This time it would be difficult to handle. Tuang Yi continued reading A Nam's message, showing a helpless expression. It turned out that his so-called life-saving situation was simply forgetting to bring toilet paper. Anam truly lived up to his reputation as the company's most foolish manager. Indeed, the foolish manager was online asking for help, making Tuang Yi, a girl, run to the men's restroom to deliver toilet paper. Tuang Yi originally planned to ask Jiang Tan for help, but unexpectedly, Jiang Tan wasn't around. With no other choice, she had to go herself. Luckily, she met a janitor at the restroom entrance, which helped solve the problem. Tuang Yi didn't return to the hall, but ran to the balcony in front of the restroom to wait for A Nam. At this moment, she heard the sound of high heels approaching, stopping right on the balcony. Due to the green plants serving as a partition, the newcomer didn't notice Tuang Yi in the corner and immediately scolded the young man opposite. Now your wings have hardened. You're not listening anymore, are you? I told you to walk the red carpet with Tan Van Yen, but you went off on your own to lift the dress for that slut. Why are you so meddlesome? Without you, could she have fallen to death or become crippled? Jiang Tan timidly replied, Sister Lin, please don't talk about her like that. Why can't I say it? What's so great about her compared to Tan Van Yen? Think about it. What qualifications does she have to participate in an entertainment show with Time Emperor? Maybe she slept with everyone up and down already. Tuang Yi sighed softly, wondering if she should have checked her horoscope today for gossip, especially gossip involving herself. The fear accumulated over time finally caused Jiang Tan to explode, his voice trembling as he retorted, not speaking ill of others behind their backs is the minimum courtesy. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a slap landed straight on his face. How dare you speak to me like that? Have you forgotten who you are? Without me, you're nothing. I can lift you to the top, and I can also make you fall into the mud. Jiang Tan clenched his fists, habitually holding back and saying nothing more. Tuang Yi, hearing this, couldn't bear it anymore and stood up, intending to rescue Jiang Tan. However, she heard Anam's angry voice. You gossiping woman. Then, without warning, a glob of spit flew straight into Sister Lin's face. Sister Lin immediately screamed. Tuang Yi, still unnoticed in the corner, was very surprised. This might be the so-called physical attack in legends. Anam put his hands on his hips, hair standing on end. Let me tell you, loudmouth, if you dare say one more bad word about our sweetheart, I'll spit you to death. I might not outspit netizens, but I can surely outspit you. Sister Lin's face changed, quickly denying everything. Who am I scolding? Do you have any evidence? Using violence against colleagues? I'll go find the boss to fire you right now. Oh my, shameless, how dare you falsely accuse me? Jiang Tan spoke up from behind to mediate. Sister Lin, let it go. He's just momentarily angry. Sister Lin glanced contemptuously. A snail can't even carry its own shell, yet wants to be a steak for moss. Fine, then I'll also go report. Being a manager yet daring to hit an artist, Jiang Tan's face is my evidence. Sister Lin sneered disdainfully. You think Jiang Tan will stand on your side? Anam looked towards Jiang Tan, only to see the young man embarrassedly avoiding his gaze. Anam immediately understood. This probably wasn't the first time Jiang Tan had been hit. Although he wasn't clear how Sister Lin had gotten a hold on Jiang Tan, he didn't expect this woman to be so shameless. Sister Lin, triumphant, made a demand to Anam. How about you kneel down for me? I might consider letting you off. Anam showed a bit of hesitation, muttering softly, kneel down. The corner of Sister Lin's mouth curled up. In fact, even if Anam knelt down for her, she would still go report him. Now she was just toying with him. But her smile didn't last long. Anam suddenly lunged forward, grabbing Sister Lin's hair. How about I kneel on your mother's ashes? Would that do? Anam yanked Sister Lin's hair hard. In an instant, the verbal argument turned into a physical conflict. Sister Lin, at a disadvantage, tried to get Jiang Tan to help. But Jiang Tan had never experienced such a situation and was stunned. Anam was also seeing red. You bully me, can't call for help, can you? Just then, a soft, sweet voice rang out. Anam, this voice sounds just like our sweetheart. Tuang Yi stood to the side, staring at the two messy heads in front of her. Sister Lin quickly tattled. Tuang Yi, your manager assaulted me. If this gets exposed by the media, you can forget about having a career in entertainment. She had heard Tuang Yi's family was very rich. This was a perfect opportunity to extort some money. However, Tuang Yi curved her eyes. Do you have any evidence, or do you want to rely on Jiang Tan? Jiang Tan immediately understood and hurriedly said, I didn't see anything. Sister Lin trembled with anger, criticizing Jiang Tan. You dare treat me like this. At this moment, a weak electric sound with static noise rang out, followed by the voice from the previous conversation, which was exactly what Sister Lin had said. Tuangyi smiled. I just happened to record it, surprised. Anam immediately seized the opportunity. With this to show the boss, let's see how you can still be Jiang Tan's manager. No, why give it to the boss? Wouldn't it be better to let the fans hear it? If fans knew that their beloved idol not only has to endure verbal abuse all the time, but also gets beaten if displeased, how angry do you think they'd be? You must understand better than I do about cyberbullying and personal information of fan circles. Let me guess, what have you been threatening Jiang Tan with? Future teammates. Now you want to taste what it's like to be threatened back. If I were him, I wouldn't let you off easily. I'd keep you close and torment you slowly. Sister Lin was shaking like a leaf, starting to cry and beg for forgiveness. She admitted her fault and begged Tuangyi to delete the recording, saying she'd do anything. Tuangyi was unmoved, pointing out that she was begging the wrong person. Sister Lin suddenly realized, kneeling before Jiang Tan, begging him to forgive her. Jiang Tan showed a complex expression, a glimmer of struggle flashing in his eyes. Sister Lin carefully probed, how about deleting the recording first? Everything can be easily negotiated then. Seeing this, Anam wanted to advise Jiang Tan not to trust Sister Lin, but was stopped by Tuangyi. Let Jiang Tan decide for himself. Tuangyi's words were like a spring thunder awakening him. Jiang Tan's eyes became determined. Sister Lin still wanted to continue, trying to use this opportunity to make Jiang Tan delete the recording. Jiang Tan's eyes were red. I said, get out now. All right, I'm leaving. I won't stay here to bother you anymore. After Sister Lin left, Jiang Tan felt drained and leaned against the wall. He was still too weak, not even daring to make any decision. Tuangyi patted his head, comforting. I'll give you the recording. You handle it yourself. You can give it to the boss or threaten her. Choose whichever is most beneficial. You're very kind-hearted, but when you need to have your own opinion, you must have it. That's how you can protect yourself well, you know. A few words enlightened Jiang Tan, and he finally smiled. Oh, right. I've seen the program list. Don't you still have a performance? Go prepare quickly. The young boy's big wet eyes were full of expectation. Will you come to watch us perform? At the live stream venue, a new situation arose. The performance originally by all C7 members was changed to Jiang Tan's solo act. To prepare for this stage performance, C7 members had practiced for a long time, but now everyone's efforts were casually discarded, with equipment failure given as a perfunctory explanation. All C7 members looked at Jiang Tan with unfriendly eyes, wondering if they were just stepping stones for him. In the live stream room, Jiang Tan's solo fans and group fans were arguing loudly. The team leader even sarcastically told Jiang Tan to hurry up and perform. This situation wasn't new. Everyone was used to it. However, Jiang Tan changed his usual silence, asking everyone to go on stage together. We are a team. Even if we sing a cappella, I believe we can do it. The team leader was momentarily stunned, finding it strange that the usually obedient Jiang Tan would say such words. This united attitude ignited the fighting spirit of the whole group. Even singing a cappella, they could use beatboxing for rhythm. Although the stage effect would be poor, they couldn't easily give up. While the boys were still discussing how to improve the stage effect, they heard the sound of high heels clicking. I heard there's equipment trouble. Need any help? Jiang Tan saw it was Tuangyi, feeling both happy and nervous, instantly turning into a big puppy. At this moment, the host received instructions from the director. After negotiation, C7 would perform their theme song Focus. Following the host's announcement, the stage lights suddenly came on, and the 7 boys were in position. Seeing this long-awaited combined stage, group fans were so excited their eyes welled up with tears. Then the electric guitar intro sounded, its sharp yet not piercing sound immediately capturing everyone's ears. But the electric guitar didn't overpower. When the main vocalist's voice soared high, everyone's attention focused on the 7 boys on stage. After singing a few lines, everyone suddenly realized there was no background music, only live singing. Could it be that everyone's mics were open? At the same time, the formation changed. Each person's dance moves were crisp and clean, even their expressions were flawless. Until the song ended, netizens were still buzzing about C7's performance. The 7 boys held hands, bowed together towards the camera, and said in unison, "Thank you, everyone." Only then did people notice that the electric guitarist in the corner of the stage was Tuangyi, who had helped C7 without needing to be on camera for unknown reasons. When the camera panned to Tuangyi, It caught her looking at Jiang Than and the others, smiling gently. Tuang Yi put down the guitar, picked up her dress preparing to leave, but was surrounded by the 7 boys. Everyone rushed to thank Tuang Yi, praise pouring out like water. Jiang Than at the back stammered for a while before managing to say, "Thank you, sis." The others also became serious, bowing to Tuang Yi together, shouting loudly, "Thank you, sis." Tuang Yi felt helpless. She just didn't want to see the beautiful little brother cry, so she lent a hand. The Fienka Entertainment's year-end party ended successfully, with the video gaining over 20 million views in just over an hour, entering the top searches more than 10 times, attracting a large amount of attention and traffic. Even some fashion bloggers joined in commenting, writing long articles about the young actresses, but it all boiled down to one sentence: Queen Tuang Yi and her servants. At the same time, some industry bigwigs noticed the electric guitar Tuang Yi played, believing her electric guitar skills were no less than her dantam huyen skills. In the villa, Director Lai still felt a bit regretful, deliberately saying to Toi Tui, "Your sister seems very popular with the boys, and she also cares a lot about them." Toi Tui sat calmly on the side, responding nonchalantly, He gave no response to Director Li's words. Just thinking about Tuang Yi's imminent return, Toi Tui's mood became extremely cheerful. The actor Kat Thong Thong immediately went live, tearfully complaining about Toi Tui to Tuang Yi. However, Tuang Yi comforted, "Senior is very good, knows how to take care of cats and cook instant noodles. What kind of fairy tale man is this?" The little cat widened its eyes. "Who are you saying is good?" After the party ended, Tuang Yi didn't immediately return to the villa, but sent a message to Toi Tui, saying that her youngest uncle had invited her for drinks. Toi Tui immediately laughed coldly repeatedly, taking his niece out for drinks late at night. Tuang Feng must be out of his mind. In front of the bar, Tuang Yi called Tuang Feng first, but heard a cold voice from the other end. "Why did Uncle call her here? How disappointing." Tuang Yi immediately recognized it as the voice of her third brother, Tuang Tiao Qi. It was all the fault of the time traveler. Now her brothers all hated her. Tuang Feng defended Tuang Yi. "How can you talk to your sister like that? Tuang Yi heard you're back in the country. She must be so happy." Tuang Tiao Qi was not appreciative. "She's happy. She's probably eager to see me make a fool of myself." He had spent years preparing for his personal fashion show, but that woman leaked the draft, leading to his work being copied, and finally, the show had to be cancelled at the last minute. After that, Tuang Qi exhausted his creative inspiration and until now hasn't been able to design new works, being mocked by the fashion world as washed up. "So you think I want to see her?" Tuang Feng felt a headache about this. Tuang Yi was indeed reckless last year, but she's different now. If you don't believe me, ask Tuang O. He has the most right to speak. I'll call him now. Unexpectedly, calling the gaming base, he was informed that Tuang O was locking himself in his room. It turned out that after returning from recording the variety show, knowing that his secret cat petting was watched by millions of netizens, he had locked himself in the training room for days. Tuang Feng laughed awkwardly. "Although we can't contact Tuang O, I can guarantee that Tuang Yi has really changed. She even cooks for me. It's very delicious, very delicious." Hearing the words cooking, Tuang Qi immediately softened. Tuang Qi finally came to his senses, then let her in. "But little sister said she wouldn't bother you. She's already gone." Tuang Yi dragged her tired body back to the villa. It was already late at night. He must be asleep by now, right? However, when she looked up, the living room light was still bright. Toi Tui was sitting in the living room quietly reading a book. Tuang Yi's heart involuntarily beat 2 beats faster. "So this is how it feels to have someone keep the light on, waiting for you to come home." Toi Tui seemed to sense something, looked up, his eyes piercing through the floor-to-ceiling window at her. For just a few brief seconds, time seemed to stand still. The corners of Toi Tui's mouth curved up, his mood immediately brightened. He casually picked up the silly cat and tossed it aside, stood up and walked towards Tuang Yi. The little tiger drowsily opened its eyes, looking confused. So the silly woman had returned. The little cat staggered towards Tuang Yi, but found someone had beaten it there. Hearing that Tuang Yi hadn't had dinner yet, Toi Tui volunteered to cook instant noodles for her. The little tiger kept circling around Tuang Yi, meowing. "What's wrong with you? Are you hungry too?" The little cat immediately got into character. Teary-eyed, it threw itself into Tuang Yi's arms, pitifully using its small chubby paws to point at Toi Tui. "You mean to say Senior is bullying you? Don't misunderstand him. He's very good, very good." The little tiger widened its eyes in shock. "Who's good? Who are you saying is good?" "Senior is a good person. He can take care of cats and cook. He's truly a god." Hearing Tuang Yi defend him, Toi Tui contentedly went to cook instant noodles for Tuong Yi. The little tiger's inner thoughts were extremely tragic. The old tiger was no longer the silly woman's most beloved treasure. It had completely lost its status in this house. The instant noodles were quickly served. Tuong Yi tasted a bite and especially praised. Senior is truly an instant noodle chef. Toi Tui smiled lightly. Little Rabbit's mouth is really sweet. Tuong Yi immediately became embarrassed. Can you not call me by that nickname? Then let's make a deal. I won't call you by your nickname, and you stop calling me Senior. Just call me by my name. Tuong Yi hesitated a bit, but during live streams, netizens might find it impolite. Toi Tui looked at her innocently. Then what do you think you should call me? Tuong Yi thought for a moment. How about I call you Brother Toi? Director Lee calls you Father Toi. We're the same generation. Should I congratulate you on your promotion? Tuong Yi's ears turned red. That phrase can't be used carelessly like that. Toi Tui calmly said, "It's just a mild joke." Tuong Yi lowered her head to eat the instant noodles. In this comfortable atmosphere, she couldn't help but remember her brother's situation. Toi Tui spoke first. "Earlier you said you wanted to go drinking, but you came back so early. Did something happen?" Toi Tui quietly looked at her. "What are you sad about?" Tuong Yi's nose immediately stung. "My brother hates me now." Toi Tui wanted to comfort her, but realized he seemed to have no experience in comforting others. Tuong Yi smiled again, teasing Toi Tui for not knowing how to console girls. Toi Tui helplessly nodded and admitted, "Indeed, I'm not very good at it." "Then, let me teach you." She stood up and took out a candy, placed it in front of Toi Tui. "Here, have a candy. This is the all-powerful divine weapon." But the next second, Tuong Yi felt her head covered by a warm hand, gently patting a few times. "Is this comforting enough? Our Tuong Yi has had a tough day today. Your brother won't hate you. He's just angry with you right now. Don't take it to heart." Tuong Yi's heartbeat suddenly increased at an alarming rate. The candy in her hand also fell onto the table. She sat back in her chair, trying to stretch the distance between them, flustered, looking for an excuse to stand up and wash her hands, but not knowing how she walked out, tripping over her own feet. She's a die-hard fan. How could she feel moved by Toi Tui? In the little tiger's room, the kitten angrily turned its back to Tuong Yi. Tuong Yi gently coaxed, "Can I buy you a bell tomorrow? The kind that Fu likes the most. Super pretty." The little tiger's cat ears twitched. It turned its face back and reached out to Tuong Yi, asking for a hug. Finally consoled, Tuong Yi carried the kitten out. She prepared goat milk for the little tiger. It licked a few sips, then raised its head to provocatively look at Toi Tui. "I have goat milk, do you?" Toi Tui smiled lightly. "I've been holding the little tiger for too long today. My arms are a bit tired. Could you help me pour a glass of water?" Tuong Yi immediately ran to pour water. Toi Tui prepared goat milk. The little tiger blinked. Damn it, not as good as green tea, not as good as White Lotus, and even lost at acting cute. The bowl of goat milk instantly didn't smell as good anymore. Meanwhile, on the other side, Tuong Ki stayed up all night watching two people in one house. Although not entirely sure, it seemed his sister had returned. He wanted to confirm it himself. Tuong Ki immediately called the little uncle. "I want to join that girl's entertainment show. Arrange it quickly." Early in the morning, Director Lai came to share good news. Tranman has crashed. He's the director of Vibration. Someone exposed that he incited fans to donate money for ranking in the livestream room. Unexpectedly, someone from the inside ran off with the money. Currently, this issue has topped the hot search. The authorities have posted an announcement declaring this week's livestream will be suspended. I guess either the show will rectify and change directors, or this program will collapse. Regarding this, Tuong Yi felt very helpless. The fans suffer the most, wanting to contribute to someone they like, yet their sincerity is trampled like this. At this moment, Director Lai received a phone call. After hanging up, he became dejected again. "Is it because I rejoiced at others' misfortune that heaven is punishing me? The big guest we had arranged has to adjust their schedule. We need to temporarily change guests. All aspects need to coordinate, and we don't know if anyone is willing to come to the rescue." Tuong Yi scrolled through her contact list. "Let me ask Jang Tan. Vibration is paused this week. Jang Tan's schedule might be free." At this time, Toi Tui also came out for his morning exercise. Seeing the two whispering, Toi Tui curiously asked what they were discussing. Director Lee was extremely excited. "Tuong Yi wants to invite some handsome boys to participate in our show." Tuong Yi then spoke up. "Jiang Tan is available. Other C7 members are also free. We'll have a meeting later." Director Lai started imagining. Then the boys will pick fruits. Smile shyly yet adorably at the camera. The muscular boys lift their shirts to wipe sweat, revealing their abs and Adonis belt. The boys work hard, sweating profusely, so hot they directly pour a bucket of water over their heads. The more he thought, the more excited he became. Director Lee jumped up and down. One person is enough to excite people, but there are directly 7 people. I want to possess Tuong Yi's body, experience the feeling of having a harem. Tuong Yi was speechless. What dangerous words are these? At 7 a.m. on Saturday, C7 arrived punctually at Tuong Yi's villa. Looking at this massive gate, everyone couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. At this moment, the sound of brakes suddenly came from behind. It was actually a limited edition global sports car. Someone recognized this person as a senior from Hades, the youngest designer in history. Even A-list artists find it difficult to borrow clothes he designed. The team leader reacted, immediately leading the bow to the man. Senior, hello. The team leader timidly stepped forward to ask Tuong Ki if he was also a guest. Tuong Ki laughed coldly. Haven't you ever seen anyone pay their way in? I've seen it, but never someone as blatantly straightforward as you. Hearing the discussion behind about Tuong Yi's good cooking, Tuong Ki suddenly stopped. Warning, later during the meal, whoever dares to fight me for food is dead for sure. The boys fearfully nodded repeatedly. Jiang Than was a bit worried. The senior looks so fierce. I wonder if he bullies her. Toi Tui spoke up from behind. I have a very good relationship with Jiang Than. Tuong Yi obediently replied. We've only known each other for a short time. Hearing this, Toi Tui turned back, running straight to the little tiger's room. Tong Tong, aren't you exercising anymore? Oh, the little tiger ate too much. I'll take it for a run. After saying that, he picked up the still sleeping little tiger. If the kitten doesn't run, it should be neutered. The little tiger immediately bristled. If you're angry, take it out on me, Toi Tui. Be a decent person. Tuong Yi had a regular lifestyle, but at 7 a.m. she still hadn't appeared. Toi Tui also keenly noticed something unusual. Just as he was suspicious, the little tiger suddenly rushed over, pulling hard on his pants leg, frantically dragging him towards Tuong Yi's room. Toi Tui was startled. Could something have happened to Bunny? He directly pushed open Tuong Yi's door, not even having time to think whether entering a girl's room was appropriate. He saw the girl on the bed with her eyes tightly shut, her face unusually flushed, clearly having a fever. Toi Tui hurriedly ran back to the living room to find the medicine box, just happening to meet a group of young men greeting him. Tuong Ki also took off his sunglasses, obediently calling out, Brother Thoi. Then he poked his head in to investigate. Where's Tuong Yi? Where's Tuong Yi? Is she still sleeping at this hour? Toi Tui brushed past him. Tuong Yi is sick. Jiang Than immediately stood up worried. Is she sick? Is it serious? Should we call 120? Toi Tui answered while looking for medicine. We've contacted the family doctor. First, she'll take fever reducers. If the situation doesn't improve, the doctor will come. After saying this, he handed the fever reducer to Tuong Ki. Give her the medicine. Since her brother is here, it's not appropriate for me to go in. Tuong Ki arrogantly refused. They haven't made up yet. That girl hasn't sweetly called me brother and begged for forgiveness. I don't care about her. Toi Tui felt speechless. Truly pride and regret for a lifetime. He wasn't comfortable entrusting it to others, so he returned to Tuong Yi's room to give her the medicine himself. Tuong Yi was feverish to the point of being dazed, feeling someone lift her up, then something being put into her mouth. Tuong Yi obediently swallowed the medicine, mumbling hazily, son. A few seconds later, her hazy consciousness returned. She immediately felt as if her mind had been shocked into clarity. This time, Toi Tui heard clearly. What did you call me? Son. The little tiger worriedly poked its head out. Treating illness, are you really capable? Why is this silly woman's face even redder now? Although feverish to the point of being unclear, Tuong Yi still remembered to remind Toi Tui, take good care of the little tiger, and there's also breakfast for the new guests. Toi Tui helplessly interrupted. Don't worry about these things anymore. Get some more sleep. Accidentally glancing at the cat hair next to the pillow, so this silly cat slept with her again last night. The ignorant little tiger suddenly felt a chill down its back. Director Lee, in the living room, looked at the vibrant young men, very satisfied. He could even predict how the live stream would explode later. There's also the great Hades. This is truly a guest that fell from the sky, bringing meat pies. A top magazine cover, 2 sponsored advertising programs, and no fee required. This isn't just a meat pie falling from the sky. This is heaven stuffing a meat pie into his mouth. Tuong Ki was amazed at Director Lai's outfit. White tank top, floral shorts, green plastic slippers. How can someone be so casual? Tuong Ki immediately clicked his tongue. Eye pollution. Director Lai had black lines over his head. Is he criticizing him? And these C7 kids, why are they looking at him with pitying eyes? At this moment, Toi Tui carried the little tiger out. Everyone immediately surrounded Toi Tui to inquire about Tuong Yi's condition. Tuong Ki, a step behind, was a bit irritated, these boring people. Toi Tui calmly said, Tuong Yi has taken her medicine and is sleeping. He asked if everyone had breakfast yet. Tuong Yi had prepared fish noodles and shrimp dumplings. In an instant, everyone's eyes in the room lit up. Tuong Ki then took out a large bowl from his limited edition bag. Haven't you ever seen someone bring their own bowl and chopsticks? I've seen it, but I've never seen anyone bring such a big bowl. Hades, you really don't care about details. Tuong Ki disagreed. It's just bringing a bowl. What's the big deal? Before, every time the family gathered, we had to fight over the food my sister cooked. This is nothing. 20 minutes later, the last shrimp dumpling was finally ready. Tuong Ki eagerly picked up a dumpling, took a small bite. The familiar flavor immediately spread in his mouth. He paused for a moment, though outwardly calm, his heart was leaping. Delicious. It's my sister, definitely my sister, who made this. After a few bites, the young men quickly became choked up. Director Lee was startled. Mr. Toy, the kids are all crying. What should we do? Toy Tui calmly picked up a bowl and started serving fish noodle soup to everyone. This frightened the young ones, who kept waving their hands in refusal. Toy Tui said gently, "Today's filming involves farm work. It will consume a lot of energy. Eating a bit more is fine." Jang Than secretly glanced at Tuong Kai. Everyone still remembered Tuong Kai's warning in the morning. Unexpectedly, Tuong Kai now waved friendly. Eat, eat. You actually believed those few words of intimidation. Senior, at that time you didn't seem like you were joking. It was a serious threat. Toy Tui handed over the bowl of fish noodle soup he had served, but the young men didn't dare to take it. Hearing the commotion, Tuong Ki slammed the table. One bowl each. No one leaves until they finish. Jang Than trembled, instinctively hiding behind Director Lai. The easily startled Director Lai was also scared, stammering, "Seaweed strip. The kids are still young. Don't scare them." Tuong Ki stood up with a gloomy face. "What did you call me? My elegant, high-class, prestigious name has been called Seaweed Strip." Director Lee fearfully hugged Jang Than. I misspoke. My English is poor. I was wrong. Seaweed strip. No, Hades." Seeing the man about to roar, Toy Tui said Tuong Yi was sleeping, which extinguished his anger. Tuong Ki directly pushed the plate of shrimp dumplings over. "All of you open your mouths and eat. Dare to waste, and you're dead for sure." Right after, the kids obediently picked up their chopsticks and stuffed their mouths. At 9 o'clock, the two-person family started their live stream on time. Through the glass, 7 young men smiled and greeted the audience before broadcasting. Next, Director Lee pointed the camera at Tuong Ki. Tuong Kai was lazily sitting on the sofa, resting his chin, his voice carrying a magnetic quality. "Hello, everyone. I'm the Seaweed Strip. I mean, Hades." The C7 members tried to hold back their laughter, while Toy Tui laughed out loud. Director Lee clearly laughed more easily, laughing like a goose behind the camera. Under Tuong Ki's cold gaze, Director Lai forcibly stopped laughing and seriously read the introduction. "Today, Miss Tuong Yi is sick, so she cannot participate in today's filming." As soon as he finished speaking, Tuong Yi walked out wearing a fluffy coat. Tuong Yi originally had a high fever that hadn't subsided, yet she appeared in the livestream frame. She went to the cabinet to search for something. Jang Than saw this and hurriedly approached to ask, "Sister, what are you looking for? Let me help you." The other C7 members also didn't want to be outdone, surrounding her. At this moment, the camera zoomed in closer, showing Tuong Yi taking out a golden needle from a wooden box, inserting it into an acupoint on her hand. This action made netizens in the livestream room feel uncomfortable. Even if you want to imitate others and follow the path of a female lead, you don't need to risk your life like this. But Tuong Yi was unaffected. After 2 needle insertions, she had fully recovered and was now full of energy, assigning tasks to the C7 members. Tuong Ki seemed a bit impatient. "Just me and Toy Tui. So what do we do?" Seeing her third brother again after a long time, Tuong Yi's heart stirred. Her voice unconsciously carried a hint of pleasing. "Whatever you want to do, I'll listen to you." This scene was caught by nitpickers in front of the screen, who took turns mocking Tuong Yi for obviously trying to please Hades, wondering if he would take the bait. However, the famous designer pulled out a few tissues from the box, and without a word pressed them to Tuong Yi's nose. "What are you standing there for? Blow your nose." Tuong Yi was bewildered, instinctively obeying. Tuong Ki shouted, "Use more force." Millions of viewers in the livestream room watched this unbelievable scene with their own eyes. Tuong Ki threw away the used tissue, pulled out a new one to wipe her face, then complained, "So dirty." Tuong Yi looked at her brother in bewilderment. She wasn't that strong, always on the verge of tears from small matters between family members. Tuong Ki looked at his sister from his perspective, her eye sockets slightly red, tears welling up. He panicked a bit. Don't cry, I'm telling you. If you dare to cry, I won't wipe your tears. A pair of large hands suddenly grabbed her rabbit ear hat, turning her shoulders to face away from the camera. Thoi Tui leaned towards Tuong Ki. Want to go fishing? Tuong Yi calmed down, lifted her hat, watched the two leave, feeling warmth in her heart. He's still as considerate as always. By the lake, Thoi Tui and Tuong Ki each had a fishing rod, creating quite a beautiful scene. At this moment, Tuong Ki, who was resting with his eyes closed, heard the noisy voices of the C7 boys not far away. It turned out that while fooling around, someone accidentally threw a shoe at a teammate, resulting in it landing on the small kitchen roof. They were discussing where to find a ladder when they heard a mocking voice. It's just a bit high, and you need a ladder. Tuong Ki walked to a tree next to the small kitchen, casually took off his coat, tossing it to the young man beside him. The comment section was filled with guesses about Tuong Ki's actions, sensing an exciting scene ahead. As the netizens predicted, Tuong Ki grabbed the tree trunk, swiftly climbed up, then lightly jumped to another branch, reached out his long arm, hooked the shoe, and casually threw it down. The C7 members stared blankly at Tuong Ki's series of actions, amazed with their eyes and mouths wide open. Indeed, it's a family with a talent for climbing. There's probably no tree in this world that the Tuong family can't climb. Reacting slowly, they finally applauded for Tuong Ki. Tuong Ki didn't show it on his face, but inside he was elated. What a bunch of kids who've never seen the world. Some observant netizens noticed that this tree climbing scene seemed familiar, as Tuong O was also quite good at climbing trees before. Just then, a miserable cry came from the direction of the villa. What happened? Tham Tu, who was assigned to chop wood, suddenly had a pained expression. It turned out the wound on his arm had flared up again. Thoi Tui told Tham Tu not to move around, then asked the director to call for an ambulance. However, fans watching the live stream didn't accept this, criticizing Tuong Yi for assigning tasks carelessly. At this moment, Thoi Tui seemed to think of something, turned to look at Tuong Ki. Tuong Yi should be in the kitchen now. Go call her here. But in the eyes of Tumtu's fans, anger was growing, with some irrational comments being made, which left a bad impression on other netizens. Upon receiving the news, Tuong Yi hurried from the kitchen. She squatted beside Tamtu, carefully supporting his injured arm, gently touching it, asking Tamtu about his sensations. But this scene was particularly irritating to fans, who criticized Tuong Yi for taking advantage of Tamtu in such a situation. Tuong Yi quickly diagnosed that Tamtu's arm was only dislocated, but she gave him the choice of whether she should treat it now or wait for the ambulance to arrive. Tamtu endured the pain, but still chose to trust Tuong Yi, agreeing to let her treat him. All right, count 2 sets of 8 in your head. 5, 6, 7, go. The habit ingrained from years of trainee practice made Tamtu instinctively start counting. However, before he could finish one complete set of 8, he heard a crack. The joint had been reset. Tuong Yi smiled and said, "There, it's done." Tamtu was dazed, gently moved his arm, and found that the pain had indeed lessened. He opened his eyes wide in amazement. "Sister, are you Hua Tuo?" Tuong Yi casually replied, "It's just bone setting. Is it that difficult?" The C7 members surrounded her, praise pouring out like a waterfall. But in the eyes of nitpickers, it was clear that Tuong Yi was just bragging about herself. At this moment, Director Lai reminded, "The ambulance has arrived. Just to be safe, we should still have a doctor check it." But after examining, the doctor was extremely surprised. "This bone-setting technique is excellent. Who set the bone for you?" Tamtu innocently pointed at Tuong Yi. The doctor gave Tuong Yi a thumbs up and praised. "You're really impressive. If the senior traditional Chinese medicine doctors in our hospital were watching this live stream, they'd surely want to have a thorough discussion with you." Tuong Yi nodded politely. "You're too kind." After praising Tuong Yi, the doctor patted Tamtu. "No need to go to the hospital. Just rest well and listen to her advice." The internet immediately exploded, with netizens questioning whether this doctor had just been bribed by Tuong Yi, or even suspecting if Tuong Yi was practicing medicine illegally. The comment section was filled with endless debates. Some drama lovers found it interesting, took screenshots and posted them on Weibo, unexpectedly causing the heat to rise gradually. Director Lai saw the increasing popularity and became a bit worried. "If this continues, I'm afraid bad people might take advantage of it. We should let Tuong Yi explain a bit." So while the live stream was still ongoing, he raised the netizens' question. "Everyone is very interested in your medical skills. Could you briefly explain it to everyone?" Unexpectedly, Tuong Ki beside her laughed first. What's there to explain? My grandfather is a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. Tuang Yi has been learning how to prescribe medicine from him since she was 7 or 8. In Western medical terms, that's 10 years of clinical experience. Treating a young boy is nothing out of the ordinary. Director Lai was also very surprised. 10 years already. Most people at 7 or 8 are still in first grade, but Tuang Yi had already started learning how to prescribe medicine. Tuang Yi also nodded. I've been learning for over a decade. I got my traditional Chinese medicine practitioner certificate in my first year of university, but Tuang Yi's answer was like poking a hornet's nest. Some netizens pointed out Tuang Yi studied agriculture in university. Now she claims she got a medical practitioner certificate in her first year. Did she attend 2 universities at once? This contradictory explanation quickly caused controversy, with the keyword Tuang Yi lying quickly pushed to the top of the search rankings by netizens. Tuang Yi, treating a guest on the live stream, was accused by fanatics of practicing medicine illegally. Because of Tuang Yi's statement about having 10 years of clinical experience, she was criticized and pushed to the hot search. At the same time, a blogger specializing in medical knowledge suddenly posted an article about traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, practitioner licenses. Simply put, the licensing exam first requires a TCM-related major, but there's also a special exception, the traditional master-apprentice system in TCM. Students who study under a master for 3 years or more, when the master deems the student ready to graduate, can take the medical practice license exam. Passing the exam qualifies them to practice. After Toi Tui shared this article, it quickly caught public attention, serving as indirect proof for Tuang Yi. As this issue fermented, the previous topic about Tuang Yi lying disappeared, replaced by a new topic about Tuang Yi and TCM. Tuang Yi was completely unaware, taking out a sewing kit, intending to mend a rabbit ear with loose stitching. Tuang Yi pretended to be cold as he approached Tuang Yi, looking down at her. "Beg me, and I'll sew it for you. But I can sew it myself." Tuang Yi immediately got angry. "You're clumsy. What if you prick your finger? Hurry and beg, or I won't sew it for you." Tuang Yi seemed to realize something, gently pleading. "Please, can you help me sew it?" Outwardly, Tuang Yi remained calm, but inside he was elated. "My sister begged me. She begged me." Tuang Yi sat down beside Tuang Yi, skillfully threading the needle, diligently sewing. Toi Tui passed by, tucking a pillow behind Tuang Yi's back. Tuang Yi naturally said, "Thank you, brother." Hearing that brother, Tuang Yi was so shocked he almost pricked his finger. Only then did he realize it was already morning, and his sister still hadn't called him brother. Since childhood, he had been disciplined by Toi Tui countless times, unable to fight back or escape, with no option but to cry and beg. Now his sister was calling that guy brother, truly accepting the enemy as family. Angry inside, he casually tossed his jacket aside, coincidentally covering Tuang Yi's head, making it look like he was bullying her. Toi Tui immediately gave him a warning glance. Tuang Yi instinctively shuddered. Even as an adult, he was still controlled by Toi Tui. Tuang Yi pulled the jacket down, saw that the rabbit ear was securely sewn, and with curved eyes said thank you. "Is that all for the thanks? Where's the address after? Where's the my dear brother? Just now you called Toi Tui brother, but now it's your real brother's turn, and you don't say it anymore." Tuang Yi was so angry he wanted to flip the table. His eyes fell on the light beige tablecloth with a warm country style, but it made Tuang Yi extremely dissatisfied. What kind of shabby tablecloth is this? Terrible taste, an aesthetic black hole, unbearably ugly. This is what you gave me before. The living room fell into a strange silence. Meanwhile, the audience in the live stream room laughed hysterically at this scene. Tuang Yi was silent for half a minute, then put on sunglasses, ignoring everyone. A true designer dares to doubt himself, deny himself, overthrow himself. Tuang Yi cooperatively nodded repeatedly. "Now I'll have someone bring the latest fabric I dyed here, so you can see what real aesthetic taste is." Tuang Yi's assistant worked very efficiently, bringing the fabric at the fastest speed. As soon as he saw Tuang Yi, he was so excited that tears welled up in his eyes. "Do you have new inspiration, sir? What do you need? I'll serve you anytime." After more than a year, does Hades finally have new inspiration? Unexpectedly, Hades coldly said, "I don't need to do it myself. What kind of work are you planning to design? Is it a dress or an evening gown?" Tuang Yi seemed to ponder something. "You reminded me, besides the tablecloth, we need to make a few aprons too. My dearest little sister, of course, must be paired with the most beautiful apron." The assistant froze in place, using high-end fabric to make aprons. What kind of operation is this? The elegant, high-end designer in front of everyone actually wants to make aprons. Just because of a soft plea from his sister, he could work the sewing machine until it smokes. Hades using high-end fabric to make aprons for Tuang Yi. The assistant's face was indescribable, heartbroken for the fabric being treated this way. Tuangqi suddenly had a flash of inspiration, having a new idea. The assistant was delighted. Are you planning to design a new work? Was he about to witness the birth of another genius artwork? Unexpectedly, Tuangqi picked up the leftover fabric scraps. Now that we have aprons, we can't miss matching hair ties. Aren't those sausage headbands very popular now? Jang Then, passing by, weakly corrected. Not sausage. Last time the makeup artist told me, it's because it looks like pig intestines, so it's called pig intestine hair tie. Tuangqi's face showed disgust. That sounds disgusting. But the next second, he turned to Tuang Yi. Tonight, I want to eat spicy, stir-fried pig intestines. After receiving Tuang Yi's affirmative answer, Tuang Qi happily continued working. 2 hours later, Tuang Qi carried the finished product, pretending to stroll to the kitchen door, deliberately coughing lightly twice towards Tuang Yi. Tuang Yi turned her head to look. Tuang Yi scurried over to him, stood on tiptoes, and popped a small cookie into his mouth. Tuang Qi's Adam's apple moved up and down, swallowing the cookie whole without chewing. Tuang Yi looked at him with expectant eyes, asking how it tasted. He couldn't taste anything, only feeling a slight pain in his throat, but still answered with an expressionless face, "It's okay." Hearing this, Tuang Yi turned to get the freshly baked cookies. "As long as you like them. I just baked 2 plates. I'll bring them to the living room." "What? Are those for those kids and that old man?" Tuang Qi immediately blocked the door, domineeringly preventing Tuang Yi from going out. He opened the box in his hand, revealing cute hair ties. "Do you want these?" Only then did Tuang Yi notice the hair ties. Her eyes immediately lit up. "They're so cute. Are they for me?" Tuang Qi, with a hint of pride, proposed an exchange. "If you want them, trade them for the cookies." He then took the cookies. "All these hair ties are yours. All the cookies belong to me, but there aren't that many. But I want to eat them alone." Tuang Yi raised her small face, looking innocent. "Can I have one bite then? Just one bite? I baked for so long I haven't even tasted them myself." An arrow pierced through, hitting Tuang Qi's infatuated heart. "Since you've begged me, I'll reluctantly let you taste them." So, the 2 siblings finished a small plate of cookies in the kitchen. In the Tuang household, let alone eating alone, even a single bite of food had to be fought over. Now being able to eat alone with his sister, Tuang Qi was overjoyed beyond words. He hummed as he returned to the living room, deliberately passing by Jiang Tan and the others. "Tuang Yi made small cookies for me, only for me." Then he passed by Director. "Tuang Yi made small cookies for me, only for me." Next, he deliberately walked behind Toi Tui. "Tuang Yi made small cookies for me, only for me." Toi Tui felt a bit helpless at Tuang Qi's childish behavior. Then he saw Tuang Qi sway over to the choked-up assistant Roman, continuing to boast, "Tuang Yi made small cookies for me, only for me." Roman looked at the fabric scraps on the floor, not understanding why Hades could still be so happy. Clearly, he had been so badly hurt by that woman before. His career was also ruined. If he didn't cut ties, then fine, but why waste these precious fabrics on her? She's not worthy at all. Suddenly, a sweet aroma wafted into the living room. "Oh wait, what's that delicious smell?" Roman asked. It turned out Tuang Yi's egg tarts were out of the oven. Tuang Yi offered some to Roman. Although he thought he should restrain himself, his mouth was very honest. After just one bite, Roman had to exclaim, "Are there really egg tarts this delicious in this world? I'm so happy." From afar came Hades' angry gaze. "You even made egg tarts, and not just for me to eat," he said as he approached his sister. Before Hades could speak, Tuang Yi said, "There are 3 more egg tarts, all for you, okay?" Seeing her brother say nothing, Tuang Yi grabbed his shirt, saying, "Brother, please don't be angry with me anymore, okay?" At this point, Hades finally calmed down, turning to look at his sister. "Not angry anymore, okay?" Seeing Tuang Yi act coquettishly, everyone was a bit surprised because in their impression, Tuang Yi was strong and cool. Hearing his sister call him brother, Hades stood up and asked, "What did you call me?" Tuang Yi was a bit flustered. "If you don't like it, I won't call you that anymore." "Do you still know I'm your brother?" Hades asked with a dark face. Seeing her brother angry, Tuang Yi quickly apologized. "Brother, I was wrong before, I'm sorry. Actually, I've always known." Seeing his sister apologize like this, Hades forgave his sister. After saying this, Hades suddenly felt embarrassed, looking at his sister for a long time without saying anything. Hades removed his sister's hand that was holding the corner of his shirt, then arrogantly said, "I'm already angry. Don't you know how to coax me?" Tuang Yi grabbed the corner of Hades' shirt again, with tears in her eyes, saying, "You don't blame me." Hades moved closer and said, "Actually, I know it wasn't you." Hearing her brother's words, Tuang thought to herself. I thought even if I explained, you wouldn't believe me. I didn't expect you already knew the truth and chose to believe me. Before she could think further, Hades pointed at his sister's head, angrily saying, don't you even know how to act coquettish? Do I need to teach you? Then he actually acted coquettish with his sister. Brother, you're the best person in the world. Seeing this scene, everyone in the audience were full of question marks, thinking to themselves, where did the cool and aloof Hades from this morning go? Brother, you're the best, Tuang said to Hades. Hades still arrogantly said, of course, I've always been the best. But in his heart he thought, my sister is indeed the cutest in the world. Suddenly, as if Hades thought of something, he opened his eyes wide, turned around and patted his sister's head, saying, I've got inspiration. Then he ran off, leaving everyone with helpless expressions. In the blink of an eye, Hades was lying face down on the floor, starting to create. Soon, the characters' lines on the drawing paper appeared. Roman, who was peeking from outside the door, excitedly said, this is no longer a miracle, but a divine feat. Then he closed the door and said to everyone, this can't be broadcast. Tuang agreed after hearing this, leaving Roman here to take care of her brother, while everyone else went outside. At this time, it started raining unexpectedly outside the window, so everyone could only play indoor games. The director arranged for everyone to write penalty cards, and the game was about to begin. Tuang asked Thoi Tui beside her what penalty he wrote. Thoi Tui wrote drinking vinegar, while Tuang wrote singing a children's song. Then, the director explained the rules to everyone, and after finishing, he called everyone to draw their character cards. After drawing the cards, the psychological game officially began. The director smiled and said, now everyone start introducing yourselves, dispelling doubts about your identity. As soon as he finished speaking, Jang Than immediately said in panic, I'm a good person. But clearly his expression had betrayed him. Everyone pointed at him, saying he was the assassin. Jang Than was directly eliminated. The remaining people continued the game. Another member laughed and said, I've guessed the outcome. You're on the assassin team, right? And called for everyone to vote to eliminate her. Hearing this, Tuang had a helpless expression. At this time, only Toi Tui hadn't voted on the field. He turned to Tuang and said, aren't you going to beg me? But Tuang said, anyway, you only have one vote. It's the same whoever you vote for. Hearing Tuang's words, Toi Tui said, that's right. If we can't live together, then we'll die together. Right after that, he voted for someone else. Finally, the director announced the end of the game. The assassin team won. The knight and princess team was eliminated. And Toi Tui and Tuang were the knight and princess. For the penalty part, Tuang drew the penalty card to listen to ghost stories in a closed space, while Toi Tui drew the penalty card to dance to girl group choreography. Toi Tui wanted to exchange penalties with Tuang, but Tuang said she didn't know how to dance to girl group choreography either. The director also noticed Toi Tui's dilemma and said, Toi Tui, do you want to choose the same as Tuang? Listen to ghost stories together. This time, the director took the lead in shipping, causing everyone to cheer loudly. The audience in the live broadcast room also clamored for additional rewards for the director. On this side, the two had been locked in the room, only the two of them groping in the pitch-dark room. Tuang found the light switch, pressed it, only to hear a spark, and then it went off again. Thinking Tuang would be scared, unexpectedly, the two began to analyze. Tuang even asked Toi Tui if he knew any good horror movies. After standing for a while, Tuang felt a bit tired, so she reached out to pull a chair to sit. Unexpectedly, the cardboard box containing miscellaneous items on top of the chair collapsed. In this critical moment, fortunately, Toi Tui was quick to pull Tuang back. However, Tuang was still worried about whether her rabbit ears were still intact. Toi Tui pinched Tuang's ear, saying, aren't they still here? It turned out this outfit was her brother's previous practice work. Tuang was afraid her brother would be angry, so she was worried like that. After hearing this, Toi Tui, despite Tuang's objections, reached out to pinch the rabbit ears. Tuang asked, do you like my jacket, or would you like to borrow it for a bit? After hearing this, Toi Tui closed his eyes and said, it's fine. I can borrow it for a while. At this moment, people outside pushed the door open, shouting, quick, let Toi Tui borrow the jacket. Seeing Tuang still hesitating, Toi Tui asked, you won't regret it, right? Tuang took off her jacket, thinking to herself, looks like he really likes this outfit. After all, it was designed by my brother. After saying that, Toi Tui immediately took the jacket and put it on. This action caused everyone outside to gasp in surprise. At this time, Roman came over with Hades' design, saying, Lord Hades fell asleep after finishing drawing. before sleeping. He said he wanted to eat stir-fried pork, intestines, and pudding. After saying this, Roman said he still had unfinished business, then took the design and excused himself. Tuang-yi also said to everyone, "It's dinner time, I have to go cook." As Tuang-yi pushed open the kitchen door, she saw little brain fur scooping fish from the fish tank. Tuang-yi quickly scooped it out, saying, "That's very dangerous. Are you hungry?" Then pressed its small belly. The belly is clearly swollen. "Did Jiang Than and the others secretly feed you something?" Tuang-yi said while drying the kitten's feet. Realizing that Tuang-yi wasn't feeding it, the kitten directly lay in her arms and started acting coquettish. Tuang-yi was a bit surprised, just fed one bite and already learned how to act coquettish. Then she happily said, "Finally learned to act coquettish, do it more often in the future." Then she took some fish meat and fed the kitten. The kitten was eating fish when suddenly its expression changed. Thinking of some mischievous idea, it turned its head, dropped the fish meat, and ran outside. Arriving at the living room, it found Toi Tui and Jiang Than and ate fish at their feet. Jiang Than noticed and asked, "Is the fish it's eating the one I caught before the meal?" The kitten smiled mischievously, as if saying, "You stinky men, the one Tuang-yi loves most will always be me." Toi Tui clearly understood its intention, smiling without saying anything. Then he turned his head and asked everyone, "Which of you knows what to pay attention to before neutering a cat?" Hearing about neutering, the kitten was so scared that the fish meat in its mouth fell out. Jiang Than also said, "But it doesn't have a girlfriend yet. Isn't neutering taking away its joy?" And Jiang Than, still with an expressionless face, said, "Having something and then losing it is the most painful." After hearing the conversation between the two, the kitten trembled and pushed the fish meat towards Toi Tui, thinking, "I'm returning the fish meat to you, don't take me to the vet." Seeing that the kitten was about to cry from being scared, Toi Tui patted its head and said, "Eat and be good from now on." In the evening, Tuang-yi finished cooking dinner, went to her brother's door, and said softly, "Brother, dinner is ready." Seeing that her brother didn't answer, Tuang-yi pushed the door open and found that her brother was still sleeping. "Looks like brother won't make it to dinner," Tuang-yi thought to herself, then covered her brother with a blanket, went outside and told everyone, "Hades is still sleeping. I've set aside a portion for him. Everyone, let's go eat dinner together." But everyone seemed not to hear, each with a frown and looking dejected. Tuang-yi asked, "Don't you like these dishes? Or should I cook something else?" Everyone then said, "It's because we won't be able to eat your cooking tomorrow." "So that's why." Tuang-yi smiled and said, "How about this? In the future, if you want to eat anything, you can message me on WeChat and I'll have the driver bring it to you, okay?" Hearing their sister's answer, everyone was very happy. But today, the comment section was flooded with unpleasant words. The director was also very suspicious. Normally, the comment section was very harmonious. Why was it a bit unusual today? This isn't good. On the other side, the former director of the Heartbeat program had posted a status on his personal page. The new program he organized, Delicious 3 Meals, is about to air. The scene changes, showing him with a sinister expression saying, "Unexpected, right? Even if Heartbeat failed, I can still launch a similar variety show." Then he said to the secretary beside him, "How's your side doing?" The secretary confidently said, "Currently, not only has One House Two People's live broadcast comment section crashed, but the other posts we arranged have also started to be published." After saying this, she opened her computer, showing off her achievements. That's still not enough. Tran Mien continued. This time the effect of the internet army is quite good. Add fuel to the fire. Contact the hackers to block their live broadcast room. But the secretary was a bit worried, saying, "But they also have experts guarding it. Ordinary hackers can't break in, and top hackers are too expensive." But Tran Man still said, "This small amount of money is nothing. As long as 2 people, 1 home collapses, we'll immediately make it back." The secretary didn't argue anymore and stood up to make arrangements. Meanwhile, Hades had just woken up, glanced at the live stream room, and was very suspicious. He had only slept for a while. Why were there so many people in the live stream room cursing his sister? Then without hesitation, he picked up his phone and started to counterattack. This posture clearly showed he wanted to fight to the end with the online army. Just as he started to counterattack, his phone received a message. His account was suspected of violating platform rules and was locked for 24 hours. Helpless, he could only call his youngest uncle for help to unlock the account. The youngest uncle didn't understand either. How could participating in a show lead to a locked account? After saying this, he opened the livestream room and was immediately hit with comments cursing Tuong Yi. After watching for a while, he was so angry he couldn't control himself, roaring, "Whoever bullies my niece, I won't let them off." He then arranged for someone to unlock the account. Meanwhile, Hades woke up and walked out of the room. Everyone in the living room still didn't know what had happened and were still discussing what to eat today. Seeing her brother come out, Tuong Yi stood up to get him some food. But Hades already knew the truth and thought, "How can my sister's hands be used to carry rice?" So he said, "No need, I'll get it myself." Seeing her brother's angry face, Tuong Yi quickly followed and asked, "Are you angry? Who made you angry?" However, the comment section was still cursing Tuong Yi. After Hades got his food, he saw Toi Tui's clothes and angrily asked, "Why are you wearing her clothes?" Toi Tui calmly said, "She lent them to me." Hades didn't believe it at all and turned to ask Tuong Yi, "Did he steal your clothes to wear? You're grown up and still bullying kids." After saying this, Toi Tui stood up and walked towards Hades. Just as the two were about to fight, Tuong Yi quickly said, "I really did lend them to him." Hades thought his sister was being threatened by Toi Tui and said to Tuong Yi, "Don't forget, you have a brother to protect you. If your brother can't beat him in a fight, surely he can't lose to him in climbing trees, right?" Toi Tui heard this and laughed coldly. "I really don't believe it." Hades thought to himself, "I might not actually win in a race." Tuong Yi, standing nearby, finally couldn't bear it anymore and said to Toi Tui, "Brother, please stop teasing him." Hearing Tuong Yi call Toi Tui brother again, Hades became uncontrollably angry, clenching his fist and telling Tuong Yi, "Don't call him brother." "Why not?" Tuong Yi asked her brother. Hades still arrogantly said, "I used so many hair ties to coax you into calling me brother, and now you casually call that old man brother. On what basis?" Seeing her brother angry, Tuong Yi quickly pulled him to comfort him. "Brother, I was wrong. Don't be angry anymore." While speaking, she pushed Hades down to the dining table, saying, "The food is getting cold." Toi Tui also tactfully stood up and went elsewhere. Looking at Toi Tui's back, Tuong Yi felt a bit guilty inside. Not knowing what to do, the little cat came over, attracted by the smell of food. Tuong Yi picked up the little cat and said to it, "Can you help me comfort Senior Thoi?" Hearing this, the little cat suddenly recalled unpleasant memories about Toi Tui. Seeing the little cat disagree, Tuong Yi quickly offered to make it delicious food for 3 days. Although still a bit reluctant, Tuong Yi offered too much, so the little cat had to agree. Suddenly, Hades, who was eating, angrily slammed the table. It turned out that while eating, Hades saw some outrageous comments in the comment section. Right after, he said he wanted to have a serious talk with the audience. Hades began to explain, "I am Tuong Yi's biological brother. Do you have any opinions about that? She's an only child. That's right. I'm her cousin, Tuong Ngo, and that idiot is my cousin. We're family." Tuong Yi was also very surprised to hear this, looking at her brother's back, thinking about how she had hidden her identity to enter the fashion industry without relying on her family. Unexpectedly, he revealed their relationship for her sake, exposing his true identity. While thinking, Hades grabbed Tuong Yi's hand and said angrily, "She's my sister, not someone you can bully at will." Rumors stop with the wise. I don't want to see any more words slandering her. Online violence is too easy, many times. You don't even realize how much a single sentence of yours can hurt others. If you can't learn to be kind, then at least keep your mouth shut. Hearing these domineering words, the comment section finally awakened its conscience. It was also because of these words that the popularity of the Eat Well 3 Meals program decreased significantly. Seeing this unbelievable reversal, Chen Min's face fell. The secretary beside her also cried, saying, "The hot search we bought has been taken down. The viewership of 2 People 1 Home is not decreasing but increasing. By evening, it might exceed 10 million viewers." But thinking about her connection with the hacker, Chen Min felt she had one last lifeline. Sure enough, the director on this side pushed open the door and entered, announcing to everyone, the live broadcast was suddenly interrupted. "We've sent people to check and found that hackers maliciously attacked the database. The hackers targeted our broadcast room. Changing rooms didn't work, so everyone's efforts were in vain. We'll end here for today." When it was time to say goodbye, the members of Team C7 thanked everyone. Zhang Shen said to his sister, "Thank you for inviting us to participate in the show." Everyone felt very happy. Tuong Yi took out the snacks she had prepared for everyone and said, "You must eat well to have the strength to face everything." Watching the members receive her gifts, Tuong Yi happily said, "You can come here to eat anytime. This place always welcomes you." Zhang Shen turned his head away and shed tears, thinking to himself, "In the future, I will definitely shine on stage to repay your kindness. After seeing C7 off, Hades said to Tuong-yi, I want to talk to you. Where have you been this past year? Hades said in a serious tone. Tuong-yi wanted to speak but hesitated, seeming unwilling to answer. Hades didn't ask further, saying, It's good that you're back. Unexpectedly, Tuong-yi playfully said, I went traveling. I've been to many places, met many different people, learned many strange skills. And now my journey has ended because home has everyone, so I've returned. Hades only asked, Did anyone bully you while you were traveling? Facing her brother's concern, Tuong-yi laughed and said, No, I was the one bullying others. Before Tuong-yi could finish, Hades pinched his sister's cheek and said, Next time you travel, you must take me with you. If you can't take me, at least let me know. Tuong-yi obediently agreed. It seems the two siblings have completely reconciled. Afterwards, Hades opened his phone and ordered Tuong-yi, Now quickly coax me, say that third brother is the best person in the world. Tuong-yi obediently repeated after him. Hades smugly created a chat group immediately, added his siblings to the group, and uploaded the video he just recorded. Unexpectedly, Tuong-lei wasn't convinced and said he would come tomorrow. Hades stared at WeChat for a long time without saying anything. Seeing her brother not saying anything, Tuong-yi asked. They didn't reply to the message. Hades hurriedly covered his phone, thinking to himself, If I let my sister see second brother threatening me, wouldn't I lose all face? Tuong-yi still didn't give up, begging her brother to let her see. Hades still told his sister to go to sleep, saying he also had to go back to complete the new design for the studio. Tuong-yi quickly chased after him and pleaded, Stay one more night, leave after breakfast tomorrow morning. Tuong-yi still didn't understand why third brother was in such a hurry to leave. Hades originally planned to stay for a meal, but because of second brother's threat, he didn't dare to stay longer. After seeing her brother off, Tuong-yi saw Thoiti preparing to watch a horror movie. Having just reconciled with her brother, Tuong-yi was hesitant about how to address Thoiti. After all, her brother had just told her not to call him brother. While hugging the little cat and watching the movie, Tuong-yi suddenly asked Thoiti, Don't we look a bit like a family of three watching a children's movie? This comment made all three of them fall silent. Tuong-yi quickly said, I was telling a joke. Was it funny? After saying that, she seriously watched the horror movie, thinking to herself, As long as I'm not embarrassed, the embarrassed one is someone else. Thoiti beside her couldn't help but laugh. A sudden scary scene in the movie startled the little cat, burying its head in Tuong-yi's chest, not wanting to peek out. Thoiti picked up the frightened little cat and said, Let me hold the cat for a while. You eat some popcorn. Tuong-yi, while eating popcorn, said, I want to tell another joke. Do you want to hear it? Seeing Thoiti's curiosity, Tuong-yi continued, That scene just now looked like you were saying, Mother, let me hold the baby. You eat popcorn first. Hearing Tuong-yi's words, Thoiti stepped forward and said, Since when did our little Nyi learn to take advantage of others like this? Tuong-yi might have felt a bit embarrassed, choking on her popcorn. Thoiti quickly handed her some water. Tuong-yi calmed down, coughed lightly, and said, If I wanted to take advantage of you, I would have called you son, making you and the little cat brothers. The little cat seemed to understand, stood up, looking at Thoiti and meowed, thinking to itself, This dog of a man doesn't deserve to be my brother. Thoiti laughed and said, In that case, me calling you mother wouldn't count as taking advantage, right? After a pause, he continued, You don't need to beat around the bush like that. If you want to take advantage of your brother, I'll let you do it. Hearing Thoiti's words, Tuong-yi quickly explained, No, I was just talking nonsense earlier. In her mind, she thought, Why do I feel like I'm being teased? Where are we in the movie? Tuong-yi hurriedly changed the subject. Thoiti smiled slightly, thinking, With you by my side, how can I watch the movie? After some time, Tuong-yi couldn't bear it anymore, wanting to doze off. Thoiti gently pulled Tuong-yi onto his shoulder. At the same time, in some hotel, Tranman was celebrating with everyone. Tomorrow, after 3 meals, they would start broadcasting. While Tranman was slightly drunk, the leader called, telling her that the project had been assigned to someone else. Hearing this, Tranman immediately sobered up 3 parts. Tranman hurriedly begged, but no matter how much she pleaded, the leader wouldn't agree, finally hanging up the phone amidst his crying. The scene shifts to Tuong-lei, who was smoking and resting on the balcony. Suddenly, Xiaoban in the room discovered him. Xiaoban saw Tuong-lei and excitedly shouted, Brother Li, I've finally succeeded. My experiment has completely extracted GH3. After saying this, he wanted to rush over and hug Tuong-lei, but Tuong-lei calmly leaned away, causing Xiaoban to miss and fall to the ground. Xiaoban got up, muttering, What's wrong with a hug? Everyone says you don't like girls anyway. Hearing Xiaoban's words, Tuanglei coldly said, "Supposing the premise that I like men is correct, what does that have to do with liking you? Do you think I don't consider looks or intelligence?" These words were truly too hurtful, leaving Xiaoban speechless. Xiaoban changed the subject, asking, "Brother Lei, I heard you asked for a day off tomorrow. Are you going home to visit family?" Tuanglei looked up, smiled, and said, "Going home to bully the little rabbit." The scene returns to Tuangyi, who is trying to persuade the nearby farmer, who often brings her vegetables, to stay for breakfast. The farmer hurriedly declines, saying he has work to do at the farm. As they are talking, suddenly a car stops at the door, and a bodyguard steps out. The bodyguard opens the rear door, and the person who arrives is Tuangyi's second brother, Tuanglei. Seeing her second brother, Tuangyi is extremely surprised. The scene flashes back to a year ago. Tuangyi with pigtails is climbing a mountain, her gestures and actions exuding impatience, while still boasting to her second brother below. Tuanglei worriedly says from below, "Be careful, don't rush." But Tuangyi's mind is only focused on reaching the top, completely ignoring her brother's advice. A scream rings out, and sure enough, Tuangyi slips. Tuanglei, always watching over his sister, sees her falling from above and rushes forward, using his hands to catch her. Fortunately, Tuangyi is unharmed, still calling for a doctor to look at her scraped hand, then immediately goes to find a doctor, not even realizing that her brother is severely injured to the point where bone is visible from saving her. After recovery, her second brother had to give up experiments requiring high precision. After the incident, the person occupying her body even blamed him, lying that he fell and injured himself, completely disappointing her second brother. Thinking of this, Tuangyi naturally assumes her second brother couldn't possibly come here for her. Indeed, her second brother walks straight past Tuangyi. He says to the farmer, "Uncle, are you in charge of the little rabbit farm?" The farmer nods in agreement. After confirming Tuanglei's identity as a scientific researcher, the uncle wants to keep Tuanglei for breakfast made by Tuangyi. At this moment, Tuangyi's mind is filled with images of her brother ignoring her and how she had hurt him, so she lets Uncle Wang take Tuanglei to the farm to eat, while she turns and runs away, leaving Uncle Wang with a puzzled expression. Seeing Tuangyi's reaction, her second brother smiles and thinks, indeed, she is no longer the same as before. The scene shifts to 5 minutes before broadcast. Tuangyi is clearly still anxious. Toi Tui notices something unusual and asks, "You don't look well? You're not feverish, are you?" At this moment, the director greets them. "Let me introduce you to a big shot. He's helped us a lot." This big shot turns out to be the second brother. Seeing her second brother again, Tuangyi can't help but look uncomfortable. This is Dr. Tuanglei, a scientific research expert working at the Little Rabbit Farm. When our live broadcast room was attacked, he casually wrote us a firewall program, the director introduces. "That's right, you both have the surname Tuang. What a coincidence. Perhaps you're even relatives." The director, unaware of the situation, jokes with the siblings. At this point, Tuanglei extends his hand to greet Tuangyi, who reluctantly shakes it. After shaking hands, Tuanglei frowns and thinks, "Why is my sister's hand so cold?" As for Tuangyi, she naturally catches the moment her brother frowns, thinking to herself, "He frowned. Indeed, he still hates me." The director, still oblivious, continues. "Dr. Tuang has also agreed to be a special guest for this program of ours." Then, as time is running short, they begin the live broadcast. As the director introduces Tuanglei to the audience, the live broadcast room once again explodes with activity. At this moment, Tuanglei peels an egg for his sister and hands it to Tuangyi. From Tuangyi's expression, it's not hard to see that she's very surprised. Hearing that her second brother is very caring towards others, being so gentle even to the person who ruined his hand, it's too good to be true. Tuangyi is so moved that she's on the verge of tears. Then he peels another egg and gives it to Toi Tui. Meanwhile, in another place, someone unknown sneers, "Stupid woman, don't you know how many of your weaknesses I have in my hands? Releasing your surveillance video is just a small matter. You only deserve to be trampled on for me to climb up." Shortly after, she sends a WeChat message to director Diem, who is preparing for a blockbuster film. The content is the video of Tuangyi mountain climbing that injured Tuanglei a year ago. However, Anai replies, "I trust her." Seeing Anai's affirmative answer, the woman angrily throws her phone, grinding her teeth and saying, "He used to always listen to me. Just one day of filming, and he's already on Tuangyi's side." Back to Tuangyi, a man and a woman supporting each other arrive at Tuangyi's door, constantly exclaiming, "This place is wonderful. wonderful. The man is the calligraphy master Thing Kwang. The woman is the award-winning actress Doan Jang Tuyet. The actress, upon seeing Thoi Tui, affectionately says, "Son, it's been a long time." Thoi Tui responds warmly. Tuong Yi thinks to herself, she always remembered Thoi Tui's mother wasn't in good health. Turns out actress Doan Jang Tuyet was too reckless in her youth while filming, leaving her with health issues that prevented her from having children. Later, the two accidentally collaborated on a film. Their mother-son roles were particularly touching, and afterwards they adopted Thoi Tui. Then, actress Doan Jang Tuyet gave up her career, retired, and got married, but her ex-husband abused her because she couldn't have children. Now able to pursue her career and love again, she's truly resilient. Thoi Tui asks, "Mom, are you here to film the show or to have a meal?" Mother Doan says it's for filming, but in her heart, she just wants to taste Tuong Yi's delicious food. Eating well for 3 meals, today they've invited highly popular guests, so by 9 a.m., the viewership has reached 4 million. The station director is concerned about 1 home, 2 people. The marketing manager analyzes, "I think the revealed injury time has brought great popularity to 1 home, 2 people, causing their broadcast volume today to be double ours." The station director slams the table, stands up and shouts, "No, we can't let them continue broadcasting like this." Someone below suggests, "How about contacting the hacker from last time? Someone feels such tactics shouldn't be used." But the station director turns around with a pleased expression and says, "Contact them." Sure enough, upon receiving the notification, the hacker begins to operate. But this time, the hacker discovers that someone has written a new firewall. No matter what he does, it doesn't work. Suddenly, there's urgent knocking at the door. Turns out it's the police. Upon hearing the news, the station director roars, "Wasn't it supposed to be a top 1% hacker in the world? How could they be defeated so easily?" But everyone is worried the hacker will expose them, while the station director calmly says, "What's there to fear? Whoever investigates takes responsibility. It has nothing to do with us." Witnessing this heartless scene, that employee can't help but think, she has dedicated many years of her youth, now it seems all in vain. Thinking this, she stands up and leaves the meeting room. Back to Tuong Yi, seeing the beautiful weather today, she invites everyone to go pick fruits to make jam. Suddenly, the actress points to the distance, exclaiming in surprise, "Everyone, look quickly, who's that person? Is it a thief?" Following Mother Nat's gaze, Tuong Yi glances and immediately discovers someone stealing chickens. The director thinks more, reminding everyone to be careful. She's carrying some kind of knife. He then wants to call 110. Before the director can finish dialing, Tuong Yi rushes forward. Everyone hurriedly follows. However, in just a moment, that girl has taken down all of them, leaving only a teenager holding a chick. Tuong Yi sternly asks, "Why are you stealing?" The teenager smirks and says, "I want to steal, so I steal. Do I need a reason? At most, I'll return it to you." He then hands the chick to Tuong Yi. Before Tuong Yi can take it, the teenager opens his other hand. An egg falls to the ground, shattering. Facing the insolent teenager, Tuong Yi pulls him closer. In close contact with a beauty like Tuong Yi, the teenager can't help but swallow. Tuong Yi says, "Young man, first release my chicken." Seeing the chick released, Tuong Yi's face darkens, wanting to settle accounts with the teenagers, but they laugh and say, "We have no money, can't compensate." At this point, Mother Doan also advises Tuong Yi to let it go, then takes out her phone, intending to call their parents or guardians. But the teenagers absolutely refuse to tell. Tuong Yi doesn't give up either, making them stay to work, using labor to pay off the debt. "You're illegally using child labor," the teenager shouts, then is assigned by Tuong Yi to clean the chicken coop. The reason Tuong Yi doesn't choose to call the police is because she's afraid it will leave a criminal record. Moreover, she suspects they have other motives. After hearing this, Thoi Tui says he'll ask Director Lee to send someone to inquire about their real intentions later. After arranging everything properly, everyone goes to the pavilion to start making fruit preserves. Seeing everyone working enthusiastically, Mother Doan jokes, "We're like the production line of 1 home, 2 people, aren't we? Organic, handmade." Suddenly, there's an urgent car horn, and a woman wearing lots of jewelry steps out of the car. Seeing her walking straight towards them, Mother Nat thought she was a secret guest. The woman points at everyone and shouts, "I don't care if you're filming a show or what, I order you. No footage of me is allowed in post-production, or you'll face the consequences." Not only is everyone confused, but the audience in the live broadcast room also doesn't understand what's happening. Tuong Yi stands up and asks, "Excuse me, ma'am, what's the matter? This is my home. It's not appropriate for you to barge in without greeting." But this woman still says she doesn't like dealing with actors. The director also speaks up for Tuong Yi, and it turns out this woman is here to find her son. The director immediately tells his staff to call those boys over. Seeing the wound on on the boy's face, this woman worriedly asks, Dung, what happened to your face? But the boy shows no gratitude, shouting, Why did you come here, Mom? This woman then turns her anger towards Tuangyi, saying, Do you know who my husband is? You dare to hit my son over some rotten eggs. Wrongly accused, Tuangyi explains, First, his injury wasn't caused by us. Second, your son came here to steal. Hearing Tuangyi's explanation, Dung's mother takes out her wallet, wanting to use money to solve the problem, and says that her son is just under too much academic pressure. I'll give you money. Let them come here often to relieve stress. Everyone finds this hard to believe, and Mother Don criticizes Dung's mother. As his mother, you don't think of ways to educate your child, but use this method to solve problems instead. Dung's mother recognizes the actress and mocks her even more. I thought it was someone important. Turns out it's just a hen that can't lay eggs. You can't even have children. What right do you have to lecture me? The actress is scolded to the point of tears, unable to speak. The audience in the live broadcast room can't stand it anymore, criticizing her behavior one after another. Witnessing this, Toi Tui doesn't get angry, but instead pulls Tuangyi to follow him. Dung, who had been silent until now, also explodes, shouting, Enough. He tells everyone, You just said it's considered trespassing into someone else's home. Her behavior is also trespassing. Why aren't you calling the police? Hearing these words, Dung's mother is shocked, asking, Are you telling strangers to call the police on your own mother? However, Dung seems to ignore her, continuing to shout, Why aren't you calling the police? The two teenagers behind him also chime in. Tuangyi, who just returned with Toi Tui, now says, Let it go. It's just a few eggs. I don't care much. Besides, you've already cleaned the chicken coop as compensation. Let's consider it done. But Tuangyi continues, saying she wants to take them back to school, and in front of their homeroom teacher, each of them will write a self-criticism. It turns out Toi Tui had secretly told Tuangyi that their abnormal behavior might be related to school, so he wants to go along to school to check. The teenagers also agree to this plan. Then, Tuangyi wants to drive the tractor to take them to school. The teenagers obediently get on the vehicle. Dung's mother still wants to stop them, but the teenagers all seem happy to do this, telling their mother, Mom, aren't you very busy? There are teachers at school anyway. You can go. Dung's mother remembers she indeed has an afternoon tea to attend, so she hurriedly says goodbye to Dung and leaves. Watching his mother's figure disappear, Dung smiles bitterly and says, Indeed, in Mom's heart, I'm never the most important person. Tuang Lei and Toi Tui are both worried about Tuangyi, so they all go to the school together. The sight of them leaving has an indescribable sense of humor, so the director orders to follow them. At the school, the security guard shouts loudly, No vehicles allowed in school. Students must enter from Backhawk Street on the other side. Seeing the cameraman following, the guard shouts again, You're filming illegally. Turn off the camera now, or I'll smash it. Tuangyi and Toi Tui observe the guard's unusual behavior, becoming more certain that this school has issues. Suddenly, everyone follows Tuang Lei's gaze, only to see a student standing on a high-floor balcony, his hands gripping the railing tightly, as if he wants to jump. The guard sees this, but instead of intervening, he continues to yell at the cameraman. The cameraman retorts, Listen to yourself. Are you even speaking like a human? Faced with everyone's criticism, the guard remains unmoved. I've already called the police. Tuangyi says from behind, Indeed. As soon as the police are mentioned, the guard loses his composure, shouting at Tuangyi, You're too well fed. What's it to you? Then he adds, It's just one life anyway. Hearing the guard's words, Tuangyi rushes forward and shouts, Just one life. Don't you have any respect for life? At this moment, Dung speaks up from behind. Maybe he's used to it. Hearing Dung, the guard hurriedly tries to stop him. You, shut up. Quickly go back to school. Don't hang around with these strange people. Dung turns to Tuangyi and says, Sister, look how fierce he is. I'm scared. The other teenagers chime in. Tuang Lei and Toi Tui behind them both agree that these kids are really hateful. Soon after, the police arrive. Tuangyi turns to ask the guard, Can we open the gate now? As soon as they enter, the police begin rescue operations. At this time, a man claiming to be the principal appears, telling everyone, This is a student performing an artistic behavior simulation. Then he demands the cameraman turn off his equipment, saying interviews must be registered in advance. At this point, Dung says from behind, Right now, millions of people in the live broadcast can see this. Hearing this, the principal's face turns ashen. He stammers and tries to grab the camera, fortunately stopped in time by the police. By now, the rescue team has safely brought down the student. Facing the just awakened student, the principal still scolds, causing trouble for others again. At this moment, Tuang Lei also says, Doesn't everyone feel something's a bit strange? After saying this, she looks towards the rooftop. Such a big incident happened, yet no one came out to watch. Thoi Tui also says, today should be the first day of school. There should be people inside, but now it's completely empty, not even a sound. At this moment, Dung Dung says, because if we make a sound, we'll be locked in the dark room. The principal is clearly anxious, shouting, shut up. Don't talk nonsense. Then, he tells everyone with a helpless expression, he has a mental illness. Don't believe what he says. Dung Dung laughs coldly and says, what now? I quite like being a lunatic. Then, Dung Dung leads everyone to the legendary dark room, explaining, if you make a mistake, you'll be punished by standing here. Not stopping there, Dung Dung points to the sandbags and water tanks in the corner, shouting, in summer, we have to wear sandbags and run 5 kilometers. In winter, we have to pour buckets of cold water from head to toe. He turns to the principal and says, also, as soon as we enter school, our personal items are confiscated. Those messages sent home to report we're safe, they're actually composed by teachers using our phones. The principal explains, this behavior is only to help students addicted to mobile games. It can help them get back on track. Moreover, graduates from here are all excellent. Thoi Tui is the first to show confusion. What about those who haven't graduated? Being abused like this for years, both physically and mentally, must have been severely damaged. The cameraman also retorts, these kids are tortured by you every day. How much they must suffer. How heartbroken their parents would be if they knew. Mentioning parents, the teenagers helplessly say, so what if they know? We're all children sent here under the label of rebellious and disobedient. The comment section also reacts fiercely, with both sides arguing heatedly. Tuong Yi claps her hands and says, it's almost mealtime. Are you kids hungry? Although the teenagers are very strong, they still lead Tuong Yi to the kitchen. At the kitchen, Tuong Yi checks the ingredients. Finding that the frozen meat and vegetables are not fresh, she calls Uncle Wong at the farm, asking him to send some ingredients from the Little Rabbit Farm to Min Hai Boys High School. The cameraman suspiciously asks Tuong Yi, are you going to cook lunch for them? Tuong Yi says, besides this, I don't know what else to do. Soon after, fresh ingredients arrive. Everyone, under Tuong Yi's direction, begins preparing lunch. Looking at everyone's busy backs, the cameraman remarks, the production line is working again. After cooking, Tuong Yi asks Dung Dung, who has been watching for half a day, to help serve the food. Faced with Tuong Yi's gaze, Dung Dung says embarrassedly, don't look at me like that. I can feel shame too. Students line up to get food one by one without any expression. Hundreds of male students together, yet not making a sound. But after seeing the dishes cooked by Tuong Yi, finally some students exclaim in appreciation. Many students are so moved after eating that they shed tears. The principal observes from afar, his face gloomy and silent, thinking, want to use public opinion to bring down the school. We'll see if the parents agree. He then sends a message to the parent group. Tuong Yi sees Dung Dung busy for half a day and tells him to go eat, but Dung Dung still proudly says, you think I'll go eat just because you tell me to. Tuong Yi says, then spit it out. Dung Dung doesn't resist anymore, thinking to himself, it smells so good. The beautiful sister's cooking skills are amazing. Perhaps due to stirring the vegetables too vigorously earlier, Tuong Yi rubs her wrist. Thoi Tui notices and comes to check on Tuong Yi. Tuong Yi says it doesn't hurt much, but Thoi Tui still takes her hand and applies a patch for her. Then he pats Tuong Yi's head saying, you really are. Why are you so kind? Tuong Yi frowns and says, you messed up my hair. It's tangled now. Thoi Tui worriedly says, what should we do? I don't know how to braid hair. At this moment, Tuong Lei comes over and asks, what's wrong? Thoi Tui points at Tuong Yi's hair and says, her hair is tangled. Do you know how to comb hair? Help her a bit. Tuong Lei stares at his sister for a long time, then says, have you ever thought about cutting your hair short? Realizing that neither of them knows how, Tuong Yi says, I'll just do it myself. At this time, the boy who had just attempted to jump comes over, saying, thank you for cooking for us, sister. Then he bows his head and says, I'm sorry. I'm very embarrassing, aren't I? Indeed, what the teacher said is true. I'm just a useless coward. Looking at the haggard teenager, Tuong Yi stands up and says, no, you're not useless. You're still young. You just haven't discovered your talent yet, haven't found your interests. Seeing the teenager still unhappy, Tuong Yi continues to encourage. You have unlimited potential. Perhaps in the future, you'll develop a strong interest in some field. You'll become very good at it. At this moment, the teenager recalls his parents' criticisms of him. Thinking about these things, his heart is about to be engulfed by darkness. Tuong Yi quickly pulls him out of his memories, saying, a person's life is very very long. Although you're suffering now, this is just a very short period in your life. This world has too many beautiful things that you haven't experienced yet, so no matter how difficult it is, survive peacefully. Tuang Yi's strong words echo in the teenager's ears, finally breaking through the darkness in his heart. The teenager also sheds tears of emotion. Seeing the teenager has calmed down, Tuang Yi comforts. It's okay, you can cry. She then hands the teenager a handkerchief, then gently strokes his back, helping him escape negative emotions. At this time, the police also come to ask Dung Dung, does the school have any other inappropriate behaviors? Suddenly, a group of parents push open the door and enter. As soon as they enter, the parents shout in unison, such a good school, why close it? Where will our children go? The police ask, do you know that the school has serious abusive behaviors? The parents still don't believe it, all saying their children here have better academic performance and are more obedient. Looking at their arguing backs, Dung Dung mutters, adults are really hateful. Knowing that Tuang Yi called the police, the parents turn their criticism towards her. Thoi Tui suddenly asks, is there still space for farming? Then, he shows the procedures on his phone, explaining, I happen to have some idle money, so I bought this school's land. Now this school belongs to me. He turns to look at the parents and says, how about leveling this place? Let you farm, raise pigs, or contact research institutes. Turn this into an experimental field for herbs. Hearing Thoi Tui speak, the parents discuss in a buzz, just bought land, and cooperating with research institutes. Who are these people? Finally, the principal is taken away by the police due to involvement in illegal activities. After seeing off the principal, you guys deliberately went to steal, right? Stealing, live streaming, making a fuss to expose. That was your plan, wasn't it? Being exposed, Dung Dung dejectedly asks, do you want to say this plan was very childish? Tuang Yi pats Dung Dung's head, saying, you guys did very well. This action deeply moves both of them. Thoi Tui says, just now, Mrs. Doan and Mr. Thin went to write a sign. Mrs. Doan smiles and says to Tuang Yi, this is your farm. You should be the one to put up this sign. Tuang Yi takes the sign happily saying, yes, ma'am. After putting up the sign, Tuang Yi explains to the surrounding students, this place is no longer Minhai High School, but Rabbit Farm number 2. Dung Dung looks at Tuang Yi, can't help but mutter to himself, everything has cracks, and she is where the light shines through. The students who went stealing together also chime in unison. Thoi Tui says, most students have left with their parents. Those remaining can go home on their own. Let's go too. It's time to say goodbye again. Tuang Yi tells them, we're leaving, take care, and eat well in the future. Soon after, they return home. Tuang Yi hugs the kitten and asks, are you hungry? I'll make something delicious for you. At this moment, Tuang Lei waves his hand saying, little rabbit, my hand hurts. Hearing this, Tuang Yi immediately runs over, takes her brother's hand and asks, how does it hurt? Thoi Tui frowns from afar, thinking to himself, this is serious. Tuang Yi helps massage her brother's hand, but his face is full of bitterness, saying, it's okay, I'm used to it. At this time, the kitten runs over and circles around Tuang Yi's feet, clearly hungry. Seeing Tuang Yi not paying attention to it, the kitten stretches out its claws and presses on her leg. Tuang Yi also bends down to look at it. The kitten then starts to act coy. This trick indeed works. Tuang Yi immediately goes to prepare food for it. Seeing his sister run off, Tuang Lei follows the kitten to look. Discovering the kitten is male, he says, when it's a bit older, we'll have it neutered. Hearing this, Thoi Tui also cheerfully chimes in. Choose an auspicious day for it. Hearing about neutering, the kitten becomes fearful. Seeing Tuang Yi bringing food, the kitten quickly runs towards her as if saying, save me. Tuang Yi is also very suspicious, asking, what's wrong? Suddenly she turns to ask the two in the living room, did you bully it? Thoi Tui explains, in your eyes, am I someone who would bully a cat? Tuang Yi looks at Thoi Tui sympathetically, then says to the kitten, brother 2 is a genius. He wouldn't do such boring things. You need to be a bit more obedient in the future. Seeing that Tuang Yi doesn't believe it either, the kitten has no choice but to bury its head in the food. Tuang Yi, afraid it might choke, strokes it, making it eat more slowly. Seeing Tuang Yi focused, Tuang Lei again says his hand hurts. Tuang Yi suspiciously says, why does it hurt so often? How about I check your pulse? So the two begin treatment. After checking the pulse, Tuang Yi's expression becomes serious, saying, the situation is more serious than I imagined, but I'm confident I can cure you. Brother, do you trust me? Tuang Yi directly reaches out her hand and says, no need to be so troublesome. I'll do it. Tuang Yi is surprised, thinking to herself, did I hear that right? Brother said he trusts me. Tuang Lei looks at Tuang Yi with a smile and says, little rabbit, you're already 20. Why are you still so silly? I'm giving you a chance to bully me, and you don't want to. Hearing her brother say this, Tuang stands up seriously and says, "Don't worry, I'll definitely do my best." Then she stands up to get the needles, preparing to do acupuncture for her brother. Tuang is holding the needle, about to insert it, but Tuang Lei says he's a bit scared and wants Tuang to comfort him. Thoi Tui helplessly sighs. The person who dared to calmly dissect a rabbit at 7 years old is now saying he's scared. Tuang sadly says, "Brother, can you wait a bit before being scared?" Tuang Lei also gently says, "Okay, I'll try to wait a bit." Not long after, Tuang arm is covered in needles. At this time, Thoi Tui hands her a towel, gesturing for her to wipe her sweat. Says it really needs to be left for a while. I need to go check on the kitten. Male creatures can't be indulged. Indulging will spoil them. But Tuang suspiciously asks, "The kitten is a boy." Both of them remain silent. Then, as Tuang is about to lift the kitten's tail to check, Thoi Tui grabs her hand, saying, "Taking advantage of the kitten like that isn't very nice." Tuang blushes and says, "No, I'm just curious to see." Thoi Tui laughs and says, "Being so straightforward, doesn't it need to save face?" Tuang blushes, not knowing what to say. Tuang Lei says to Thoi Tui from the side, "Our little rabbit's hand, you think you can just hold it whenever you want. The time should be up. I'll remove the needles." Tuang Lei continues, "I consider you a brother, yet you want to flirt with my sister, dreaming in broad daylight. After removing the needles," Tuang instructs, "later, after removing the needles, you'll regain some feeling." Tuang Lei smiles and asks, "How certain are you?" Tuang confidently says, "If I'm treating you, it's 100% certain. Combined with medicine and acupuncture, within 5 sessions, I can definitely cure your hand, fully restoring sensation." Tuang Lei also happily says, "All right, I'll definitely cooperate well." Meanwhile, Mr. Thin anxiously asks Mrs. Doan, "You've returned from Minhai High School in a bad mood. Are you worried about those children?" Mr. Thin continues, "We can't force children. We should just let nature take its course." But Mrs. Doan says, "Actually, I recently found a master who prescribed medicine for me, saying it could increase fertility, but it would harm my body." Mr. Thin interrupts her, "No, your body is the most important. Our marriage is based on love and trust, not children. It's fine if we don't have any. Even when our hair turns white, we can still enjoy our world together." Hearing Mr. Thin's response, Mrs. Doan cheers up and finally follows Mr. Thin to their room. As soon as they enter, Mrs. Doan smells a strong medicinal odor. Tuang smiles and explains that she's brewing medicine for her brother. Mrs. Doan suddenly remembers that Tuang knows medicine and asks Tuang to check her pulse. Tuang also happily says, "Of course." After checking the pulse, Mrs. Doan looks at Tuang with a worried expression. "It's okay. You don't need to comfort me. Just tell me straight. I know I'm not destined to have children in this life." But Tuang says, "Aunt Doan, you've misunderstood. I'm thinking about which prescription would be better." Tuang happily says, "There's a 90% chance." Then she gives the prescription to Mrs. Doan. "If you're not at ease, you can have an expert confirm it. If there's no problem, then follow this prescription." Hearing Tuang say this, Mrs. Dawn is moved to tears, her voice slightly trembling as she says, "I'll definitely do as you say." Suddenly, the cameraman interrupts Tuang. "There are 3 old men at the door looking for you. 3 traditional Chinese medicine masters come to Tuang's house, sitting on the sofa quietly drinking tea, their expressions serious. Child, from whom did you learn your medical skills?" Master Kan, the head of Tethaduong Pharmacy, asks. Learning that Tuang Yi studied traditional medicine from her grandfather, Master Kan quietly remarks, "That old man's medical skills are indeed not bad. It's rare to hear praise from your mouth. I thought your vocabulary was too poor to have learned any words of praise." The speaker is Master Van, the heir of Hoishuan Duong Pharmacy, also a traditional medicine master. All right, let's not forget the main matter. Master Fuang, the principal of the Chinese Medicine Association, interrupts the two. At this moment, all 3 simultaneously stare at the sweating Tuang Yi. Why are they staring at me like this? Tuang Yi feels a bit panicked inside. She instinctively leans towards Thoi Tui. Under Thoi Tui's questioning, the 3 reveal the purpose of this visit. It turns out they want to use the program to popularize medical knowledge to the public and promote traditional Chinese medicine culture. The words of the 3 elders immediately cause the live broadcast room audience to cheer. After all, these 3 are top-tier figures in the traditional medicine world, rarely encountered by ordinary people. The director becomes even more excited. "Of course, this is an honor for our program. I initially thought you were a noble person, didn't expect you to be so shameless. When did little Tuang Yi become your disciple? She's clearly my disciple. You old men, don't overestimate yourselves. This is the disciple I've set my eyes on. I'm telling you, don't even think about competing with me. Could it be that these 3 masters came here today to take take Tuong Yi as a disciple. From now on, call me master, not Grandpa Van anymore. I heard you like cooking. As my disciple, I'll teach you nutritional methods. Be my disciple. Herbs are the root of Chinese medicine. I can teach you pharmacology. These two specialize in one area. I'm different from them. I know everything they know. Take me as your master. The next day, seeing the three elders' faces red with excitement, Tuong Yi shows an embarrassed expression. Thoi Tui quickly steps forward. Seniors, can you check my sister's pulse? My sister lost her memory last year. She's only recently recovered. I'm worried she might have some after effects. Thoi Tui's words immediately make the anti-fans gleeful. Next time just say she was possessed by someone else. Disciple, what's wrong? Why didn't you say earlier? Dear disciple, don't panic. Your master is here. The medicine will cure the illness. Damn, these two old men are too quick. Dear disciple, your body indeed needs nourishment. Why not come to my clinic and eat some tonics for a few years? I guarantee all your illnesses will disappear. Since when do tonics need to be eaten for years? Disciple, don't be polite. Come to his place to eat some delicacies, then come to me to study medicine. If you can bring back a few 100-year-old ginseng roots, that'd be even better. Judging from your appearance, you do seem a bit weak. Daily life shouldn't be too strenuous. Follow me. I can teach you some health preservation methods. At most, I'm just malnourished. I'll be fine in a few months. Hearing them talk, I thought I was about to die. Tuongli says, this is Bunny's previous medical record. I don't know if it can be of reference. Tuongli's words once again stir up the audience. How is the PhD brother related to a female artist in the entertainment industry? Then, a photo of Tuong Yi falls out of Tuongli's pocket, coincidentally seen by netizens. The bullet screen immediately explodes. Could it be that the PhD brother likes Tuong Yi? After examining the medical records, the three elders also conclude. Tuong Yi's amnesia currently has no clear treatment method. However, since she's been able to recover, it shows the situation is improving. Pay more attention in the future. Gradually recuperate, and it should be fine. Tuongli gently strokes his sister's hair. It's all my fault for being useless, causing our bunny harm. Because I was misunderstood by others. When I had an accident while mountain climbing before, the things you did in panic, the words you said, I didn't take them to heart. I've never regretted saving you. I hope you don't blame yourself for this. It's just a hand, not as important as your life. Big brother wants to take all the responsibility, doesn't he? Tuong Yi's eyes well up with tears. Tuonglei gently wipes away Tuong Yi's tears, continuing softly. Others may think you have 1,000 flaws, but in my eyes, our bunny is the best little sister in the world. The relationship between the two is now clear at this moment. Tuong Yi's tears also fall accordingly. Don't cry anymore. Comforting a girl is harder than solving math problems. Thoi Tui looks at this scene, his face showing concern. But when he sees the candy in Tuonglei's hand, he can't help but tease. Is giving out candy a comforting skill passed down through generations in your Tuong family? Embarrassed, Tuong Yi quickly runs to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Thoi Tui follows her, smiling. Let me cut some fruit for you. Very soon, the sweetest part in the middle of the watermelon is in Tuong Yi's bowl. Tuong Yi eating fruit looks just like an adorable little rabbit. We've just discussed and want to take you as our disciple together. Old Fuang takes out a wild ginseng root and gives it to Tuong Yi. This is a meeting gift for you. Take it as a snack. It's nothing precious. Here's a Tianshan snow lotus for you. Don't be polite with your master. Brew it as tea. It dispels cold, eliminates dampness, and nourishes the skin. The two urge Tuong Yi to accept the gifts. The girl suddenly feels great pressure. With no other choice, unable to let the masters keep their hands extended, she can only accept first. You two hateful old men, how dare you hide from me, secretly preparing gifts. This is our shop's card. Swipe it freely for whatever you want to eat. At this moment, Old Can's card-drawing motion is exactly like the domineering CEO in romance novels. It's Tetha Duong's nationwide universal card. Old Can's gift is too generous. Damn, this old man has stolen the show again. The little disciple's cooking is really too delicious, making one reluctant to forget. If there's nothing else, I really want to stay here and not leave. Everyone can come often. Next time I'll cook for you all again. Tuong Yi sees off the three elders, turns around and sees Dung Dung. Dung Dung, why are they here? The youth, full of embarrassment. Sis, we just wanted to visit you before leaving. It's so late. Are you planning not to go home? Thoi Tui's tone is a bit stern. All of you, wait there obediently. I'll arrange a car to take you home. No need for you to arrange. We know how to call a car. Although Dung Dung's tone is very firm, the rumbling of his stomach betrays that he hasn't eaten. Seeing this, Tuong Yi gently says, then eat before you go. Can we have barbecue? I'll go prepare the ingredients. Then you guys grill it yourselves. On the other side, Toi Tui and Tuong Lei are also drinking together. Toi Tui looks at Tuong Lei, saying what he's always wanted to say. Big brother, we've had our drinks. When do you think it's appropriate for me to come to your house to propose? Tuong Lei pushes Toi Tui's hand away with an annoyed smile. Want to marry Bunny? You think I'm dead? Toi Tui smiles smugly. Then let Bunny marry me. That's not impossible. Tuong Lei angrily clenches his fist. I've never seen anyone as shameless as you. Have some face. At this moment, Tuong Yi turns to break the tense atmosphere, coming over to pull out a chair and sit down. Tuong Lei immediately asks Tuong Yi, between me and Toi Tui, who do you think is more handsome? Tuong Yi's answer slightly disappoints Tuong Lei. You both have your own charm. Shouldn't you say your brother is the most handsome? But I do think brother is the most handsome. Toi Tui raises an eyebrow. Tuong Yi then smiles and says to Toi Tui, of course, brother Toi is also very handsome, extremely handsome. Tuong Yi turns to question Tuong Lei. Brother, this behavior of yours, putting others down to lift yourself up, is not right. Moreover, brother Toi is also very handsome. You can't glare and lie. Tuong Lei's heart shatters. This is protecting that dog. Toi Tui looks pitiful. Ngi, it's okay. Let him badmouth me. I don't mind. Tuong Lei angrily grinds his teeth. Must drink until really drunk, lest I see that green tea pig flirting with our precious cabbage. Drink with me. Dung Dung looks at Toi Tui and asks Miss Doan, can I become as talented as him? Toi Tui, still interested in acting. You should know talents emerge in waves. Anything is possible. You can really enter the entertainment industry. Let's add each other on WeChat. I can introduce you to some schools. She sees Tuong Yi and Tuong Lei are both drunk. Kids, rest a bit more tomorrow morning. Wake up a little later. We're leaving now. Getting in the car, Dung Dung thinks to himself, just wait and see. In the future, I'll definitely be like him standing beside her. Time passes, Toi Tui returns to his room and finds someone there. Turns out it's the drunk girl. He tries to take her to her room, but she's too drunk to move. He helplessly decides to sleep in the living room, but unexpectedly, Tuong Lei has locked the door, preventing him from leaving the room to protect Tuong Yi from being seduced. Seeing Tuong Yi sound asleep, he has to sleep together. She dreams of Thong Thong, touches his hand and calls him son, wanting to tell him a secret. You and brother are both handsome, but mom thinks you're the most handsome because mom likes you. He's stunned and asks her to say it again. You said you like me, you even want me to be your boyfriend. No, mom said she likes your face. Before she finishes, Toi Tui interrupts. Let me think and give you an answer. The next morning, she wakes up surprised to find herself next to the movie emperor. Toi Tui pretends to know nothing. Why are you in my room, even on my bed? She has to lie. I said I came to tuck you in. Do you believe it? Then you rest. I won't bother you anymore. Why can't I open the door? Toi Tui teases her, tucking in but locking the door. What exactly did you plan to do to me? If you like me, just say it directly. No need to do this. She looks at him confused. Surely she didn't act recklessly while drunk, while he was sound asleep. Do you need to shower first? You might not be clean anymore, but please don't cry. I'll take responsibility. Let me think for a bit. While he's showering, she texts Tuong Lei about being in Toi Tui's room and how she slept there last night because she was drunk. Just as she finishes texting, Toi Tui comes out of the bathroom asking if she's finished thinking. Suddenly, Tuong Lei kicks the door open, glaring at Toi Tui. Put your clothes on properly. What kind of indecent behavior is this? His hand still covering Tuong Yi's eyes. Big brother, don't be so fierce, you'll scare him. You're still protecting this dog. Go to your room right now. After saying that, he pushes her out. Unexpectedly, this scene was captured by someone following them. After cooking breakfast, she calls them to eat. Brother Toi, try these steamed meatballs. These shrimp dumplings are also good. I added a bit of salt to suit your taste. It's not like he doesn't have hands. Earlier, he admitted he didn't do anything to Bunny or I would have broken his legs. Bunny, you didn't feel anything when you went into his room. I also drank quite a bit last night. Suddenly, someone rushes in panicking. Toi Tui, it's bad. There's news about you and Ngi. At this moment, Toi Tui's manager calls. I need to confirm with you. Are you two dating? If so, do you want to go public? I need to prepare for what comes after. Not for now. Anam calls Tuong Yi crying, Wah, their company is so bad. They won't post for me, and they're using this to gain attention. Such a trash company. Why don't they just shut down? Don't cry anymore. If the company closes, won't you be unemployed too? Then I'll become a hairdresser. Rely on cutting and blow-drying hair to support you. Don't worry, I'll handle it. Do you want to come for lunch? I can make the braised pork knuckle you like most. Okay then, see you at lunch. How do you plan to handle this? I don't know, yet you confidently said you'd handle it. Because I have you. Brother, please help her, can you? Wait, say it again. I need to go back to save it. Tuang-yi goes to water the plants. Someone secretly watches her. It's the person who sold the information about her and the movie Emperor, about to film her secretly but gets caught red-handed. If you admit to leaking the news on Weibo, I won't pursue legal action. You suspect me. I've deleted all chat history with paparazzi. The bank account receiving money is a distant relative's. Even if you suspect, there's no evidence. Still arguing, I've traced a phone number used this morning. Following that video, it was sent from your device. So what if I filmed? Why not blame Tuang-yi for seducing Toi Tui? You're invading others' privacy and still trying to reason. Hurt someone, then save their life. Tuang-lei, take her inside. I can handle my sister's matters. If she gets scared later, you comfort her, okay? Tuang-lei pulls Tuang-yi's hand, saying, come with me. She looks confused. I'm not scared. I haven't finished watering the flowers. No, you're scared. Okay, I'm scared. Yes, brother, we'll protect you. Then I'll go cook first. Anam is coming later. I need to make braised pork knuckle for him. In the kitchen, Tuang-yi is cooking braised pork knuckle when she suddenly hears Anam's voice. Sweetie, I'm here. Tuang-yi warmly greets. I'm making braised pork knuckle. Besides this, do you want anything else? Anam shows a gourmet's expression. As long as you make it, I want to eat everything. Then I'll make braised chicken feet and duck neck too. Tuang-yi says while walking towards the fridge. Want to eat everything, then make everything. Just then, Anam suddenly says in surprise, strange, our company suddenly changed their attitude. They're actually helping me handle public relations. Opening the phone to look, indeed, the company's press release has somehow made it to the hot search. Scrolling through netizens' comments, Tuang-yi is suddenly stunned. I know about the magazine cover shoot. It's a resource Big Brother brought. But what do netizens mean by honeymoon? And this not suitable ni, is it real? Tuang-yi holds up her phone, asking curiously. Anam immediately shows a shocked expression. No way, no way. Don't you know you and the movie Emperor have couple fans? Anam starts scrolling through his phone. Not suitable ni is your couple name. It's been quite popular recently. You're no longer an Arctic couple. You even follow the super topic. Indeed, the not suitable ni super topic is full of sweet moments between Tuang-yi and Toi Tui. Even Tuang-yi herself is stunned. The content here seems quite sweet. I can't believe I'm shipping my own couple. At this moment, Tuang-lei walks in and sees the two, asking, what are you two looking at? Anam, still unaware of the situation's seriousness, enthusiastically introduces, the super topic, brother, do you want to see? It's very sweet, great for relieving stress. Looking at the phone's content, Tuang-lei's expression becomes increasingly grim. He returns the phone to Anam, pulls Tuang-yi to the nearby balcony, and seriously says, family rule number 16. No early dating. Have you forgotten everything? But brother, I'm already 20. Surely it doesn't count as early dating anymore. So what if you're 20? Does being 20 mean I'm no longer your brother? Seeing this, Tuang-yi can only placate her brother first. All right, I understand. Suddenly, concern appears in Tuang-lei's eyes. He silently looks at his sister in front of him and softly asks, where have you been this past year? Tuang-yi looks at him in surprise, not knowing how to answer this question. Tuang-le gently says, why are you surprised? Did you think I'm like that little uncle, unable to see even this? Tell me, what exactly happened in the past year? It all started with the car accident a year ago. When I was near death, the system took in my soul. It told me I had to go through 10 worlds completing tasks given by the system to survive and return. So I thought the initial opportunity was the car accident, being chosen by the system because I was near death, Tuang-le asks. Then his words greatly shock Tuang-yi. But your injuries then weren't that severe, not fitting the near-death rule at all. It's possible you weren't the one chosen to travel through worlds. That person's appearance wasn't random either. Perhaps she could return. Tuang-lei's analysis causes a great shock to Tuang-yi's inner self. Traveling through different worlds to survive isn't safe, is it? Is it possible that someone knew in advance they'd be chosen by the system, and to escape, they found a way to exchange bodies with you, transferring the task to you? Tuang-yi's body trembles. Tuang-lei continues. Now that you've returned, what about the person who occupied your body? Would they be discovered by the so-called system, chosen again, and then try every means? At this point, Tuang-lei stops speaking. He looks worriedly at his sister. This is just my analysis. No one knows if it's true or false. Just listen. Don't take it to heart. However, these words have already taken root in Tuang-yi's mind. If it's really as her second brother says, perhaps that person will truly return and occupy her body. What if her brother gets hurt because of him again? Tuang-yi looks at her brother with a heavy heart. Let's set a secret signal. If one day I can't answer it, Don't believe anything that person says, and don't sacrifice anything for me. Tuangle smiles and wipes the tears from her face. What kind of face are you making? Do you want to cry for another 5 minutes? I'll time it for you. Tuangle laughs at her brother's teasing. Second brother, you're still so clumsy at comforting others. Tuangle continues. Before, when eldest brother discovered something was wrong with you, he immediately signed a contract with that person, binding every little wrongdoing of hers. He always knew that person wasn't you. Now that you're back, go explain to him. Tuangle suddenly remembers her eldest brother. Tuang Sam, devilish, hard-mouthed, and even harder-hearted. How to deal with a man without a heart. I've been most afraid of eldest brother since childhood. When eldest brother returns, can you go with me? Tuangle pleads. But the sweat on Tuangle's face says it all. He gently pushes away Tuangle's coaxing hand. Little sister, you must learn to be brave, you know. Actually, I'm scared too. One moment touching, the next cutting ties, indeed a true brother. The film set has a new guest arriving. Tuangle warmly invites them to eat. Anam looks at their clothes and curiously asks, "Is that shiny button on your shirt black onyx?" Receiving an affirmative answer, Anam is full of admiration. Then Anam enthusiastically offers the guest some smoked pork knuckle. Little does he know, the guest is inwardly looking down on him. Tuangle, this manager looks foolish, really unreliable. I'm such a serious person who values cleanliness. How could I be like her, gnawing on smoked pork knuckle so crudely? However, Anam doesn't cater to the guest, directly stuffing the pork knuckle into their mouth. Don't be polite, eat up, it's delicious. How annoying. Why is this damn smoked pork knuckle so fragrant? The man has long forgotten his initial demeanor, his way of gnawing on the pork knuckle no better than Nam's. Anam observes, thinking to himself, Mr. Tu eats so exaggeratedly, he must usually be too busy to eat properly. After eating and drinking their fill, Toi Tui calls the other person outside, seeming to want to discuss something. Do you need help looking at wedding venues? What about postnatal care centers? Speaking of children, among the properties in your name, there don't seem to be any particularly good schools. How can I feel at ease letting Miss Tuangle marry you like this? Mr. Tu complains continuously. Toi Tui, this won't do. It seems besides being a family of two, I'll have to find you additional work. Otherwise, where will you get money to buy milk powder for the baby? Toi Tui stands beside him full of questions. Do I look like someone who can't support a wife and child to you? Mr. Tu shouts loudly. It's fine if you manage alone, but have you thought about Tuangle's feelings? She's such a good girl. You can't let her suffer. How could you bear to let Miss Tuangle suffer hardships with you? Don't tell me you want to be a kept man. Mr. Tu becomes more exaggerated as he speaks. You might not even succeed as a kept man. Miss Tuangle is so popular, beautiful, kind-hearted, and a good cook. A pack of wolves and puppies are waiting for her. You, an uncle approaching 30, where would you rank? Toi Tui pushes up his glasses, helplessly saying, It's just been one meal, and you've already become her family. Have you forgotten how much you disliked Tuangle before? Your ability to selectively forget is truly impressive. Mr. Tu, without blushing or his heart racing, retorts, If I become Miss Tuangle's family in the future, you basically won't be able to step foot in my house. So I thank you for your unnecessary concern. After the meal, Tuangle comes to his sister to say goodbye. My research institute still has work. I'll go first. Tuangle tries to see him off, but he presses her head down. Stay put? Do you think I don't know the way? With cat hair floating in the air, Tuangle turns around. Sure enough, Little Brain Tiger is mischievously playing on the ground without restraint. Tuangle squats in front of the cat. Shall we eat some cat hair removal ice cream? However, faced with the cat hair removal ice cream, Little Brain Tiger shows unwillingness, refusing to eat a single bite. Tuangle continues to gently persuade. Eat a bit. You've licked so much fur. If you don't eat this, you'll have many hairballs in your stomach. The kitten directly swipes a paw, knocking the cat hair removal ice cream away, which happens to fall at the feet of Toi Tui, who just arrived. Facing Toi Tui, Little Brain Tiger puts on a resigned expression, looking extremely pitiful. Toi Tui coldly says, Criminal Little Brain Tiger sentenced to 3 days in jail, deprived of small dried fish rights for 1 week. Tuangle quickly pleads, Let it go. Considering it's her first offense, let's give her a chance. Toi Tui continues to threaten. Good behavior can lead to a suspended sentence. So you know what to do next, right? Be obedient. Otherwise, one day I'll take you to get spayed. Although playing with the cat, Toi Tui's mind conjures up Tuangle's gentle face. I feel you'll definitely be very good at taking care of children in the future. I might spoil the children a lot. In a family, it's enough to have just one person who knows how to take care of children. Tuangle is stunned, asking what he's talking about. Toi Tui pats her head. Nothing. Just suddenly felt Little Brain Tiger is quite lovable.